1. Directors are very humble. You can afford to offend Wan, but you may not be able to offend Feng Zi. If you dare to offend Feng Zi, then I will wait for the feast. Director Killer. Can someone edit out the clips of Director Tian and Director Chen and make a Director CP? I really want to make them. People cannot, or at least should not. The barrage is very happy. Director Tian was very sad. He sighed, picked up the microphone and continued. Then let's take a look at the rules of the first round of the game. In this kind of variety show live broadcast, you definitely can't just sit there and chat. In order to increase the excitement and fun, Director Tian designed several game sessions. The rules of the first round of the game are very simple. There is a 3-3-3 table on the big screen. Each grid on the form is blackened. And the 4 chief tutors can choose a grid to scratch at will. There are all kinds of challenges hidden under the grid. The head mentors will choose the contestants from their own group to complete the challenge. If they successfully complete the challenge, the mentor can ask a question related to the performance to the mentor of another group. If you cannot complete it, the mentor of the other group will ask you a question. In other words, the group that completes fewer challenges will have to reveal more secrets of the performance. In fact, the performance program was designed by Shen Feng, Zhang Wanwan, Liu Mingyu and Wen Hua. The 4 of them knew exactly what to perform and how to perform it. A program crew deliberately created this gimmick, just to spread some information about the performance to the audience and whet their appetite. Based on the principle of ladies first, Liu Mingyu and Shen Sheng gave the first chance to scratch the grid to Group B. Wen Hua didn't hesitate and directly chose the first grid. After scratching it, the challenge inside is to sing a song. She asked a contestant in her group who was a good singer to perform. This contestant was selected to participate in the late broadcast. So his popularity is pretty good. The singing level is also very good. After singing a song, many people became his fans. And those audiences who were already his fans all said it was very exciting. This is exactly why Director Tian chose this form of game. This form of game can not only reveal information about the performance to the audience, but also arouse their curiosity. It also allows the contestants to perform and satisfy the fans. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. After the contestant finished his performance, Wen Hua asked her questions to Group A. Can you tell me the name of the song your group will be performing? Liu Mingyu picked up the microphone and said with a smile. I can only tell you that the song that our group will perform has 3 characters in total. And the middle character is Kion, and the name sounds ancient and vicissitudes of life. So your song is called Cheating? Zhang Wanwan suddenly said. Liu Mingyu, Wen Hua, Shen Feng. The atmosphere in the whole venue became a little awkward. Wanwan, do you know what the word in the middle means? It's over. Why do I feel like my brother is a little bit stupid? When has she ever been smart? The lock on your head looks really nice. One pregnancy makes people stupid for 3 years. Could my younger brother be pregnant? Yes, I am her child. I watched the live broadcast in her belly. With the word Kion, it also gives off an ancient and vicissitudes of life feeling. But it be that Group A's song is called something like Kion Qyu or Kion Gu? Maybe it should be called Thousands of Years. Maybe it's called Thousands of Dollars. Does this have anything to do with ancient times? It's somewhat related. When I think about how old I am but only have a few $1,000s in savings, I feel quite sad. While the audience was still guessing, it is Group A's turn to scratch the card. Shen Sheng asked Liu Mingyu to come first. And Liu Mingyu was not polite. The second square was scratched right next to the first square when Hu was selected. The challenge of the second grid is not as normal as the first one. The challenge for the second frame is, perform a song and dance performance in women's clothing. When the audience saw it, they became excited. Shang Ba Hui in women's clothing. I want to see little Princess Shang. Let our Yu Bao come. Yu Bao must be very cute. What are you thinking? I have to ask young Master Zhang to come. I have already prepared the screenshots. I will send them back to young Master Zhang to blackmail him. If you don't pay me, I won't delete the pictures. Amid the debate among the audience, Liu Mingyu is very wise. This challenge was given to the only girl in the team, Bei Yin. The audience was disappointed. Director Tian was also disappointed. He prepared this challenge just to create some hype. How can we let Liu Mingyu get away with this? So Director Tian hurriedly said, wait a minute, this challenge must be completed by a male contestant. Zhang Jianming was unhappy when he heard it. He can also see the comments on the big screen. Ever since someone threatened to blackmail him with his photos of himself wearing women's clothing, Zhang Jianming noticed that the number of people supporting him wearing women's clothing in the comments had increased significantly. If Pei Yin wasn't chosen, then he would most likely be chosen. So Zhang Qianming said to Director Tian righteously, Director Tian, why does this challenge have to limit gender? Are you prejudiced against women? Men and women are equal now. Why can't we let Sister Pei Yin take the challenge? Director Tian choked. He can't afford to wear such a big hat. So he quickly changed the topic and said, if Pei-yin does it, she has to change into men's clothes. Why do you let the female contestants pretend to be men to perform? You must still be biased against female contestants. Jiang Tianming said again. Director Tian's face almost turned green. How come you are always right? Why are you talking so much? And why don't you say that I am biased against male contestants by letting them perform in women's clothing? Director Tian said. Jiang Tianming actually continued what he said. So you are not only biased against female contestants. You are also biased against male contestants. Director Puek Cyan is really a loser. Director Tian. Director Tian gave up thinking. Jiang Tianming smiled proudly. The result was just laughing. Then Wen Hua, who was sitting in Group B, suddenly stood up. He said to Liu Mingyu, Teacher Liu Mingyu, I suddenly want to watch Jiang Tianming's performance in women's clothing. What do you think? Liu Mingyu was startled. This is not good. I want to see it, Wen Hua said. Pei-yin is more suitable. I want to see it. What Jiang Tianming said just now makes sense. I want to see it. But, I want to see Jiang Tianming. Come on, Liu Mingyu pushed Jiang Tianming out. A smile on Jiang Tianming's face suddenly froze. Chapter 289 Jiang Tianming. I ask you how much sorrow you can have. Jiang Tianming said he was particularly worried. At this time, in the fitting room backstage of the program crew, Jiang Tianming was hiding in the fitting room, reaching out from time to take the women's clothing handed to him by Liu Yao outside. Liu Yao was choosing clothes for Jiang Tianming with excitement. She has always been a person who enjoys watching the fun, no matter how big the event. And she also wanted to take a look at radish in women's clothing. Jiang Tianming looked at the miniskirt that Liu Ya handed over and couldn't help but say, Liu Ya, this skirt is too short. Do you want to see me showing off my long legs and even longer leg hair? Liu Ya said very considerately, Don't worry, I can't bear to let outsiders see my husband's legs. So I also prepared a pair of stockings. Here. Jiang Tianming. Jiang Tianming, Liu Ya, if my dad sees me wearing this, I probably won't be able to go home alive. Liu Ya was stunned for a moment. Then said, No, don't worry. Mom and Dad are watching the live broadcast too. We were connected to the microphone when you were on stage just now. It was Dad who asked me to pick out a nice outfit for you. Liu Ya has also changed her too now. Jiang Tianming was speechless for a long time, and finally asked Liu Ya to find him a more conservative piece of clothing. Although Liu Ya is reluctant to part with Jiang Tianming in a short skirt, but in the end, she picked a more conservative long skirt for Jiang Tianming. Then they put a wig on him. Jiang Tianming is good looking and he even put on makeup before going on stage. Now with the wig and skirt on, the effect actually looks pretty good. It would be better if you could smile. Liu Ya looked at Jiang Tianming and made such an evaluation. Although the beauty is beautiful, her face is always cold as ice. Don't laugh, I still have my dignity, Jiang Tianming said seriously. Liu Ya grabbed Jiang Tianming's arm and shook it. Silly carrot, just smile. Jiang Tianming. Sister Radish. I like you so much, just smile. Jiang Tianming. Sweetheart. Give me a smile. Jiang Tianming couldn't hold it anymore. He reached out and hugged Liu Ya, then covered Liu Ya's chattering mouth. A few minutes later, Jiang Tianming, wearing a long dress, appeared on the main stage. The moment he showed up, the audience in front of the camera were truly amazed. Oh my god, this is Jiang Tianming? I originally wanted to see a joke. Why did you bring a school beauty here for me? I used to think I liked women. But now I realize I just like good-looking ones. I used to think I liked good-looking people. But now I realize I just like Jiang Tianming. Wife. Why are you live streaming? Come home with me. Jiang Tianming tried his best to ignore the comments on the big screen. Then, the dancing began. Originally, Jiang Tianming wanted to dance a male version of the dance and just get away with it. As a result, the program team was so unethical to choose a Korean girl group's accompaniment for him. Moreover, wearing a long skirt, it was indeed difficult for him to perform some male dance moves. So Jiang Tianming could only start twisting his body according to the melody. But it twists and turns. Jiang Tianming began to find the feeling. He used to hang out in nightclubs. There are many girls dancing in the nightclub. Hasn't he seen pigs run, or girls dancing? Then Jiang Tianming jumped higher and higher. The audience. The more I look at it, the more numb it becomes. Did Jiang Tianming awaken some strange habit? My goodness. How come he is so skilled? Director, why don't you give him another steel pipe? Ling Xiaosu JPG. It's over, I'm a little addicted to it. What should I do? Some people are just addicted, some are already cured. Finally, the dance was over. Jiang Tianming bowed and left the stage. When he changed his clothes and returned to the stage, I found that the barrage had given him a new name. Jiang Tianming. I don't want to see Jiang Tianming. I want to see my Jiang Tianming. Wow, my wife. I want to see my sweet wife. The peach of the world, Jiang Tianmei, the enchanting and charming Jiang Tianmei, the peerless and beautiful Jiang Tianmei. Jiang Tianming was also annoyed. After Jiang Tianming finished his performance, Liu Mingyu also asked Group B a question. It's also related to the name of the song. When Hui also revealed only one word. Just like Group A. At the same time, it slightly revealed the style of the song. It whets the audience's appetite without revealing too much information. After that, there were several rounds of challenges. The 4 chief mentors took turns scratching the grid and sending the contestants up to take the challenge. This challenge setting is quite interesting. There is not only singing and dancing, but also some games like idiom chain and answering irrelevant questions. However, the strength of both sides is similar, and they can basically complete the challenge without failure. Soon, all 7 squares were scratched and the 7 contestants came on stage to take the challenge. Next it was Shen Feng's turn to scratch the card, and there was only one contestant left who had not gone on stage. That's Sidiyu. Shen Shang and Li Mingyu's idea was very simple. Sidiyu is like the jokers in a deck of cards. This kind of big brand must be used at critical moments. The challenges just now could basically be solved without Sidiyu's appearance. So Sidiyu was kept until now. Because Sidiyu was the only one left. So before Shen Feng scratched the card, Sidiyu was called to the center of the stage by Director Tian, waiting for Shen Feng to draw the challenge. There are 9 3-3 grids in total. 7 of them have been scratched off before, so now only 2 are left. Director Tian told Shen Feng that among these 2 challenges, one was particularly suitable for Sidiyu, and the other was particularly unsuitable. Let Shen Feng consider it carefully. Shen Sheng looked at the screen and thought about it. And finally chose the second of the 2 boxes. Soon, a challenge in the second box was scratched out. Poet Refilling Challenge. Complete the poems provided by the program team within the specified time. Shen Feng and Sidiyu looked at this challenge and were silent for a moment. This is probably what Director Yan said, a challenge that is particularly unsuitable for Sidiyu. Feng Zi, I told you to play less with Jia Nan. But you didn't listen, now your luck has become worse. What did Xiao Jia do wrong? He was not even on camera but was still being QA'd. Shen Feng, you have finally come to this day. I have been a fan of Jia Nan for 10 years. The day I finally feel like I have taken revenge. Amid the laughter in the barrage, Sidiyu said to Shen Feng, Boss, don't worry, I did go to school. Shen Sheng raised his eyebrows. Indeed, he almost forgot. Although Sidiyu is a little silly, he is just a little simple and naive. He did go to school. Shen Sheng felt a little relieved. Nodded and said, then do your best. Sidiyu nodded. Then, after Director Tian said, start the challenge. I looked at the questions displayed on the big screen. When the words, I wish to be a pair of wings in the sky, appeared on the screen, Sidiyu did not hesitate and immediately said the next sentence loudly. When disaster strikes, everyone flees. Shen Feng reached out and rubbed his face silently. Chapter 290. A man should be strong and put on yellow flowers in front of the mirror. I left home when I was young and returned when I was old. Sidiyu, how can you tell whether I am a man or a woman? I am an old man, but I am still as wild as a young man. Sidiyu, a pear tree overshadows a cropple tree. In the midst of his dying illness he sat up in shock. Sidiyu, I asked you where you came from with a smile. Why can he always give such outrageous answers with a firm face and without hesitation? Can you please not put this when I'm eating? My rice grains are all stuck in my nose. Are you watching? Sidiyu's Chinese teacher. I want to talk to you. Stop chatting, try not to force it if you can. When the audience was speechless, Sidiyu's challenge continues. I send my sorrow to the bright moon. Sidiyu, when will the bright moon shine upon me again? The Yang family's daughter has grown up. Sidiyu, my strength is as great as that of a mountain, and my courage is as great as that of the world. Outside the long pavilion, beside the ancient road. Sidiyu, a line of egrets fly into the blue sky. My parents heard my daughter coming. Sidiyu, hang yourself on a southeast tree. Men should be self-reliant. Sidiyu, stick on the yellow flowers in the mirror. Friends come from afar. Sidiyu, first, we must exhaust his muscles and bones, starve his body, deprive him of all his possessions, whip him dozens of times, and drive him to another courtyard. The clear river reveals the trees of Henyang. Sidiyu, the green grass pond is full of frogs. Wait a minute. Is the last one the wrong way round? What the hell? There are frogs everywhere in the pond. Clearly. There are frogs everywhere in the lush grass. It is clearly the parrot island with lush grass. Cui Jing is furious. Brother, my name is Cui Hao. I can't take it anymore. I'm dying of laughter. A man should be strong and self-reliant. What kind of devil is it to put yellow stickers in front of the mirror? You Bao, you should be more careful. If you want to say he is bad, He knows quite a few poems if you want to say he is good. He can't even remember a single one. I suspect he is deliberately doing this for show effect. Have you ever thought that he might be really stupid? Learning is endless, turn back and you will never be out of reach. An old horse is still ambitious. Sweep away hunger and be yourself. 1,000 ships pass by the sunken boat. And even a needle can't poke you when you live in the mountains. Some of the audience in the live broadcast room died of laughter. Some of them haven't completely died of laughter. The way they slapped their legs and laughed wildly. Probably similar to Zhang Wanwan in the live broadcast room now. Zhang Wanwan laughed so hard that tears were about to come out. When Shen Feng drew the poetry fill in the blank question for Sidiyu, Zhang Wanwan thought that Sidiyu would make trouble. But I didn't expect Sidiyu to cause such a mess. Not to mention Zhang Wanwan's low sense of humor. Even when Hua and Liu Mingyu were almost numb from laughing, Shen Feng also smiled and sighed. Finally, he said to Sidiyu, "You recited it well, but you are not allowed to recite it again next time." Sidiyu's challenge naturally ended in failure. Group B also got an extra opportunity to ask Group A questions. Zhang Wanwan heard Director Tian's voice in her earphones. Director Tian told Zhang Wanwan to ask Shen Feng if he could play a demo of the song for the audience to listen to. For this kind of variety show, it is normal for the director to plan the direction a little bit. So Zhang Wanwan followed Director Tian's words and asked about Shen Feng. As for Shen Feng, he also received the reminder from Director Tian. Director Tian told Shen Feng that he had already cut a piece of pure music from Shiqian Qiu without lyrics or singing, and it was only a few seconds long, which he could play to whet the audience's appetite. So Shen Feng agreed to Zhang Wanwan's request and asked the program team to release that few seconds of pure music audio. This audio clip is very short, but Director Tian selected a more shocking part. So even if it was only a few seconds long, the majestic feeling contained in the sound of the flute still made the audience feel extremely amazing. This clip even became a hot topic and was reposted by netizens. Many experts in the music industry also personally analyzed the ins and outs of composing this piece. It is no exaggeration to say that the release of this audio has raised the audience's expectations for Shiqian Qiu to a very high level. But that's all in the past. In the live broadcast room at this time, after playing this audio clip, Director Tian took an intermission. Then, the contestants from Group A and Group B performed the group singing and dancing. After both groups of contestants finished singing and dancing and the fans had enjoyed the show, Director Tian announced the start of the second round of games. If the first round of the game is designed to allow each contestant to show themselves, then the second round of the game is designed for the mentors. After all, the 4 mentors of Youth Group are all popular big stars. Many viewers come to watch Youth Group just for these 4 people. Of course, we have to satisfy the fans of these 4. The rules of the game are simple. The 4 chief mentors held up 5 fingers and then took turns saying something that each of them thought they had done but others had not done. If someone else hasn't done this, put a finger down. The person who puts down 5 fingers first is the last one. And so on. Liu Mingyu glanced at Shen Feng and said to him, "Xiao Shen, you have a quick mind. I'm counting on you." Shen Feng nodded. Pan Hua also looked at Zhang Wanwan and said, "Wanwan, you react quickly, it all depends on you." Zhang Wanwan cleared her throat. "Can you tell me the rules again? I don't quite understand." When Hua, after Director Tian repeated the rules of the game again, the game officially began. 4 people stood in a row and each held up 5 fingers. When Hua was the first to say, "I have worn skirts," she was in a group with Zhang Wanwan. So naturally she had to talk about things that the 2 of them had done but no one else had. When Liu Mingyu heard this, he consciously put down a finger. And Shen Feng, still holding up 5 fingers. When Hua was startled, and said to Shen Feng, "Xiao Shen, you have to put one into." "Why?" Shen Feng asked back. "Have you ever worn a skirt?" "True." Shen Feng looked indifferent. When Hua looked at Zhang Wanwan again. "He has worn a skirt? This guy has been around for more than 800 years. Let alone wearing a skirt, he must have even done something like running naked on the street." Zhang Wanwan complained in her heart, then nodded silently. The corners of Wen Hua's mouth twitched. Finally, he said, "You 2 usually have a lot of fun?" Zhang Wanwan coughed quickly and then said, "I went to the women's restroom." Liu Mingyu put down another finger. And Shen Feng, still holding up 5 fingers. When Liu Mingyu's expressions were extremely strange at this moment. "Feng Zi, what on earth have you done? Please tell Shen Feng in detail about going to the women's restroom. There's something wrong with Feng Zi. Investigate Feng Zi strictly. I really didn't expect you to be this kind of Feng Zi. I really didn't expect you to be such a Feng Zi," Zhang Wanwan said with eyes wide open. Although she had thought that this guy would go to all kinds of strange places in the past 800 years, she didn't expect Shen Feng to be so bold as to admit it in the live broadcast room. As a result, Shen Feng raised his eyebrows, looked at Zhang Wanwan and said, "When you were 14 years old, you went to the public toilet and found that there was no paper. Didn't you call me to bring it to you? At that time, I wanted to wait for a woman to bring toilet paper to you in the women's restroom. But the place was too remote, and I waited for a long time but no one came. In the end, when I brought it in myself, your legs were numb from squatting. And I even helped you learn how to walk for a long time. Okay, shut up now." Zhang Wanwan quickly reached out and covered Shen Feng's mouth. My goodness, she almost forgot about this. How come this guy still remembers it so clearly? Next it was Liu Mingyu's turn. Because now only Liu Mingyu put down 2 fingers. In order to narrow the gap, Liu Mingyu did not consider whether Shen Feng was a teammate or not, and went straight to a ruthless attack. I caught the criminal. When he gives a concert, he catches criminals on the spot 5 times out of 10. This is almost becoming a meme. Zhang Wanwan and Wenhua put down a finger. And Shen Feng still haven't let it go. Wenhua was a little dissatisfied. Xiaoshen, have you ever caught a criminal? Aren't you bragging a little? Shen Sheng said he had worn a skirt to go to the women's restroom. So Wenhua could still believe it. But catching a criminal is not an ordinary thing. If Shen Shen said that he had even done this, it would indeed be a bit too fake. Then Director Tian suddenly said in a deep voice. He might have been bragging about the first 2 things. But he really did this one. Director Tian opened Weibo on the big screen and searched for the official Weibo of Zhanghe City Police. After finding out that Shen Feng had helped the Zhanghe City Police capture Wang Wei and QI, the former CEO of La and Yu Entertainment and the murderer who committed the 422 case, the Zhanghe Police posted a thank you Weibo to Shen Feng. Wenhua, well, she lost. Chapter 291. Am I proud? The game goes on. The current situation is that Liu Mingyu put down 2 fingers. Zhang Wanwan and Wenhua put down a finger. And Shen Feng hasn't put down any of them yet. Now it was Shen Feng's turn to bring up the incident. Liu Mingyu quickly gave Shen Feng a hint with his eyes. He signaled to Shen Feng that he could help his teammate. It's just that Liu Mingyu's eye signal was a little too obvious. Zhang Wanwan, who was standing nearby, also saw it. So Zhang Wanwan also started to wink at Shen Feng. Although no one spoke, silence was better than words at this moment. When Liu Mingyu saw Zhang Wanwan also imitated his winking gestures, he couldn't help but say, Wanwan, Xiaoshen and I are teammates, so it's only natural for me to ask him for help if you want to form an alliance. Go find Wenhua. Zhang Wanwan put her hands on her hips and said, he is still my husband. It only natural for me to seek an alliance with my husband? If you want to form an alliance, go find your husband. Liu Mingyu. Liu Mingyu looked at Shen Feng helplessly and said, Xiaoshen, I believe you are a reasonable person, you should know who to help. Shen Feng nodded. Then he said, I was married. Liu Mingyu. Liu Mingyu silently put down a finger, his eyes filled with sadness after being betrayed. Zhang Wanwan happily high-fived Shen Feng. The result was what Liu Mingyu didn't expect. Wenhua didn't even put down his finger. When everyone looked at her, Wenhua said calmly, I have been married to someone in a previous drama. Many stars of their generation were involved in film, television and music. Wenhua has acted in quite a few TV dramas in his early years. Liu Mingyu was stunned when he heard this, and then he quickly said, so, I also got married in the play. As he said this, Liu Mingyu wanted to raise the finger he had just put down. Director Tian took one look and immediately said, you can't put your finger down again. This is a warning. Liu Mingyu. He looked at the 2 remaining fingers and let out a long sigh. However, the fact of getting married in the play did open everyone's minds. When it was Wenhua's turn to bring up the incident, Wenhua began to think about what dramas he had acted in. Finally, Wenhua said, I know medical skills and have treated patients. Liu Mingyu's eyes suddenly lit up after hearing this. Hey, I've also treated patients. We acted in a play together. At that time, he collaborated with Wenhua on a doctor-themed TV series, which was quite popular. Zhang Wanwan put down a finger helplessly. And Shen Feng. Still not a single one was put down. Liu Mingyu no longer cared whether they were teammates or not, and said to Shen Feng, Xiaoshen, you just debuted this year and haven't filmed a single drama yet. You can't fool us. Shen Sheng looked at Liu Mingyu in confusion. It's about whether he has medical skills and whether he has treated patients, but it doesn't mention whether he has acted in a movie before. If this isn't a movie, then what is it? Do you really treat illnesses in real life? Shen Feng smiled. A little bit. Liu Mingyu, I don't believe it. Seeing a doctor is something that really requires professional knowledge. Shen Feng is a star. He can play the piano because he has many talents. He can play chess because he has many hobbies, and he has caught criminals because he just happened to do it. But I can't read illnesses, so what? Could it be that Shen Feng, like a certain celebrity named Zhu, also studied medicine in college and then gave up medicine to pursue art. But Liu Mingyu also didn't remember that Shen Feng graduated from a medical university. After thinking about it, Shen Feng finally held Liu Mingyu's wrist. Didn't let go for a long time. The barrage was filled with congratulations to the two male guests for successfully holding hands. Liu Mingyu's face turned red from being held by Shen Feng. He whispered, "Xiaoshen, you are a family man." Then Shen Feng slowly said, "Your pulse is like a string, your liver key should be a little stagnant. You should be feeling weak and tired recently, you should also have a poor appetite. Right?" Liu Mingyu was stunned. After a moment, he nodded and said, "Yes indeed, how did you know?" "Pulse." Shen Feng grabbed Liu Mingyu's wrist and continued. "Not only that, the food you've eaten in the past few days probably didn't go well with your stomach. And you have a stomachache for this kind of stomach cold. You need to drink more hot water. Did you find this out from feeling the pulse?" Shen Feng added, "Also, you have been staying up too late these days, often going to bed late and getting up early, and not getting enough sleep. You should pay attention to rest. Is this also determined by taking the pulse?" "That's not the case," Shen Feng said, "because you have dark circles under your eyes." "Liu Mingyu." Shen Feng shrugged, "Don't be so speechless. Observation, smelling, asking and palpating are all part of traditional Chinese medicine. Anyway, you have to take some rest. By the way, you can buy some kidney supplements to replenish your body." Liu Mingyu coughed and quickly changed the subject. Okay, I admit that you can't read illnesses, that's fine, right? There are so many viewers in the live broadcast room. It would be so embarrassing if the news of his kidney failure spread out." However, Liu Mingyu's worries were somewhat unnecessary. Because not many people care about Liu Mingyu's kidney deficiency now. They were all busy discussing Shen Feng. "And anyone tell me what Feng Zi studied in college? I originally thought Feng Zi graduated from New Oriental. And I thought he might have graduated from Peking University or Tsinghua University. And I suspected he graduated from Berkeley, and now you tell me he studied medicine? Have you disassembled Shen Feng to see if his kernel is AlphaGo 800? I have a reasonable suspicion that this is a deliberate program effect by the program team. I don't believe there is really someone as omnipotent as Shen Feng. To be honest, if I hadn't seen Shen solve advanced math problems and speak in a foreign language for a few minutes, I would have been suspicious, but after seeing that, I don't think anything about Shen Feng is strange. Indeed, I wouldn't be surprised if Shen Feng gave me a child someday and said it was his. Shen Feng, just giving birth to a child, I know a little bit. Shen Feng may do many things, but there is one thing he will definitely not do. And that is, he will not marry Niu Woyu, my Feng Zi husband. Now on the court, Shen Feng still stretched out 5 fingers. Wen Hua has 4, Zhang Wanwan has 3, and Liu Mingyu has 2. It was Zhang Wanwan's turn to bring up the incident. Zhang Wanwan reviewed the situation on the field. He looked at the 5 fingers that Shen Feng was extending. "I feel that she must stand up and sacrifice her own family for the greater good. Shen Feng's 5 fingers are too dangerous and give him too high a tolerance rate. He must find a way to reduce Shen Feng's number of fingers while maintaining the number of fingers of others. Otherwise the winner of this game would definitely be Shen Feng. When it comes to understanding Shen Feng, Zhang Wanwan is definitely the one who knows him best besides Shen Feng." Zhang Wanwan knew that although Shen Feng had lived for 800 years, he had lived on the same day for all 800 years. So there is one thing that Shen Feng definitely has not done. Zhang Wanwan cleared her throat and then said, "I filmed a large-scale TV series. Now, Liu Mingyu and Wen Hua don't have to put down their fingers." Shen Feng raised his eyebrows slightly. After a moment he lowered a finger. During the past 800 years, he had played minor roles in several film crews, but none of them were made into large-scale TV series. In this regard, he indeed lost. Zhang Wanwan's words also gave Liu Mingyu inspiration. When it came to Liu Mingyu, he said directly, "I once held 146 concerts in 1 year. This time, Shen, Zhang Wanwan, Wen Hua each put down a finger. Now, Shen Feng and Wen Hua both have 3 fingers left. Liu Mingyu and Zhang Wanwan only have 2 fingers each." The score difference on the field suddenly became extremely small. This time, it was Shen Feng's turn to bring up the incident. Shen Feng glanced at Zhang Wanwan. Then she smiled and said, "I went from elementary school to junior high school, to high school, and finally to the Civil Affairs Bureau, and then to the Palace of Marriage with someone." Zhang Wanwan blushed. Then he leaned close to Shen Feng and rubbed against him. Liu Mingyu and Wen Hua silently put down a finger. The audience in front of the live broadcast room were wailing and sending barrages of comments. "We were having a good time playing games. Why did they suddenly start showing off their affection again? I was having fun watching it, but suddenly I felt so sad. I was hurt. Is it great to have a childhood sweetheart? I also have my childhood sweetheart's left hand and right hand. Am I proud?" Chapter 292. Why are you carrying this thing? The current situation is very dangerous. Liu Mingyu only had one finger left. As for Wen Hua himself, only 2 fingers were still extended. On the other hand, Shen Feng still has 3. Wen Hua made a rough calculation. If she now tells someone something that only she has done and no one else has done, Liu Mingyu will be eliminated first. If Zhang Wanwan tells one more story like this, Wen Hua will only have 1 finger left. Then it was Shen Feng's turn. If Shen Feng says one more thing at that time, Wen Hua and Zhang Wanwan will both be eliminated. The winner became Shen Feng. That won't work. Wen Hua would rather let Zhang Wanwan win than let Shen Feng win. After all, Zhang Wanwan is in the same group with her. So Wen Hua decided to launch an offensive against Shen Feng while protecting others. Originally, Wen Hua wanted to say that she had worn stockings and combed her long hair. Things that girls would do. But this would implicate Liu Mingyu, and Hua wanted Liu Mingyu to hold on for a while longer so that he could deal with Shen Feng alone. Secondly, Shen Feng had worn skirts and gone into the women's restroom before. So now Wen Hua is not sure whether this guy has ever worn stockings or had long hair. You can never compare yourself to a pervert. Although Shen Feng is not a pervert, to some extent he is indeed quite perverted. After much thought, Wen Hua came up with a killer move. I debuted before this year. In fact, Wen Hua has been in the industry for decades. But in order to prevent Zhang Wanwan from losing points, Wen Hua moved the timeline closer. After all, Zhang Wanwan also debuted a few years ago. So Zhang Wanwan will not be deducted points. Shen Feng is different. Everyone knows that Shen Feng is a newcomer who just debuted this year and became famous thanks to Let's Start Dating Today. He obviously does not meet this condition. Shen Feng could only put down 1 finger. It's Zhang Wanwan's turn. She also understood Wen Hua's tactics. Although Feng Zi is her husband, they are playing a game after all. And there must be a winner and a loser. So Zhang Wanwan also followed Wen Hua's lead and said, before this year, I already had over 10,000 followers on Weibo. Shen Sheng put down another finger. Now, the situation on the field changed again. Wen Hua had 2 fingers, Zhang Wanwan had 2 fingers, and Shen Sheng and Liu Mingyu only had 1 finger left. Liu Mingyu felt that he had a heavy responsibility on his shoulders. On the one hand, he wanted to eliminate Shen Feng in this round. Otherwise, when it was Shen Feng's turn in the next round, Liu Mingyu felt that he would most likely be finished. On the other hand, he cannot protect others like Wen Hua and Zhang Wanwan. After all, Zhang Wanwan and Wen Hua both held up 2 fingers. If Liu Mingyu didn't attack them together, even if he eliminated Shen Feng, he would still be defeated by the other 2. Is there anything that these 3 people haven't done? When it comes to acting, both Zhang Wanwan and Wen Hua have done it. The same goes for singing. Moreover, Wen Hua's qualifications are similar to his. When it comes to things in the entertainment industry, there is no guarantee that Wen Hua can be 1 over 100. On the other hand, Liu Mingyu also has to consider the effect of the program. If he talks about something particularly unpopular, firstly, the authenticity cannot be verified, and secondly, the audience will find it boring. After all, this is still a live variety show. What's more important than winning or losing is whether it's interesting or not. So Liu Mingyu finally decided to take a risky move. Liu Mingyu said, I can recite the names of the dishes backwards. This is his unique skill. Moreover, he has demonstrated it on variety shows more than once, and it is a skill that all fans know about. As for this special skill, Liu Mingyu developed it when he was young. At that time, he was busy with promotions all year round and held world tours, spending more than half of the year on the road. At that time, mobile phones were not allowed to be turned on airplanes. So Liu Mingyu brought some books to read on the road. One time, his suitcase containing books was stolen, and he was left with only a copy of traditional crosstalk collection. I watched it over and over again. Then Liu Mingyu, who was bored to death, thought about memorizing the lines above. After learning how to read the dishes by heart, Liu Mingyu discovered that the plane had not arrived yet. I was so bored that I practiced reciting the names of dishes backwards. At first he found it difficult to memorize. I didn't carry much until the plane landed. After the plane landed, the assistant bought him another new book. But when Liu Mingyu was young, he was a very determined and reckless person. I was just wasting time on reading out the dishes. Regardless of whether Kaiming was willing or not, she carried it on her back for more than a month. Only then did I master this unique skill. Liu Mingyu felt at the time that there was probably no one in the world as idle as he was. Liu Mingyu is not the only one who feels this way. Even the audience felt so. I almost forgot that Liu Zheshan performed this skill in variety shows many times in the past few years. It's so awesome. I have tried to recite it, but after learning how to recite it forward, it feels awkward to recite it backwards, and I just can't practice it. Liu Mingyu made a decisive kill. I didn't expect that there would be a comeback in the end. Shen Feng, who had the biggest advantage at the beginning, was eliminated first, but Liu Mingyu managed to survive. This is the benefit of mastering more than one skill. It is said that having many skills is better than having too much. Actually, in terms of skills, no one can compare to Feng Zi. But Feng Zi's ranking is too bad, which is a pity. It's rare to see Feng Zi lose, and she lost to someone other than Wan Wan. I feel relieved. What is the composition of the people above who say comfortable? I seriously doubt that you are a fan of Jayatnam. Be confident. It's Jayatnam's trumpet. Be confident. It's Jayatnam's size. What? Jayatnam is in the tuba. While the audience was happily chatting about Shenfeng's humiliation, Zhang Wanwan and Wen Hui on the stage both lowered a finger. This skill is truly unique, and Zhang Wanwan and Wen Hui are convinced. However, if Shenfeng could be eliminated first and accept the punishment, that wouldn't be a big deal. Zhang Wanwan also gave Shenfeng a comforting look in advance, indicating that Shenfeng should not be too sad. But I didn't expect it. The last finger that Shenfeng extended. Still haven't let it go. Is Feng Zi's computer frozen? Don't tell me you can even do this. At this point, there was no need for Liu Mingyu or Wen Hui to even question it. Director Tian took the initiative to say, "Teacher Shenfeng. Finger, finger, finger." Shenfeng glanced at Director Tian. And he took out a piece of toilet paper from his pocket and gave it to Director Tian. Director Tian. Director Tian, what are you going to do? Shensheng looked at him. Don't you want toilet paper? I was talking about your fingers. Director Tian grabbed Shenfeng's finger and said, "You should put it down. It's game over for you. Do you understand?" Shensheng pulled his hand back. Then he looked at Director Tian. He said, "Chicken in a tube." Director Tian? Shensheng ignored Director Tian's puzzled expression. Continue to carry it down. Preserved duck, boiled live carp, chestnut chicken, shark's fin with 3 fresh ingredients, braised offal, stewed denan. Director Tian? Audience? The Liu Mingyu? The audience, Director Tian, mentors, contestants, even photographers and stage workers all had question marks on their faces. Shenfeng recited the menu backwards. Then he calmly said to Director Tian, "Should I let it go now?" Director Tian was so nervous. "Are you sick? Why are you reciting this? You're not telling a crosstalk." Liu Mingyu also asked, "That's right, are you sick? Why are you carrying this thing?" Shensheng looked at Liu Mingyu and said, "Then why are you carrying this thing?" "I'm so bored." "Yes." Shenfeng nodded, "I'm also bored." Zhang Wanwan, on the other hand, silently covered her face at this moment. You can never imagine what a person can do when he is bored. Especially, when this person has lived for 800 years. Chapter 293 I Can't Cook. Now all beings are equal. All 4 of them had only one finger left. Next, it was Shenfeng's turn to bring up the incident. Liu Mingyu, Wen Hui and Zhang Wanwan all felt it was quite dangerous. Not only them, the audience also felt so. Feng Zi can kill with this wave. Indeed, I remember Feng Zi knew some minor languages. He could speak a few of them which probably others didn't know. It's a sure win. Feng Zi is still the best after all. There's nothing I can do. This man is too perverted. I just like perverts. Feng Zi, I think you are perverted enough. The audience felt that Shenfeng's move could end the game directly. But in fact, Shensheng pondered for a moment. He really said something that ordinary people would basically not do. I can sing the Russian version of Little Love Song. Liu Mingyu and Wen Hui put down their fingers helplessly. In this round, they both admitted defeat. They can all sing Little Love Song. But they hardly understood a word of Russian, and it was impossible for them to translate Little Love Song into Russian, let alone sing it. Director Tian saw this and wanted to announce Shenfeng's victory. But then I saw that Zhang Wanwan's fingers were still stretched out. And Zhang Wanwan looked very excited. I can do that. Do. Zhang Wanwan looked at Shenfeng with shining eyes. Have you forgotten? This is what the music teacher from Russia taught us when we sang Little Love Song at the school party. It's been so long, you only remember that you can sing this song, but forgot that you actually learned it with me. Shensheng showed a slightly surprised expression on his face, as if he had really forgotten. Seeing Shenfeng's expression, Zhang Wanwan smiled even more proudly. You really didn't remember. Now I've taken advantage of the opportunity. I can't help it. I was too careless. Shensheng said helplessly, I thought I had won this time. I was a little careless. Zhang Wanwan snorted, in this kind of game, you can't let your guard down until the very last moment. It's my turn next. Zhang Wanwan began to wonder if there was anything she had done but Shenfeng had not done. But I kept thinking about it. Zhang Wanwan felt like something was not right. Feng Zi's memory has always been terrible. Feng Zi knows everything about her. Just like Feng Zi casually mentioned the experience of going to the toilet when she was 14 years old. Of Feng Zi's memory, could he really have forgotten that they learned the Russian version of Little Love Song together? Zhang Wanwan thought. He glanced at Shen Feng. And she found that Shen Cheng was also looking at her. There is always a smile on his face. There was a look of doting in his eyes. Zhang Wanwan was stunned. Could it be that Feng Zi was deliberately giving in to her just now? She subconsciously raised her head again, and looked at the big screen in front of her that was filled with comments. Sure enough, I saw that many viewers had similar speculations as hers. Did Feng Zi fake the match? Could it be that Feng Zi has forgotten what he learned with Brother Wan? Investigate Shen Feng strictly. I think so too. Feng Zi clearly said that he could win the game if he knew a certain language. But he chose the one that Wan Ji also knew. If this wasn't a fake match, I would wash my hair upside down. If it was another couple on the show, I would definitely not have so many doubts, but Shen Feng is different. Shen Feng always dotes on his wife, everyone knows that. There is something fishy going on, there is something fishy going on. Looking at these comments, Zhang Wanwan pursed her lips secretly. This damn Feng Zi was really giving in to her on purpose. Although Zhang Wanwan was not very opposed to Shen Feng letting her win. But Shen Feng's letting the game go was too obvious. It was so obvious that the audience could see it. And it would be so meaningless if she won. So Zhang Wanwan thought about it. Decided to give Shen Feng another chance. Let Shen Feng be careful, rigorous and cautious, try his best not to be discovered. And let the water flow again. Therefore Zhang Wanwan said directly, I can cook. Shen Feng put down a finger decisively. Zhang Wanwan. Audience. Director Tian. Director Tian. Fingers, fingers. Shen Feng took out another piece of toilet paper from his pocket and gave it to Director Tian. Dian Daoqi's face turned green. Why do you have so much toilet paper in your pocket? And I'm talking about your fingers. Shen Feng looked at Director Tian sincerely and said, I have put away my fingers. You should hold it in. You should hold it out. Director Tian said. Just now when I was stretching it out, you asked me to put it back, and when I put it back, you asked me to stretch it out again. Shen Feng sighed at Director Tian. I seriously suspect you are playing a trick on me. I seriously suspect you're playing dumb. Director Tian pointed at Shen Feng and shouted. Stop pretending, you can't cook. Shen Cheng rolled up his sleeves. Director Tian stared. What are you doing? Shen Feng said, beat him to death. I take that back. Director Tian discovered that it was not feasible to reason with Shen Feng. Nor was it feasible to use twisted logic. He could only look at Shen Feng helplessly and said, Student Shen, how many times have you cooked in? Let's start dating today. Even your cooking skills have been recognized by the state banquet chef. Who would believe you if you said you couldn't cook? Does anyone believe it? People change. Shen Feng said, you wet the bed when you were 8 years old. Do you still wet the bed now? Of course not. Director Tian paused. Then shouted, and I stopped wetting the bed when I was 8. Don't get excited, I'm just giving an example. Shen Feng shrugged. I used to know how to cook, but now I have forgotten it. Your variety show was only filmed a few months ago. Not decades ago. How could anyone forget it so quickly? Director Tian had to argue with Shen Feng today. This wasn't just for himself. It is also a voice for the audience of this show. Because at this time, in the barrage of comments on the big screen, many viewers felt like Director Tian. That Shen Feng's water release was too outrageous. The Atlantic Ocean has risen today. Do you have any idea? I would rather believe that Jiat Nan can sing than believe Shen Feng when he says he can't cook. Courtesy J. Atnam, your mother? Go Director Tian. We cannot tolerate Feng Zi's serious behavior of letting the opponent win. Director Tian feels that he has a heavy responsibility on his shoulders. Shen Feng looked at Director Tian, who had a serious expression on his face. Suddenly he said to Director Tian, 96,151,123. Director Tian was stunned. Then he asked, what is this, your bank card password? Nothing, just a bunch of numbers I said randomly. Shen Feng said, so now you have forgotten the string of numbers I just mentioned. Of course, who can remember this? Yeah, it's only been a few seconds and you've already forgotten the number I just said. Why can't I forget to cook after a few months? Shen Cheng said this seriously. Director Tian. Director Tian really wants to refute Shen Feng now. But I don't know what to say. After holding it in for a long time, Director Tian could only utter 3 words. You win. Shen Feng smiled and looked at Zhang Wanwan. Brother Wan. You win. Winning, it's too obvious that you're letting the game go. How can you play the game like that? Zhang Wanwan glared at Shen Feng. Tell me again whether you can cook or not. No. Say it again? Okay, I will. Shen Cheng withdrew his finger. Director Tian, who had just argued for a long time, felt his eyes moist when he saw this scene. Then he pointed a finger at Shen Feng. A middle finger. Chapter 294. If this is not love. Shen Feng, Zhang Wanwan and Director Yan stood on the stage, each with a finger extended. Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan raised their index fingers. Director Tian raised his middle finger. After gesturing towards Shen Feng twice, he put it down. Then he said angrily, "That's all." Although he couldn't defeat Shen Feng. But isn't there anyone who can take it down? Zhang Wanwan said to Shen Feng. "Feng Zi, do you think I'm the kind of person who can only win if you let me win?" "Of course not." Shen Feng said. "Chit, of course." Zhang Wanwan said, "But you can't be so obvious when you let the water go. It was a little obvious when you first released the water. So I wanted to give you a chance to think about it and release the water in a less obvious way. In the end, you just released the Pacific Ocean. You totally let down all my efforts." Zhang Wanwan instructed Shen Feng very seriously. "Think carefully about how to be low-key and tactful and let me go without being discovered. Okay?" Shen Feng also nodded very seriously. Zhang Wanwan then smiled. Yeah, I believe in you, Feng Zi, come on, MUA. Wan Ji, before you start plotting, even if you don't turn off the microphone, please keep your voice down. This is your last respect to us. What's the point of letting the game go? What's the point of competing? These two are just showing off their affection. They only care about showing off. Can you please consider the feelings of us singles? I'm going to make a scene. I really am going to make a scene. WOUU. I wanted to laugh at Shen Feng for being henpecked. But when I remembered that I don't even have a wife, I couldn't laugh at all. Feng Zi, your uncle dotes on her father. Zhang Zhe, who was watching the live broadcast. Because of Zhang Wanwan's loud conspiracy, the game did not continue in the end. Director Tian gave the first place to Shen Feng and the second place to Zhang Wanwan. Because Liu Mingyu and Wen Hua were double killed by Shen Feng in the same game, the two of them still have to be ranked. Director Tian asked them to solve it themselves, and Liu Mingyu and Wen Hua discussed playing rock paper scissors. Whoever wins will be third. The loser will be ranked fourth. What a coincidence. Liu Mingyu won. Liu Mingyu looked at Wen Hua, who had a resentful look on his face. He cleared his throat and said, best of three. Then the second game. Liu Mingyu won again. Best of 5 games. Liu Mingyu said. Then he deliberately changed his punching strategy, intending to lose to Wen Hua on purpose. Then he won 3 games in a row. Liu Mingyu was silent for a while, and finally said, how about this, we'll decide the winner in 1 round, and whoever loses will be the third place, okay? Wen Hua nodded silently. Then Wen Hua won. Liu Ming's friends were all numb. What luck he has today. He just wants to give the third place to Wen Hua. Why is it so difficult? The audience in front of the screen was even more confused. Why do I feel like these two are showing off their love? When did they become a couple? Another one releasing water into the sea. I seriously suspect that Sichuan City will be flooded today. I have always thought that they are a perfect match. But they have not officially announced it yet, which really makes me anxious. Should we say Liu Mingyu is lucky, or should we say he is unlucky? He can't even let the water go like this. Is Jiet Nan possessed? Even Director Chen couldn't bear to watch it anymore. He walked up to Liu Mingyu and Wen Hua said, how about I make the decision and change the game for you? Maybe rock paper scissors isn't suitable for you. No. Wen Hua waved his hand. It seems that I am destined to be fourth. So fourth is fine. Tell me, what's the punishment for fourth place? Director Tian hesitated for a moment, then said truthfully, the fourth place winner needs to do a plank while singing. If you can't hold the plank or the singing stops, you will be considered a failure and will have to drink a special juice. Liu Mingyu frowned and asked, what special juice? It's just some juice squeezed from fruits and vegetables. The taste might be a little strange. Liu Mingyu glanced at Wen Hua. He knew that Wen Hua never liked drinking sour and bitter things. So he said to Director Tian, let's change the punishment. No need. Wen Hua said, it's just a plank. I'm a dancer. So my physical fitness isn't that bad as long as I can finish it. I don't have to drink those things, right? Director Tian nodded. Then Wen Hua said that she was willing to accept the challenge. But when Wen Hua was doing the plank and singing, she realized that this challenge seemed much more difficult than she had imagined. The plank was indeed easy for her as a dancer, but it was difficult for her to exert strength when singing in this position. It's really hard to sing the next song completely without interruption. And the longer you persist, the harder it becomes. It seemed that Wen Hua couldn't hold on any longer. Liu Mingyu found Director Tian and whispered, change the drink. Don't let her drink anything too unpalatable. Liu Mingyu is different from Shen Feng Zhang Wanwan. Liu Mingyu is from Mingle Eye Entertainment and can even be considered Director Tian's boss. Director Tian was much more polite when facing Liu Mingyu. He was a little embarrassed and whispered, the juices will be squeezed on the spot and drunk on the spot. There is no way to change them. Liu Mingyu was just trying to come up with an idea. But Wen Hua over there couldn't hold on any longer and fell down. The challenge failed and the punishment had to be accepted. watching the backstage staff pushing in the juicer and several plates of strange fruits and vegetables. Wenhua's face almost turned as green as the vegetables. The staff read out the rules and said that the remaining 3 mentors would take turns selecting a type of fruit or vegetable and putting it into the juicer to make juice on the spot. When Liu Mingyu heard this, he went to talk to Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. When you guys are choosing fruits and vegetables later, can you come in and choose something normal? Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan nodded naturally. A moment later, Shen Sheng picked a broccoli. Zhang Wanwan picked a few slices of olives. Liu Mingyu was also very speechless and picked a fresh and juicy one. Okra. It's not how much they hate Wenhua, because these are the more normal vegetables they can get. The remaining fruits and vegetables are things like how tuy and iacre data, durian, onion, bitter gourd, etc. When all these things are put into the juicer and a cup of strangely colored soup is squeezed out. Let alone Wenhua. Even the audience in front of the screen got goosebumps. Although they are all food ingredients, I still have to wonder, is this thing poisonous? Judging from the color, after drinking it, you can at least turn into a zombie if you are lucky. You can directly become a zombie king. I can smell it through the screen. I remember that sister Wenhua doesn't like drinking this kind of weird drink. She even vomited after drinking orange juice on a variety show before. What should I do? How pitiful Wenhua. Wenhua took the drink with trembling hands. As soon as I closed my eyes, I wanted to pinch my nose and drink it directly. But before she could drink, the cup in her hand was taken away. When Wenhua opened her eyes, she saw Liu Mingyu taking her drink. He said with a smile, I think the color of this thing is pretty nice. How about I try it first and then you can drink it? After saying, he didn't even wait for Wenhua's consent. Liu Mingyu simply drank the entire glass of drink. After drinking, he wiped his mouth, with an extremely complicated smile on his face. He said to Wenhua with some difficulty, this tastes quite delicious. I drank it all without noticing. Sorry. I am a real man. No, this pair is locked for me. From now on, Liu Mingyu will be the second Fengzi in my heart. If this is not love. The staff of the program were also deeply moved by what they saw. Then he took the same ingredients and squeezed another portion for Wenhua. Wenhua? Liu Mingyu. Liu Mingyu, were you sent here by the enemy station to cause trouble? Chapter 295 Work begins. The second cup is not half price. Wenhua and Liu Mingyu stopped drinking either. In order to prove that he was not an undercover agent sent by the enemy station, the staff member drank the drink himself. As a result, after this guy finished drinking it, not only did he not show much pain, instead, he licked his lips. Then he squeezed himself another glass. It's actually quite delicious. The staff member said. It tastes much better than the porridge my wife makes anyway. Wife is furious. Congratulations, from now on, you may not have a wife. It's great that there is one more single person like me in this world. For a moment I didn't know whether to congratulate him or pity him. Originally, Liu Mingyu, who came in third, should also be punished. Have a drink made from 2 vegetables. The second place decreases gradually, and you only need to drink 1 vegetable squeezed drink. However, seeing that Liu Mingyu's lips were still green, Director Tian finally softened his heart. So Director Tian looked at Zhang Wanwan again. Zhang Wanwan and Director Tian looked at each other. Then Shen Feng also looked at Director Tian. Neither the couple spoke. But it seems that everything is unspoken. Zhang Wanwan's eyes seemed to say, I don't want to drink. Shen Feng's eyes seemed to say, she doesn't want to drink. Director Tian silently waved his hand and sent the juice-squeezing staff away. He also told the staff member that the money spent on the vegetables for the 2 drinks he had would be deducted from his own salary. The staff member said very pitifully, but my salary card is with my wife. Rest assured. Director Tian patted the staff and said, your salary card will be free when you go back. The staff left happily. The second round of the game ended here. Director Tian asked the backstage to play a commercial and then took a short intermission. During the break, Director Tian found Shen Feng and had a secret conversation with him. When Shen Feng returned to Zhang Wanwan, Liu Mingyu and Wenhua, they all looked at him strangely. What did Director Tian say to you? Nothing, Shen Feng smiled, but I have to tell you a good news. You will be able to see a good show later. Good show? Liu Mingyu and Wenhua still didn't know what was going on. However, Zhang Wanwan was the first to react. Are you talking about Shang Bie, Hua? Shen Feng nodded. Liu Mingyu was even more puzzled. What happened to Shang Bie Hua? Shang Bie Hua was previously a member of Liu Mingyu's group. Liu Mingyu had a good impression of this seemingly perfect young man who had always been polite. Although Liu Mingyu is also an experienced person and knows that no one in this world is perfect, Shang Bie Hua's perfection is mostly pretended. But Liu Mingyu doesn't care about these things. How many of these people in the entertainment industry don't pretend? Chen Feng looked at the advertisement playing on the big screen and estimated that it would take a few minutes. I told Liu Mingyu and Wen Hu about Shang Biehua's situation. Liu Mingyu was also quite surprised when he heard it. I didn't expect that Shang Biehua actually did so many things behind the scenes. Liu Mingyu doesn't care too much about buying internet trolls or gaining popularity. But Liu Mingyu couldn't stand the despicable tactics of secretly directing fans to engage in verbal fights with other contestants while pretending to be a good person to mediate and win favor. Especially the subsequent behavior of making appointments with fans. Last time we only had a few days off. Some people use these days to go home to visit their parents. And some people use these days to have a good time in Sichuan City. And Shang Biehua just use these few days to have intimate contact with his fans? He hasn't even become famous yet, but he's already doing this kind of dirty stuff. If he becomes famous, won't he be the next Wei Qiang? To be honest, if Shang Biehua can behave himself now, I won't necessarily pursue him for these things for the time being, Chen Feng said. But Shang Biehua is not honest. He has been targeting Situ and looking for a chance to get rid of Situ. So I have no choice but to settle accounts with him. He has never been a person with an overwhelming sense of justice. He targeted Shang Biehua simply because Shang Biehua had offended him. So, have you figured out how to deal with him? Wen Hu asked. Well, Director Tian also knows about this matter, and he has already arranged it with me. The next step is Shang Biehua's death date. Shang Biehua, another protagonist of the incident, now has no idea that his death is approaching. He simply borrowed the phone of a staff member next to him and kept checking Weibo. The staff looked at Shang Biehua strangely and asked, "What do you want to brush?" Nothing, just go do your work first. Don't worry about me, I'll return the phone to you after the commercials are over. The staff nodded and turned and left. After the staff left, Shang Biehua opened the search interface of Weibo. The 3 words, Situ were entered. The search results, apart from Situ's own Weibo, are some Weibo posts discussing Situ. Situ is on live broadcast. In good condition. It seems that Yu Bao is fine. I am so relieved. Situ is so cute. This poem filling in the blank is giving me a stomachache. It's over. I have an exam tomorrow. All I can think about is the long pavilion, the ancient road, and a line of egrets flying into the sky. I'm not going to fail the exam, am I? You still have the energy to look at Yu Bao before the exam. If you don't fail, who will? Look at these Weibo posts. Shang Biehua's brows were getting tighter and tighter. That's not right. Where are the Navy he found? Why is there no news at all? We had clearly agreed on the phone before that as soon as the live broadcast started, we would release City's negative information. Why is it that after 2 rounds of games, there is not even a single piece of negative information about Situ on Weibo? If this continues, the live broadcast will be over. Shang Biehua gritted his teeth and finally relied on his memory to call the Navy he had contacted. Hello, who is this? The Navy soldier asked leisurely while eating dinner. Hearing the unclear and leisurely voices from the Navy, Shang Biehua became even angrier. You still have the heart to eat? Have you done what I asked you to do? The Navy soldier recognized it was Shang Biehua and swallowed his dinner. And he said, what do you want me to do? Did you get kicked in the head by a donkey? What happened to Situ? Shang Biehua said angrily. Oh, the Navy soldier responded perfunctorily. Suddenly he said to Shang Biehua, I can help you with that. But can you pay me a little more? Shang Biehua yelled into the phone. What extra money? You still have the nerve to talk to me about extra money? Let me tell you, if you mess this up, not only will I not pay you more, I'll even deduct your money. The Navy listened. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Why are you laughing? Shang Biehua scolded coldly. Do you think I'm kidding you? No. The water soldier smiled and said, I just simply thought of something happy. Don't worry. I'm watching the live broadcast. I promise to complete the task in the next session. After saying that, the internet user hung up the phone on Shang Biehua, and he leaned back comfortably in his chair, eating his takeaway while waiting for the commercials in the live broadcast room to pass. He promised Shang Biehua that he would complete the task in the next step, but he didn't say whose task is to be completed. In fact, the Navy has already given Shang Biehua a lot of face. He gave Shang Biehua a chance to raise money if Shang Biehua was willing to raise money. Even if the amount he raised was not as much as Shen Feng offered, the Water Army would be willing to help Shang Biehua because of their previous friendship. Unfortunately, Shang Biehua didn't catch it. Soon, the commercials in the live broadcast room are over. Director Tian brought 4 chief instructors and 8 contestants onto the stage. The Water Army finished the last bite of takeaway, and then sent a message to his subordinates. 2 words. Start. Chapter 296, Emotional Disharmony. After the advertisement, Director Tian announced the start of the 3rd game session. In fact, to be precise, this part cannot be considered a game part. It should be considered a prank. Dear audience, our production team has just taken the mobile phones from several contestants and mentors. We will have a round of voting later, and whoever has the most votes will have their phone checked first. Want to know what secrets are in the phones of your idols or the contestants you're fans of? Then come and vote. Director Tian announced the rules. Zhang Biehua was dumbfounded when he heard the rule. Cell phone? Check your phone. When we were discussing the script before, the third link was not this project at all. Zhang Biehua hurriedly pulled Zhang Tianming beside him, then turned off the microphone and asked in a low voice, "Has the third round of the game changed?" "Yes, it has been changed." "When did you take the phone? Did you hand it in?" "Just now. But it seemed like you went to borrow something from the staff at that time. So you weren't here." Zhang Tianming also turned off the microphone and gave a fake smile. "Why, didn't you hand in your phone?" "No, why did you agree to this? Isn't this an invasion of privacy?" Zhang Biehua said with a frown. He knows how much shameful stuff is in his cell phone. He also didn't believe how clean other people's phones would be. Zhang Tianming shrugged. "It's just a variety show. You don't take it seriously, do you? Of course we deleted the things that cannot be exposed in our phones in advance before handing it in. And the production team also said that they would not look at anything to private. They would just take a general look at wallpapers, recent contacts, etc. They asked us to prepare in advance. But the production team didn't ask you for your phone. So why are you worrying about this?" Zhang Biehua didn't say anything. Indeed, the program crew did not ask him for his phone just now. But Zhang Biehua knew that it was not because the program team let him go, nor because they had forgotten him. But it's because of Shen Feng. His cell phone was taken away by Shen Feng. His cell phone was snatched away by Shen Feng in the afternoon. And the third round of the game in the evening suddenly changed and became related to the cell phone. Zhang Biehua absolutely doesn't believe that there is no connection between the two. But Zhang Biehua himself also felt it was a little strange. His cell phone has a password lock. Unless it is face unlocking or has a password, there is absolutely no way Shen Feng can unlock his phone. After a little thought, Zhang Biehua had the answer in his mind. He guessed that Shen Feng must be unable to open his phone and check if there was anything problematic in his phone. So they colluded with Director Tian and changed the third round of the game. And I wanted to take this opportunity to let him unlock his phone by scanning his face. And then check his phone. Yes, that must be it. Zhang Biehua felt that his guess was very correct. This Shen Feng is really a scheming person. He actually came up with such a trick to trick me. But I still saw through him. It's not that easy to mess with me. Zhang Biehua, who felt that he had seen through Shen Feng, sneered in his heart. He had already thought it through. When Shen Shang asked him to unlock the phone, he would deliberately cover the camera of the phone with his hand, under the condition of ensuring that facial recognition cannot be used. Deliberately enter the wrong password several times to temporarily lock the phone. At that time, he could still take his phone back from Shen Feng openly. Absolutely perfect. So now Zhang Biehua can finally feel relieved. At this time, Director Tian had already put on the voting machine and asked the audience to vote to see whose phone they wanted to see first. Although Zhang Biehua's fans and other internet trolls he hired were very active in posting the ad. But it must be said that with Zhang Biehua's current popularity, even if he had 10 times more brushes and water armies, he would still be no match for Shen Feng. Zhang won. Shen Feng won the first round of voting. Then Director Tian took out Shen Feng's cell phone. Shen Feng's cell phone is actually quite simple. The phone wallpaper is not fancy. It's just a photo of Zhang Wanwan. In the photo, Zhang Wanwan is smiling silly, with red cheeks, and posing on the stairs. This is a photo I took of my younger brother when he was drunk. That time she said she was the emperor and that I was her beloved concubine. And she even asked me to serve her. Before Shen Feng could finish his words, Zhang Wanwan violently covered his mouth. But the audience are all understanding people. Find out what the word Shen Feng didn't finish saying was. I couldn't help but reveal a smile on my face. Director Tian then opened the photo album. I found that all the photos in Shen Feng's album were photos of Zhang Wanwan. There is Zhang Wanwan wearing an evening gown. There is Zhang Wanwan wearing casual clothes. There is Zhang Wanwan wearing home clothes, and there is Zhang Wanwan wearing cute dinosaur pajamas. There is Zhang Wanwan who choked while drinking milk tea. There is Zhang Wanwan whose cheeks rumbled while eating meat. And there is Zhang Wanwan who confronted steamed bread to protect her food. There is Zhang Wanwan who takes a walk facing the rising sun in the early morning. There is Zhang Wanwan who lies in a rocking chair to bask in the sun at noon. And there is Zhang Wanwan who wears sunglasses late at night and goes out to play like a thief. In short, it's all Zhang Wanwan. The audience's eyes were almost popping out. Oh my god, Wanwan's fans are ecstatic. Feng Zi, My email address is 114,514 please send me photos privately. What are you sending privately? Is there any way to organize a group to steal Feng Zi's phone? Group stealing mobile phones 110. Group stealing mobile phones to 10. And the group that stole the phone have more people? There are only 10 of us. I'm afraid you'll be beaten down by Wanwan before you even see Feng Zi. But Feng Zi is so sweet. Her phone is full of Wanwan photos. And she takes every photo with such care. Why can other husbands take photos of their wives so beautifully, but my boyfriend always takes photos of me like a pig? Maybe it's because Wanwan is beautiful, and you are just like. It hurts my heart. DSK. This is nothing. My phone is full of photos of beautiful women, but it's a pity that those beauties are not the same person. And they don't know me. Those beauties you mentioned. Are they serious? Do they wear clothes? Brother, my email address is 114,514 Come, please send the beauty to me privately. Afterwards, Director Tian opened Shen Feng's WeChat again. Because Shen Sheng had made preparations in advance. There were only a few contacts displayed in Shen Feng's WeChat. For example, Sitiu, Zhang Tianming, Sister Lin, Director Chen, Director Tian, parents and so on. But what surprised the audience was that Zhang Wanwan is not among my recent contacts. Breaking news. Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan are suspected of having a disagreement in their relationship. And they have no contact in private. Could it be that there is something shameful in their chat history? So Shen Feng doesn't dare to release it? Tell me more. I just like to see the shameful things. One Director Tian. Go to his contacts and find Zhang Wanwan. We want to see something shameful. Director Tian saw these comments on the big screen. He cast an inquiring look at Shen Feng. After Shen Feng nodded calmly, Director Tian found Zhang Wanwan from the contacts and opened their chat. As a result, Director Tian and the audience discovered that Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan really didn't have many messages in contact with each other. The most recent news was the last time Zhang Wanwan went to the recording studio to find Shen Feng. It has been more than 10 days ago. Shit, this is less than the messages between me and my mom. Is there really a relationship problem? Or did they delete all the shameful things? It doesn't look like it was deleted. It's over. If there's something wrong with their relationship, and I really don't believe in love anymore. Director Tian held the phone, looked at Shen Feng and asked, Xiao Chun, why are there so few chat records between you and Wanwan? Shen Sheng couldn't help but laugh after hearing this. Too little? I think this is too much. Director Tian was stunned. But then Shen Feng said, I am with her every day. We sleep together at night. Get up together in the morning, eat 3 meals together, and go to work together. Except for the fact that I have to lead players in different training rooms recently. When she wants to find me, she can just call me, which is much more convenient than typing on WeChat. Every new chat record means that she needed me, but I was not there for her one more time. So even these chat records are too many for me. I would rather I be there for her every time she wants to find me. I'm boiling. This Feng Zi is really good at this. Whoever just said that these two people are not on good terms, please stand up. I'm already covered in bruises today. Please stop torturing me. It's almost 10 o'clock. Why are you still stuffing me with dog food? Are you trying to keep me awake? Why is my boyfriend not Shen Feng? Chapter 297. The school beauty is now my wife. After looking at Shen Feng's phone, the program team conducted a new round of voting. However, there is no option for Shen Feng in the voting machine this time. A large number of viewers who said they couldn't eat dog food but whose bodies were honest turned to vote for Zhang Wanwan. Director Tian took out Zhang Wanwan's cell phone. The wallpaper on Zhang Wanwan's phone is also a carefully edited photo. It was a photo of her and Shen Feng. Moreover, most of the photos in Zhang Wanwan's cell phone album are photos of her and Shen Feng together. Unlike Shen Feng, all his photos were of Zhang Wanwan alone. In fact, Zhang Wanwan had discussed this issue with Shen Feng before. Why Shen Feng prefers to save her solo photos rather than group photos. Shen Sheng said that after 800 years, he has become indifferent to many things. In fact, he no longer cares about himself. As long as he saw Zhang Wanwan smile and be happy, he would be very happy. But Zhang Wanwan is different. Unlike Shen Feng, who could find her and see her every day in the past 800 years, Zhang Wanwan really lived without Shen Feng for 10 years. During those 10 years, she was alone without Shen Feng's company. She hated days like that. So she prefers to keep photos with Shen Feng. Because every photo can prove that Shen Feng is by her side. But of course these reasons cannot be told to the program team and the audience. So when Director Chan asked why Shen Feng only saved photos of Zhang Wanwan alone, while Zhang Wanwan only saved group photos, Zhang Wanwan just smiled and said, because I want to save Feng Zi's photo, but I don't want to waste my own beautiful face. After looking at the photos, Director Chan went to check WeChat. Since Director Tian had already read Shen Feng's chat history, he didn't click on Zhang Wanwan's. He opened the small group of the dating program team and took a closer look. Unlike Shen Feng, Zhang Wanwan likes to hang out in the group when she has nothing to do. The people in the dating group are all her good friends, especially the sisters Chenlu, Meng An, and Li Tingting. The most recent chat record may even be from 1 minute ago. Chenlu, if I send a message now, can I go on the live broadcast? Li Tingting, then I'll join in the fun too. At this moment, in the dating group, a new message suddenly popped up. Director Chen, Tian Shengli was rejected when he confessed his love to the campus beauty in college. He cried and drank beer. He got drunk after drinking 1 bottle. I had to carry him back to the dormitory. Tian Shengli was rejected when he confessed his love to the campus beauty in college. He cried and drank beer. He got drunk after drinking 1 bottle. I had to carry him back to the dormitory. Tian Shengli. Director Tian turned off Zhang Wanwan's phone with a gloomy face. Oh, Director Chen is exposing Director Tian's secrets. It turns out that the hatred between colleagues is naked. I didn't expect that Director Tian was also a romantic young man who was hurt by love. He was sentimental and drank to drown his sorrows. Unfortunately, his alcohol tolerance is really. Although Director Tian turned off his phone quickly, some sharp-eyed viewers still saw the message that Director Chen had just sent. One by one, they started to make a fuss in the barrage. Director Tian defended himself very seriously and earnestly. Don't listen to the nonsense that Chen said, he is spreading rumors. This is an unfair commercial competition act accused by the enemy station against our program. I solemnly declare here that I will not get drunk even if I drink 8 or 10 bottles of beer. So it's true that I confessed my feelings to the campus beauty and was rejected. Seeing this comment, Director Tian coughed and said, who doesn't have a 17, 18, 19, 20, 21? Is it a black history to confess to a school beauty and be rejected? It's not a dark history, it's just that I rejected his school beauty. And now she is my wife. Another barrage of comments floated out very conspicuously. It was obviously sent by Director Chen. Looking at this comment, Director Tian's eyes widened. When Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan saw this comment, they couldn't help but look at each other. Director Chen's wife Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan met at the final award ceremony of Let's Start Dating Today. They really didn't expect that there was such a relationship between Sister Wang and Director Chen and Director Chen. You said Director Chen is so stingy, timid and easily angry. Stupid and calculating, and he seems to be not as generous as Director Tian. As for his look, she is about the same as Director Tian. Why can Director Chen win the beauty? Zhang Wanwan asked Shen Chen. Can you please turn off your microphone before you talk about me? Such comments floated across the screen. Shen Feng ignored the comments and said to Zhang Wanwan, because love doesn't need a reason, it's enough to just like each other. If I am stupid, dumb, stingy, will you still like me? Shen Feng smiled and rubbed Zhang Wanwan's head. No ifs. Zhang Wanwan smiled sweetly at first, but he reacted quickly. Then she punched Shen Feng with her pink fists. This isn't a fight. This is just acting like a spoiled brat. Oh, how I wish I was the one who acted like a spoiled child every night. Oh, how I wish I could act like this to Feng Zi. Oh, how I wish Feng Zi could act like this to me. After checking Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan's phones, it was naturally Wen Huan the Yu Mingyu's turn. The mobile phones of these two middle-aged people are actually much simpler, especially after they cleared out certain things that they didn't want the audience to see in advance. The phone was clean and there was nothing interesting to see. This really disappointed the audience. They also wanted to check on their phones to see if the two were having any affair. After all, Yu Mingyu just drank a glass of special drink for Wen Hua in a very manly manner. Moreover, these two are well-known good friends in the entertainment industry, and they celebrate each other's birthdays every year. If they succeed, it won't be surprising to the audience and fans. But unfortunately, nothing explosive was found in either Liu Mingyu's or Wen Hua's phone. In fact, Liu Mingyu really wanted to make his relationship with Wen Hua public. However, although Wen Hua accepted him, it seems that he has no plans to publicize it for the time being. In addition, if these two superstars want to be together, they have to consider the company's arrangements. So Liu Mingyu finally decided that it would be better to hide the relationship and not expose it. Liu Mingyu has been in the entertainment industry for so many years, so he is naturally very cunning and cleared out all suspicious things from his mobile phone. With regret, the audience finished watching Wen Hua on Liu Mingyu's mobile phones. Now the mobile phones of all four tutors have been checked. Next, it's time for the audience to vote and check out the contestants. Although Shang Biehua has already thought of a strategy to deal with cell phone inspection, but deep down, Shang Biehua still didn't want to be chosen. After all, even if he had a way, he could lock the phone by entering the wrong password. But doing such an embarrassing thing in front of the audience would not only embarrass him, but would also disappoint his expectant fans. So it's better not to check his phone at all. Zhang Biehua felt that the fans of Situ and Jiang Tianming should be quite strong. I should be able to check their cell phones first later. It is impossible to check the mobile phones of so many contestants, so it is very likely that Director Tian will proceed directly to the next stage after checking Situ and Jiang Tianming's mobile phones. Unfortunately, ideals are full of hope, but reality is very ironic. Zhang Biehua's vote count far exceeded that of all other contestants. This impressive number of votes even surprised Zhang Biehua himself. There were for most popular chief mentors before, so Zhang Biehua's votes were not very noticeable. Now that the 4 chief mentors are no longer in the voting machine, Zhang Biehua seems to have become the absolute protagonist. Even fans of Situ and Jiang Tianming were dumbfounded. Situ's mom fans are already very strong, and Jiang Tianming's fans are hoping to find clues about Jiang Tianming's girlfriend from his phone. So they voted particularly hard. But even though the two families voted so crazily, unexpectedly, he was not as good as Zhang Biehua, and was even far behind. The reason why Zhang Biehua got so many votes is not because of the terrifying number of his fans. The key reason is Zhang Biehua hired a navy. Zhang Biehua had contacted more than just the one he called in the afternoon. That company was his special navy to target black people. He also hired other people's internet trolls to control comments, inflate his statistics, and pretend to be fans. These water armies have been receiving money from Zhang Biehua for a long time. Almost every time they see any ranking or voting related to Zhang Biehua, the water armies will rush to inflate Zhang Biehua's data. For example, now, looking at the terrifying number of votes that was far ahead of others, Zhang Biehua wished he could travel back in time and give his past self a slap in the face for hiring internet trolls to vote for the list. Isn't this just asking for trouble? Chapter 298 Biehua's cell phone. Did Zhang Biehua hire some online trolls? Or did he pay the production team? How did he get so many votes? Yubao has more than 200,000 fans, but only about 10,000 or 20,000 of them are watching the live broadcast. If you add the passers-by who are willing to vote for Yubao, there are at most 20,000 or 30,000 votes, but Zhang Biehua got more than 60,000 votes. Where did he get so many fans? This is definitely fake. There are only over 100,000 people in the live broadcast room right now, and most of them are definitely fans of Feng Ziwanwan and Liu Zhexin. Their fans account for at least 3/5 of the total. Even if we exclude the overlapping fans, they still account for half. So the remaining half of the audience are all fans of Zhang Biehua? I have seen several low-level accounts vote for Zhang Biehua, and then exit the live broadcast room after voting. There must be something wrong. DSK, you just found out that Zhang Biehua hired internet trolls? Our Zuyun fans knew about this a long time ago. Zhang Biehua even hired internet trolls to create black fans for our Zuyun. It's so disgusting. Zuyun is a contestant in Group B, Jiang Wanwan's group, and is also a very popular contestant. In the live broadcast room, Zhang Biehua hired quite a few internet trolls, but there are also quite a few who are true fans of Zhang Biehua. These true fans of Zhang Biehua were often instigated by fan leaders and internet trolls to stir up trouble with other stars. They all have very bad tempers, just like war maniacs. When they saw so many fans of Situ, Jiang Tianming and Zuyun in the live broadcast room, criticizing Zhang Biehua for hiring internet trolls, these fans couldn't sit still. They didn't know whether Zhang Biehua had hired some internet trolls, but they know that they are definitely not water army. So I feel that those who voted for Zhang Biehua are not water armies. Although this logic is strange, most of these people use this logic. Can you please stop talking nonsense and say we are water army? Will you pay us? That's right, you are allowed to have more fans and votes. But we are not allowed to have more votes? Your real Weibo has so many fans, but you can't get more votes than our brother Biehua. And I still say that your real Weibo is full of zombie fans. All fake fans? Our Mr. Sheng has such popularity and such a number of votes. It can only be said that he deserves it. Situ's fans are really idiots. They refuse to admit that their fighting power is not as strong as others, and they insist on saying that others hire water armies. It's really funny. I am a pure passerby. I think Zhang Biehua did not hire any water army. Zhang Biehua is very talented. For a moment, the fans of these groups were about to start quarreling in the leap broadcast room. But soon, a barrage of comments came out, attracting the attention of many people. Someone on Weibo revealed that Zhang Biehua bought information from the internet troll army. Go check it out. At this moment, the war in the live broadcast room seemed to have subsided, because fans of both sides went straight to Weibo. Zhang Biehua also saw the comments on the big screen. His heart sank slightly. Someone actually revealed that he hired internet trolls at this critical moment. Was it one of his rivals who did it? Or Shenfeng? Zhang Biehua glanced at Shenfeng. He discovered that Shen Feng was also looking at him. His face had a dull expression, as if he had done nothing. Zhang Biehu withdrew his gaze and pondered for a moment. Finally he comforted himself. It doesn't matter when we were dealing with Zhu Yun before. Zhu Yun's fans also broke the news, but in the end it was just a lot of noise with little action. Those fans didn't have any substantial evidence at all. Besides, Cityu's revelations should be coming soon. That will be the real big deal by then. The audience's attention will be on Cityu. And no one will care whether I hired internet trolls or not. Thinking of this, Zhang Biehu's face returned to its usual perfect smile. Director Tian naturally also saw the comments on the big screen. However, Director Tian knew that this was part of Shen Feng's plan, so he was not surprised at all. He acted as if he hadn't seen anything. When the voting machine's time was up, Director Tian announced with a smile, "Okay, the contestant with the most votes this time is Zhang Biehua. Let's take out Zhang Biehu's phone and take a look at his little secret." Speaking of, Director Tian took out Zhang Biehu's cell phone that Shen Feng had snatched away. Zhang Biehu immediately came up to him with a smile, and then said, "Let me help unlock it." As he spoke, Zhang Biehu naturally took the phone from Director Tian. Hovering the phone's front-facing camera with your thumb prevents the phone's facial recognition. Then start entering the password. His phone will automatically lock after he enters the wrong password 5 times. When he made a mistake the first time, Zhang Biehu just smiled and said, "Sorry, my hand slipped a little. Second wrong input. I pressed the wrong key again, I don't know what happened. The third time, isn't that right? This shouldn't be the case. Did I remember the password wrong? Fourth time, maybe I remembered it wrongly. Let me recall it a little bit." As he spoke, Zhang Biehu began to pretend to be in deep thought. In fact, Zhang Biehu was not thinking at all. He was just taking time to look at the comments on the big screen. Now the war of words has resumed on the big screen. The two sides in the verbal war were his fans and the fans of Cityu. Zhang Tianming, Zhu Yun and others. Judging from the description on the barrage, it seems that someone really revealed on Weibo that he hired internet trolls. However, the person who broke the news did not produce enough evidence, which gave Zhang Biehu's fans confidence. You want to hammer someone with just those fake evidences? I think he just wants to take advantage of my brother's popularity. This is so disgusting. How can there be such a person? My brother did nothing wrong. Why is he being slandered like this? A certain Yu fan, a certain Ming fan, are you the ones who spread the dirty information about our brother Biehua? You are resorting to such shady tactics because you can't win the votes. Right? How despicable. The fans of the other side are no pushovers either. We are playing dirty tricks. Stop kidding. Do you really think we have the time to play these tricks on a bunch of elementary school students like you? A fly won't bite an egg without cracks if your brother is really that innocent. Why would someone expose your brother's secrets? Why doesn't anyone say that you Bao, hired a group of internet trolls? Can you please stop deceiving yourselves? Don't cue us Ming fans. Thank you. Do you know who the big guys in our Zhangshao fan club are? If they want to find someone to spread negative information about your brother, Weibo will be flooded with you, understand? Perhaps only Zhang Biehu's fans believe that Zhang Biehu did not hire a cyber army. Although Zhang Biehu's fans are all war maniacs, they are no match for several other fan groups after all. In the end, they can only stick to one point of view and argue with others. That is, too little evidence, not enough solid evidence. Seeing this, Zhang Biehu sneered secretly. Although his fans were at a disadvantage, the fans of other groups obviously had no other means of attack. As long as there is no solid evidence of hiring internet trolls, fans of other groups will not be able to further discredit him. And the real evidence, Zhang Biehu doesn't think those stupid netizens can find it. The solid evidence that he hired internet trolls to manipulate data was hidden only in his mobile phone. As long as no one unlocks his phone, no one will be able to see his chat history with the internet trolls. As for his cell phone, now you just need to enter the wrong password once more to lock it up. While thinking, Zhang Biehu stretched out his finger and pressed the password. The first few numbers he entered were all correct. To the last one, he slowly dialed the wrong number. But just before he was about to press it, a hand suddenly reached out. Before Zhang Biehu could react, he pressed the correct number. The next second, Zhang Biehu's phone was unlocked. Zhang Biehu looked at the owner of the hand in astonishment. Shen Feng. Shen Feng saw Zhang Biehu staring at him, and said with a smile, "I accidentally touched it, I'm sorry. Luckily I didn't touch the wrong one, otherwise my phone would have been locked." It was a close call. Speaking of, Chen Cheng reached out and grabbed the phone from Zhang Biehu's hand. Next, let the director show you a little secret in your phone. Zhang Biehu's face changed. Grab his cell phone tightly. Chapter 299. Is it too late to realize it now? Shan Biehua held the phone with extra force, because he knew that this unlocked phone must not fall into Shen Feng's hands. Absolutely not, it will be checked by the program team. This phone contains too many of his secrets, including evidence of him hiring internet trolls to boost popularity, evidence of him asking the fan leader to instigate small fans to find other contestants to stir up trouble, and even, there is also evidence of his inappropriate relationship with some fans. After the first few pieces of information were exposed, Zhang Biehua at most suffered a loss of character and popularity. But he was not without a chance to make a comeback. After all, he is not the only one in the entertainment industry who hires internet trolls. But the last thing is different. Recently, countless celebrities in the entertainment industry have been banned because of their relationships between men and women. And the control over this aspect is now the strictest. If the news of him making an appointment with his fans were to be exposed, Zhang Biehua's reputation would be completely ruined. And he would have to bid farewell to the entertainment industry forever. How is this possible? Since he was preparing for his debut, he has put in so much effort, time and money. How could Shen Feng destroy everything so easily? Seeing that Zhang Biehua refused to let go, Shen Feng raised his eyebrows slightly. Then he smiled and asked, "Contestant Zhang Biehua, should you let go now? Don't you want us to check your phone? Is there something shameful in your phone?" Hearing Shen Feng's words, Zhang Biehua's heart skipped a beat. He always felt that there was something else behind Shen Feng's words. Zhang Biehua swallowed his saliva and found an excuse to defend himself. "This phone contains chat records between me and some of my relatives and friends. Those records involve other people's lives and privacy. I think they should not be displayed in public without their permission." Zhang Biehua sounded quite guilty when he said this. After saying that, he looked up at Shen Feng with some worry. He saw Shen Feng's eyes. The coldness hidden in Shen Feng's eyes made Zhang Biehua shiver. It was as if Shen Feng could see through the falsity of his excuse at a glance. Zhang Biehua tightened his grip on the phone. "But I didn't expect it." Shen Feng actually let go at this time. He also said to Zhang Biehua with a smile, "Since contestant Zhang Biehua doesn't want to show his phone, we won't force him." Zhang Biehua was extremely surprised when Shen Feng let go. Chen Cheng actually let him go. Is this reasonable? This is unreasonable. When he met Shen Feng privately in the afternoon, he had almost broken off relations with Shen Feng. Shen Feng is still willing to let him go. Could it be that Shen Feng was impressed by his abilities and wanted to recruit him as an artist in his studio? So he let him off the hook? When Zhang Biehua was thinking beautifully, Chen Cheng is signaled to Director Tian to conduct another round of voting. Zhang Biehua's fans all felt it was a pity, but Zhang Biehua himself did not want his phone to be checked. And it was not easy for them to blame others. Another round of voting has ended. And the one who got the most votes this time is Jiang Tianming. Director Tian took out Jiang Tianming's cell phone again. Looking at Jiang Tianming's cell phone, Zhang Biehua was slightly stunned. He then realized that Jiang Tianming and he were using the same model of mobile phone. It's just that his phone has a cool phone case, but Jiang Tianming's doesn't. This is really a coincidence. Jiang Tianming unlocked his phone generously. The audience curiously looked at Jiang Tianming's mobile phone through the camera. "I want to see if I can find the secret of Jiang Tianming's girlfriend from his mobile phone." Now netizens all know that Jiang Tianming is not single and that he has a girlfriend. But there are still different opinions about the identity of his girlfriend. Some people say it was a female contestant in youth group. For example, Pei Yin from the same group is a strong suspect. Some people even suspected that it was a staff member of a film crew. Some people even think that Jiang Tianming's other half is Chen Wei, the woman who has long been forgotten. To this end, these people even imagined a big drama. A pure-hearted rich second generation falls in love with a female spy who plays with people's hearts and carries a mission. On one side are his sister and brother-in-law, and on the other side is a female spy who wants to destroy their love. It's hard to have both friendship and affection. In addition, according to an insider, Jiang Tianming may even dislike women and like men. "The man I like is Sidiyu." In short, there is a lot of confusion on the internet and there is still no accurate answer. So the audience hopes to get the answer from Jiang Tianming's mobile phone. "When I opened my phone, what caught my eye was a plain desktop wallpaper. It's just a normal wallpaper that comes with the system." The audience was disappointed to see this wallpaper. But what the audience didn't see was, outside the camera, Zhang Biehua, who was not in the picture, looked a little unnatural when he saw this wallpaper. What's going on? How come Jiang Tianming not only has the same phone model and style as him, but even has the same wallpaper? Could it be that the person Jiang Tianming has a crush on is him? Zhang Biehua frowned and looked at Jiang Tianming with a vigilant look. Jiang Tianming seemed to have noticed Zhang Biehua's gaze. He also turned and looked at Zhang Biehua. There was a sneer of sarcasm in those eyes. But this sneer seemed to Shang Biehua. But it was like the confident and seductive greasy smile of a domineering president. It was as if Jiang Qianming was hinting at him with his eyes. Little wild cat, have you discovered my love for you? Don't worry, I will love you well. Shang Biehua couldn't help but shiver again. Could it be that Jiang Qianming is really a pervert who likes men? At this moment, Shang Biehua was still thinking about random things. Because he felt that now that his phone was back in his hands, he should be safe. At least it's safe for now. But soon, Jiang Qianming no longer had this idea. Because Director Tian skipped the step of checking the mobile phone album and directly opened the WeChat interface in Jiang Qianming's mobile phone. And the moment the chat interface appeared, Shang Biehua felt as if struck by lightning. Shang Biehua was extremely familiar with the chat interface on the screen and the contacts presented there. This, isn't it his WeChat interface? Shang Biehua hurriedly picked up the phone in his hand, which was covered with his phone case. I entered his mobile phone password and wanted to open WeChat to check. But I found that there was no WeChat, no QQ, and not even any messy third-party software in this phone. When he opened the gallery, there was only one screenshot. Shang Biehua clicked on the screenshot with trembling hands. There was a line of words written inside. Isn't it too late to find out now? Click. Shang Biehua had always held the cell phone tightly in his hand like a treasure. He fell straight and heavily to the ground. Chapter 300 Jiang Qianming get out of the entertainment circle. Because now the camera is focused on Jiang Qianming's mobile phone, in the hands of Jiang Qianming and Director Tian. Therefore the abnormality on Shang Biehua's side was not captured by the camera. The audience in front of the live broadcast room, whether they were fans of Shang Biehua or not, had no idea what had happened to Shang Biehua. Because now all their attention is focused on the WeChat interface of the mobile phone in front of the camera. The main interface of WeChat contains so much information. Among the dozen or so contacts, more than half of them have XXX Studio in their names. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that these are almost all Water Army studios. The remaining contacts, judging from their profile pictures, are mostly girls. A main interface can only display the last message record with the contact. But just looking at the last message record displayed is enough to be unsightly. This what is going on? Did Jiang Qianming hire so many trolls? He is indeed a rich man. Didn't Jiang Qianming's fans just now accuse our brother Biehua of hiring a group of online trolls? Why, when it's your turn to be exposed for hiring online trolls, you all become silent? To be honest, the chat records below are obviously more outrageous than hiring a troll army. How could Jiang Qianming flirt with so many girls at once? And his comments were so explicit. I don't even need to open the chat interface. Just looking at the main interface makes me feel greasy and disgusting. I never thought Jiang Qianming would be such a person. As expected, the second generation of rich people are not good at all. So disgusting. At this time, many of the barrages were attacking Jiang Qianming, especially those fans of Shang Biehua. The attack was the most frenzied. Just now, Jiang Qianming's fans joined forces with Sitiu's fans and Zhu Yun's fans to slander their brother Biehua, which made them very angry. Now that he had found a point to counterattack and vent his anger, he naturally began to criticize Jiang Qianming mercilessly. How disgusting, a contestant who was bought with money and became popular. Is it great to be rich? What kind of image is this of a pure-hearted rich second generation? In the end, isn't he still a scumbag? Did you see that? Jiang Qianming is still laughing. I have never seen such a shameless man. Brother Biehua is the best, he will never do such a thing. How many people in the entertainment industry are as perfect as brother? In my opinion, Shen Feng can even compare to brother Biehua. Most of Jiang Qianming's fans had now stopped their activities. They also didn't want to believe that Jiang Qianming was such a person. But the evidence is right in front of the camera. They are fans. But they are not so crazy that they can't tell right from wrong. Director Tian looked at the phone interface and said in a very pretentious tone, "Oh, this contestant Jiang Qianming, should I not look at your WeChat? These things cannot be released, right?" But Jiang Qianming smiled and said, "Look at it as you like, look at it as you like. If you don't see it clearly, just open it and read it." Wait a moment. Shang Biehua rushed to the camera at this time and reached out to grab the phone. But Jiang Qianming stepped forward to stop him, and held down Shang Biehua with one hand, making it impossible for Shang Biehua, who was a head shorter than him, to move. Jiang Qianming looked at Shang Biehua and asked with a puzzled look, "Brother Shang, what's wrong? It's fine if you don't allow the production team to check your phone. But why are you controlling my phone too and won't allow them to check it? I didn't even say I didn't want to. Aren't you being too nosy?" Shang Biehua swallowed. He didn't know what was going on. But he felt that this rich second generation, who always looked amiable on weekdays, was actually full of oppression today. Before, when Shang Biehua faced Jiang Qianming, he just felt that he was getting along with an ordinary peer. But now, however, Shang Biehua truly felt the pressure from the rich and powerful. Shang Biehua subconsciously took a step back. It was at this time. Director Tian clicked on a chat record in Jiang Tianming's mobile phone. This is a chat record with a woman. The content of the chat. But it is extremely insightly. The two added each other as friends nearly 2 months ago, and their chats seemed relatively normal at that time. But later on, Jiang Tianming seemed to start asking the woman to send some unspeakable voice messages and photos. And more than 10 days ago, that was when the youth group program crew took a holiday. It seems that Jiang Tianming and his female fan have started to meet offline at a hotel. A man and a woman met in a hotel, and the topic they discussed was so explicit. It goes without saying what the two people did in the hotel. And anyone who understands will understand. Seeing this, the audience in front of the live broadcast room became even more outraged. One by one, they wanted to tear the screen apart, then rush to Jiang Tianming and scold him. Jiang Tianming seemed to be blind and could not see these comments. An even deeper smile appeared on his face. He said to Director Tian, "This is just one, look at a few more." Director Tian clicked on a few more chat records to take a look. Some of them even had obscene chats with female fans. Some female fans may be relatively wealthy, and have been deceived by Jiang Tianming many times into transferring huge amounts of money as gifts. And looking at the records, one of them seemed to be an underage female fan. In addition, Director Tian also watches several conversations between the two parties in the Water Army studio. The content includes but is not limited to directing Water Army studios to increase popularity, take advantage of entries, and increase traffic, as well as writing public relations press releases that try to infringe on other celebrities, and some press releases that discredit contestants of the same period, etc. Dirty, from private life to work, everything is dirty. Such a rich second generation, but you still cheat girls out of their money. You must have become rich by cheating people out of their money. How can there be such disgusting people in the entertainment industry? Get out of the entertainment industry. I am really going to vomit after watching this. I must be blind to be a fan of such a person. Other BA who are recording a show with this kind of person tarnishes brother BA whose reputation. Get out of the entertainment industry. Get out of the entertainment industry. Get out of the entertainment industry. The comments were all full of criticism towards Jiang Tianming. In fact, some viewers are more discerning or rational. Found some problems with WeChat. But their voices were drowned out by the condemnation of Jiang Tianming. Looking at the screen full of "Get out of the entertainment industry," Jiang Tianming clapped his hands with a smile and echoed loudly, "Well said, get out of the entertainment industry." Director Tian acted like a supporting actor at this moment, pretending to be puzzled and asked, "Jiang Tianming, they all told you to get out, why are you so happy?" Jiang Tianming waved his hands. "Why are you asking me to get out? You're obviously asking the real owner of this WeChat to get out. You are not the owner of this WeChat?" Director Tian was quite professional in his support. "How is that possible? I just realized that this is not my phone at all. And the WeChat account is certainly not mine," Jiang Tianming said. Chen Feng also followed Director Tian to make a joke. "Oh, this phone is not yours, then whose else could it be? Why don't you just look at the WeChat name and find out?" Director Tian opened the personal information of this WeChat. The three big characters, Shang Biehua, are so conspicuous. Shen Sheng took the phone and weighed it in his hand. Then he looked at Shang Biehua, who seemed to have lost his soul, narrowed his eyes and said slowly, "Contestant Shang Biehua, it seems that this is your phone. Hiring internet trolls to discredit fellow contestants, flirting with multiple female fans, defrauding female fans of their money, and dating female fans offline. Brother Biehua, you are really clean." At this time, Jiang Tianming also walked to Shang Biehua's side, picked up the mobile phone that slipped from Shang Biehua's hand, and touched it with heartache. "You were pinched by that scumbag for so long just now. You must have suffered." Chapter 301. First, I need a sister with a brain defect. The same model of phone, with a different phone case and password, and gave him Jiang Tianming's phone. Now Shang Biehua completely understood what trick Shen Feng used. But he also knew that he understood it too late. Now on the big screen, there are very few fans of Shang Biehua who are still talking. Shang Biehua's fans who were waiting in the live broadcast room to watch this live broadcast are now dumbfounded. Or, they have already exited the live broadcast room directly. And those fans who were still willing to believe Shang Biehua kept asking questions in the live broadcast room. Is this some special segment set up by the production team? Is this acting? This must be fake. Are you deliberately trying to trick our brother Biehua? This segment is not funny at all. Can you please end it quickly? Please. I want to complain. The program team has gone too far this time. Excessive? Director Tian saw this comment and suddenly burst into laughter. I really went too far. I actually published Shang Biehua's chat history. How could I be so evil? It's a pity that Shang Biehua's photo album cannot be made public. Because if it is made public, the live broadcast room may be blocked. Otherwise I can commit even more heinous crimes. As Director Yan spoke, his expression gradually became serious again. I don't support you using my youth team as a springboard for your acting career and a stepping stone for your stardom. And using some tricks to achieve it, but I can understand it. After all, this is how the industry is. But if you use the program I worked so hard to plan as a tool to satisfy your own selfish desires and as a fishing ground for you to do whatever you want, then don't expect me to show you mercy. Starting today, Shang Biehu will be asked to leave youth team in addition. All the data in his phone has been handed over to the relevant judicial authorities before the show begins. If there are still fans who question the authenticity of these chat records, or still wonder if this is a show for our show, just wait for the court to prove it. After saying, Director Tian bowed deeply to the camera again. After sighing, he slowly said, also, as the director of the show, I have to apologize to all the viewers this happened and affected your viewing experience. Today's live broadcast ends here. We will organize another live broadcast in a few days. I hope you can still come then. In addition, I hope you can look forward to our youth group performance. I promise that the performance will not disappoint you. After saying that, Director Tian waved to the assistant director. The live broadcast room was closed. In fact, even if it is not closed, many viewers don't have the mood to start the live broadcast at this moment. Because the melon they just ate was so big and so hard. Although Shang Biehua is just a contestant, he is not a star. But he has been hyped up a lot these days, so his popularity is no less than that of some stars. This is actually normal. This kind of talent show produced by big companies has always been very popular in the entertainment industry. Especially during the live recording stage of the show. It is not uncommon for some top contestants to become more talked about than celebrities. Just like Ko Chaoyu a few years ago, he was also a contestant in a talent show, but he received a lot of attention before he even made his debut and was more popular than many celebrities. Shang Biehua's performance in youth group was already good. His character was perfect, and the attention he received was already high. In addition, he was willing to hype himself and was good at managing his fans, so his popularity was naturally self-evident. Before Director Tian showed Shang Biehua's cell phone and released the hard evidence, some internet trolls had already posted all kinds of negative information about Shang Biehua on Weibo, causing a certain amount of discussion on Weibo. After the program team released the chat records in Shang Biehua's hands and confirmed all the negative information, the whole incident became popular. The audience was all busy watching the gossip and had no time to watch the live broadcast. Never mind the audience. Even Zhang Wanwan couldn't wait to eat the melon. After leaving the live broadcast stage, Zhang Wanwan walked towards her and Shen Feng's room while browsing her phone. Chen Cheng was afraid that she would trip if she didn't look at the road while walking, so he carried Zhang Wanwan on his back. Zhang Wanwan lay on Shen Feng's back, happily pressing her face against Shen Feng's profile, with her arms around Shen Feng's chest, holding a cell phone and swiping it. How could this troll army be so quick to produce so many negative articles in such a short period of time? Zhang Wanwan's eyes were dazzled by the hundreds of marketing accounts that blacklisted Shang Biehua on Weibo. I guess these articles were written by the internet trolls in advance to discredit Sidiyu. Now they just replaced Sidiyu's name and changed the events and used them as templates. They are all popular contestants on the same show anyway, so it's easy to modify them. Shen Feng said. I'm afraid Shang Biehua could not have imagined that the internet trolls he hired with money and the public relations drafts he paid them to write would eventually backfire on him. In a way, this can be considered as spending money on yourself. As Zhang Wanwan was looking at it, she suddenly discovered that there were several female fans on Weibo who claimed that they had been cheated of money or love by Shang Biehua. Taking the chat records with Shang Biehua, he hammered Shang Biehua online. Zhang Wanwan was surprised. These fans who can chat with Shang Biehua are basically big fans or fan leaders. They can be said to be Shang Biehua's die-hard fans. Even if something really happened to Shang Biehua, these people shouldn't have turned against him so quickly, right? Chen Feng glanced at Zhang Wanwan's phone, and guess what Zhang Wanwan was thinking? Then he smiled and said, I gave Liu a list of contacts of Shang Biehua's big fans before, and asked Yuya to contact them and express the hope that they would stand up and criticize Shang Biehua. Zhang Wanwan blinked her eyes foolishly. Yuya, when did you become so eloquent that you could trick these fans who were fooled by Shang Biehua into turning against you? After all, there is evidence that Shang Biehua chatted with other female fans and even made appointments with them. These fan leaders are not fools, they must know that they have been deceived by Shang Biehua. In addition, Zhang Chanming gave Yuya some money. And Yu used the money to bribe those pimps? Zhang Wanwan. Zhang Wanwan, maybe Yu doesn't need to present evidence or reason. Just give money and she can take down those fans. Zhang Wanwan could guess that the little money Jiang Tianming gave to Liu Ya must not be a small amount. She knew that Jiang Tianming was serious this time. Today on the live broadcast stage, Jiang Tianming was willing to step forward to help deal with Shang Biayua. In addition to the fact that Jiang Tianming's mobile phone happened to be the same model as Shang Biayua's, the main reason was that Shang Biayua had offended Jiang Tianming. During the break of the live broadcast, Shen Fang and Zhang Wanwan also told Sister Lin, Liu Ya, Jiang Tianming and other people around them about the matter of Shang Biayua. At that time, Liu Ya said that Shang Biayua had also flirted with her, probably because he thought she was Shen Fang and Zhang Wanwan's assistant and wanted to use her to get close to Shen Fang and Zhang Wanwan. Liu Ya rejected Shang Biayua on the spot. But rejection is rejection. This did not prevent young Master Zhang from hating Shang Biayua, the man who dared to set his sights on his young wife. That's why Jiang Tianming treated Shang Biayua like that on the live broadcast stage today. Zhang Wanwan rolled her eyes and suddenly leaned over to Shen Feng's ear and asked, Feng Zi? What would you do if someone confessed to me? And I would probably feel sorry for him. Shen Feng said seriously. Zhang Wanwan was stunned. Why? If you confess your love to someone who has a husband as good as mine, wouldn't that person be asking for trouble? Shen Sheng said slowly. To be a little arrogant, people who are more powerful than me definitely don't love you as much as I do, and people who love you more than I do. Shen Sheng suddenly whispered again. Sorry, it seems that no one loves you more than me. Zhang Wanwan reached out and poked Shen Feng's head. Her face blushed as she said, You're always so smooth talking. But actually you said one thing wrong, Zhang Wanwan muttered again. Shen Sheng raised his eyebrows. What? I feel that not only is there no one who loves me more than you, but there is also no one who is more powerful than you. At least in my heart, you old monster are the most powerful one. After saying, Zhang Wanwan blushed and kissed Shen Feng on the cheek. Then he covered his mouth in pain. Shen Sheng quickly put Zhang Wanwan down from behind, hugged her in his arms and asked, What's wrong? I bit my face off with all the makeup, it doesn't taste good at all. Zhang Wanwan said while crying. Looking at her like this, Shen Sheng couldn't help but laugh. He lifted Zhang Wanwan's chin and whispered, Is it really not delicious? Then, let me have a taste. Speaking of, Shen Sheng leaned over and kissed Zhang Wanwan on the lips. Jiang Tianming, who was about to find Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan to discuss something, overheard their conversation in the corner. I couldn't help but sigh that my brother-in-law and elder brother-in-law is really good at flirting. This routine is very good, he has to try it. So Jiang Tianming found Liu Ya. Liu Ya was also pressed into a corner where no one was around. And he pointed to his face and said, Kiss me. Liu Ya rolled her eyes. You have a face full of makeup. If anyone wants to kiss you, take it off first. Jiang Tianming. He suddenly discovered another problem. If he wanted to be as seductive as his brother-in-law, there was a very important prerequisite. That means the person being teased must first have a brain as screwed up as her sister. Chapter 302, Make up more stories. I like to hear them. Shang Biayua cooled down very quickly. The entertainment industry is currently cracking down on celebrities with bad records. Shang Biayua, a contestant who has not yet officially debuted, has been exposed for so much negative information, which can be regarded as a complete hammering of Shang Biayua. Shang Biayua was drowned in the public's criticism. He was even criticized by official media. Since his fan base was not even a fraction of Fu Yan's, it was natural that he became unpopular much faster than Fu Yan. After another live broadcast, the training of youth group returned to normal. Slightly different from before, there is one less contestant in Group A, Shang Biayua. There is one more Xiao Zhu. However, the program team is not in a hurry to officially announce Xiao Zhu's joining. After all, Shang Biayua's limelight has not completely passed yet. If they are so hasty to announce Xiao Zhu's joining, it is inevitable that some people will lead the conversation by saying that the program team is getting rid of Shang Biayua in order to make way for Xiao Zhu. Director Tian is also a veteran in the circle, so of course he knows how to guard against these situations. So what the program team has announced now is that they are looking for a suitable candidate to fill Shang Biayua's vacancy. Xiao Zhu did not immediately integrate into Group A for training. She is still helping Situ with his training. Even if Xiao Zhu took over Shang Biayua's position, she would not be the C position. So her dance moves are very simple. At least for Xiao Zhu, who has a basic foundation, they are not difficult to practice at all. But Situ is different. Situ's performance, standing in the C position, has attracted everyone's attention and must be taken seriously. Situ's progress is actually quite obvious now. For some movements, Sidiyu can do them by himself even without Xiaozu's demonstration. But it's still not that smooth. Xiaozu calculated the time. At the current speed, Sidiyu should be able to complete all the performances by himself before the performance officially begins. However, flaws in the performance are definitely inevitable. This is Sidiyu's lack of dancing skills, which cannot be made up for by a short period of practice. But Sidiyu Sheng's strong singing ability can make up for the shortcomings in dancing. Sister Zhu, drink some hot water. During the break in training, Sidiyu took the initiative to pour a cup of hot water for Xiaozu. To be honest, Xiaozu was not a person who liked drinking water very much. But since she started training with Sidiyu, she seems to drink 8 glasses of water every day. And all we drank was hot water. This made her stomach, which had always had some minor problems, feel much better recently. After Xiaozu drank some water, she roughly checked the time and said, "I'm going to the cafeteria to get some food, you can rest for a while." "How about I go?" Sidiyu said, "You should just take a rest." "Never mind." Xiaozu waved her hands, "I can only ask the cafeteria aunt to give me a few pieces of meat when I get food. If you go to get food, the cafeteria aunt will want to stew you into meat." She also discovered in the past few days that it was probably really difficult to improve Sidiyu's social skills. Before, when Sidiyu went to the cafeteria to get food, I don't know what he said to the cafeteria auntie. In the end, the aunt who was in her 40s was so angry that she cried like a teenage girl. If Xiaozu hadn't been familiar with those aunts and hadn't gone to settle the matter, Sidiyu might have been arrested as a hooligan who molested the aunts. Sidiyu said "Opam" and stayed obediently in the training room. He was sitting alone in a chair with a cell phone in his hand. He seldom plays games, and he is confused by many of the videos he sees online. But recently Sidiyu always likes to hold his mobile phone, because the wallpaper on his phone was a photo of him and Xiaozu. This photo was taken after he participated in the last live broadcast of Youth Group. Because he saw Zhang Wanwan's wallpaper, which was a photo of Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng, Sidiyu thought it would be particularly nice to set the photo of the two of them as the phone wallpaper. But he didn't take a photo with Xiaozu at that time. I just wanted to find an opportunity to take a picture secretly. But when he wanted to take a secret photo of Xiaozu, he was easily discovered by her. After Xiaozu interrogated Sidiyu for a while, she learned of Sidiyu's real purpose. Xiaozu couldn't help but burst out laughing. Then he took the initiative to hug Sidiyu and took a photo of the two of them. This is also Sidiyu's current mobile phone wallpaper. Sidiyu has been staring at the wallpaper in a daze recently. He was thinking about all sorts of messy things that he didn't know whether he should think about them or not. Watching. Sidiyu's cell phone suddenly vibrated. Then, a phone call came in. The phone number was an unfamiliar one that Sidiyu didn't recognize. He hesitated, but finally answered the call. "Hello," Sidiyu said honestly. There was no sound from the other end of the phone at first. After a while, a man's laughter was heard. "I'm not good." Sidiyu felt that the voice sounded familiar. He frowned and asked, "Hello, who are you? Do I know you? Why, after not seeing you for a few days, you can't even recognize my voice?" The man on the other end of the phone didn't sound very friendly. Sidiyu thought about it seriously. Finally, he said, "Are you the one who delivered the snail rice noodle that day?" The man on the other end of the phone was silent for a moment. Finally, he gritted his teeth and said, "I am Shang Bie Hua." Sidiyu was stunned again. Then he said, "Was it you who brought me the snail rice noodle that day?" Shang Bie Hua. Shang Bie Hua felt a bit of a headache. He rubbed his head and said slowly, "I have never sent you snail noodles. So what did you send me? I've never delivered anything to you. I'm not a delivery man." Shang Bie Hua finally couldn't help but roar. After a moment, he rubbed his forehead and said, "Forget it. It's my fault for being angry with you. I called you because I actually have something to tell you. You're with Xiaozu, right?" I heard Xiaozu's name coming from Shang Bie Hua's mouth. There was obviously something wrong with Sidiyu's expression. He pursed his lips, not knowing what to say, so he simply kept silent. On the other side, Shang Bie Hua sneered. "Don't want to admit it? There's no point in not wanting to admit it, because this is the fact. But Sidiyu, do you really think Xiaozu is with you because she really likes you? Silly boy, you've been used by others, don't you know it in your heart?" Shang Bie Hua leaned on the bed in the rental house. The dark corner enveloped him, with only the light of the mobile phone in his hand flashing. He left the training base after the live broadcast ended that day. He also didn't know whether the police would come to him because of the chat records. Nor did he know whether he would be arrested. He found a rental house to live in. Not because he was hiding from anything, but simply because he didn't want to be seen. Now everyone on the internet is scolding him, and he feels very ashamed. He hates it too. Who do you hate? Hate Shen Feng, hate Zhang Wanwan, hate Director Tian, hate Zhang Tianming, hate Sidiyu. He lay in the rental house for several days, wondering how he could get revenge. seeking revenge on Shen Feng. Shang Biehua is not stupid. He understands that he cannot defeat Shen Feng. Seeking revenge on Zhang Wanwan. He might be able to defeat Zhang Wanwan, but he still couldn't defeat Shen Feng. Director Tian. Even though Director Tian doesn't act like a director in front of Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan, he is a genuine Mingle Eye Entertainment member. The interpersonal relationships and resources in the entertainment industry are far beyond the reach of Shang Biehua. Zhang Tianming. The rich, I can't afford to offend him. Next one. Only Situyu is left. Shang Biehua felt that this idiot should be able to take revenge. So in the past few days, Shang Biehua began to think about how to target Situyu. He knew that Situyu was most likely having an affair with Xiaozu. So the final breakthrough point was Xiaozu. Shang Biehua checked Xiaozu's background, family, etc. every day, and now, he has mastered enough information to defeat Situyu. He wants revenge. If he can't live well, Situyu, don't expect to live well either. Shang Biehua leaned against the corner, laughed and said, Situyu, I guess you won't understand if I beat around the bush. So I'll just tell you directly. Although Xiaozu's family conditions are not as good as Zhang Tianming's, they are definitely not an ordinary family. Her master is a well-known singer in the country. For a person like this, it's easy to find a boyfriend. You think she will be interested in you? Shang Biehua's tone became strange. Like a devil who wanted to corrupt people, think carefully with your stupid brain. No matter your appearance, background, or status, are you worthy of Xiaozu? Why would Xiaozu like you? Silly boy, you've been used. Xiaozu doesn't love you at all, she just thinks you're close to Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. So she wants to use you to build a relationship and return to the stage. Now that I'm gone, she's the one who's going to take the top spot. Right? And next, she's going to target you, because she doesn't just want to be a contestant, she also wants to be the center. Situyu, if you stay with her again, you'll only die more miserably than me, understand? After Shang Biehua finished speaking, a sneer still hung on his lips. Except for Xiaozu's life story, most of the rest was of course made up by Shang Biehua. Shang Biehua found it difficult to deceive ordinary people. A two-fool Situyu. Shang Biehua thought it should be very simple. Why should he hide in a dark rental house while Situyu gets the beauty? He wants to make sure that Situyu will never have a girlfriend like Xiaozu in his life. There was no response from Situyu for a long time. Shang Biehua thought Situyu was dumbfounded or couldn't accept the reality. And he said jokingly, silly boy, are you shocked? In fact, you should have thought of it earlier. You are not worthy of her at all. If she didn't have a purpose, would she like you? Hey! Silly boy, say something, don't tell me you fainted from crying? Shang Biehua smiled. But very quickly, his laughter stopped abruptly. Because a female voice came from the other end of the phone. Don't just laugh, keep making up more stories. I really like listening to them. Chapter 303. My daughter said you bullied her? Xiaozu actually just came back, seeing Situyu stammering while chatting on the phone. Xiaozu thought Situyu was a victim of telecommunications scam. I took the phone from Situyu, turned on the speakerphone and found out that Situyu had really been scammed. But the liar. It's Shang Biehua. Xiaozu really didn't expect that even now. Shang Biehua would still be lingering around. I just can't stand seeing others do better than me. Xiaozu suddenly felt that it was really hard for this psychologically twisted guy who had been pretending to be a perfect person. How tired he must be. When Shang Biehua heard Xiaozu's voice, his whole body froze. But soon, he let out a breath and calmed down. He said to Xiaozu, Xiaozu, what do you mean by made up a story? Don't you know whether I am making up a story or not? If you don't have a purpose, why are you with Situyu? How is he worthy of you? I checked before. There was a report on the internet that several rich second-generation sons in Sichuan City confessed their love to you. But you didn't agree on tell me that in your heart. Situyu, this idiot, is better than those rich second-generation sons. Shang Biehua's voice was full of sarcasm. Who are you calling mentally retarded? Xiaozu's voice suddenly turned cold. Shang Biehua was not afraid. Could Xiaozu beat him through the phone? He laughed mockingly. And talking about Situyu, why? Don't you agree with me when I say he's mentally retarded? If his brain isn't mentally retarded, then what else can it be called? Idiot? Mentally retarded? Mentally handicapped? Xiaozu let out a breath. He rubbed his eyebrows, then picked up the phone and turned off the speakerphone. After smiling at Situyu, he walked out of the training room with his cell phone. Standing outside the training room, Xiaozu slowly spoke again. Shang Biehua. What's wrong? Shang Biehua smiled. Now that I've exposed you, you don't know what to say. Right? His laughter was interrupted by Xiaozu's voice before he could finish. You son of a bitch, are you crazy or do you have no brains at all? Shang Biehua? Who I like and who I don't like has nothing to do with you. Why do you have to complain here? Before you say my boyfriend is a moron. Why don't you think about who you are? You think you are so awesome and you are playing all kinds of tricks. In the end, you were beaten like a dog by Shen Fang and now, you don't even dare to go on Weibo? You are just a rat in the gutter, but you still have to show your head to annoy people. Do you think you deserve a beating? You investigated my background and said that I had a purpose against Sitiu. You kept talking to yourself for a long time. Why didn't you defend yourself so much during the live broadcast? You didn't dare to speak in front of director Shen Fengtian. You used all your tricks to deceive Sitiu. How can you be a star if you are so good at picking on the weak? Isn't it better to self-root? You are good at nothing but bullying honest people. You are such a loser and you still feel proud, don't you? You really think that no one will care if you bully honest people? Don't you? You really think that I can treat you through the phone? Don't you? You investigated my background, but what did you find out? Did you find out your aunt's identity and family? You found out and still dared to call and bully me. You think you are dying, don't you? Get lost, idiot. After cursing for a while, Xiaozu hung up the phone directly. Then he dialed another number without thinking. Hello? Dad, someone is bullying me. Whose phone is this? It's my boyfriend's. He just found me. Do you have any problem with it? After making some more phone calls, Xiaozu returned to the training room. She saw Sitiu still sitting obediently in the training room, with his head lowered, and seemed not to dare to look up at her. Xiaozu sighed. Finally he returned the phone to Sitiu and asked, "Did you just eavesdrop on my phone call?" She felt that Sitiu was probably frightened by her scolding Shang Biehua. Sitiu shook his head carefully. I didn't eavesdrop. Xiaozu raised an eyebrow. I didn't eavesdrop. What are you afraid of? You're so loud, I can hear it even from where I'm sitting. Xiaozu. Xiaozu sat next to Sitiu, patted Sitiu on the shoulder and said, "Some people deserve to be scolded, so you should scold them harshly. If you don't scold them, they will become more aggressive. Also, don't listen to him, silly, just treat whatever he says as bullshit. Do you understand?" Sitiu nodded. After a moment, suddenly, he whispered to Xiaozu, "Sister Zhu. What's wrong? When you curse you, Ray so handsome." Speaking of, Sitiu thought again of what Zhang Tianming taught him. When praising a girl, you should not use the word handsome. Instead, you should use words like beautiful, charming, or pretty. So Sitiu changed his words again. You are so beautiful when you scold people. I like it very much. Xiaozu. Xiaozu looked at Sitiu's slightly red face and couldn't help feeling a little worried. Could it be that this idiot has awakened some strange habit? In the rental house, Chang Bie, whose face turned pale and red after being scolded by Xiaozu. He has never been scolded like this in his life. Well, maybe he was scolded even more harshly on Weibo a few days ago. Chang Biehua was so angry that his teeth were itching. He was very unhappy. He wants revenge. He must take revenge. Leaning in the corner, Chang Biehua covered his head with a quilt, thinking about how he could make Xiaozu and Sitiu lose face. Publish their news online? No, that's not enough. Ever since Zhang Tianming publicly announced that he had a girlfriend, netizens have become much more tolerant of celebrity relationships. Even if he revealed the relationship between Sitiu and Xiaozu, there would definitely be more blessings than haters online. He had to think of something more ruthless. Just when Shang Biehua was thinking, he suddenly received a call. After picking up the phone, a man's voice was heard from the other end. Hello? Is that Shang Biehua? Shang Biehua frowned. Who are you? What are you doing? It's okay, just call and confirm. After that, the phone was hung up. Shang Biehua looked at the strange number, a little confused. Seeing that it was already time for dinner, Shang Biehua simply ordered takeout. Not long after, there was a knock on the door of the rental house. The takeaway arrived so quickly today? Shang Biehua was puzzled and got out of bed to open the door. As a result, the door just opened. Several big men rushed in and pressed Shang Biehua to the ground. Just as Shang Biehua was about to speak, a big man slapped him on the head, knocking him unconscious. Shang Biehua was feeling dizzy when he saw someone sitting on a stool in front of him. This guy is full of flesh and looks better than a bodybuilding champion. He lit a cigarette and took a. Then, with great pressure, he slowly said, "My daughter said that you bullied her? Chapter 300 For my requirements are not high." In the blink of an eye, a few more days passed. There are still 3 days left until the official performance. In the past few days, the training of Group A and Group B has basically reached the final stage, and they have also conducted several overall makeup rehearsals. The rehearsal effect of Group B's program Loaded was very good, as a program with music and lyrics arranged by Yu Mingyu and Shen Sheng and choreographed by Wen Hua. Loaded itself is of very high quality. Moreover, its difficulty is moderate. For these trainee contestants, such difficulty can help them practice to perfection. After several rehearsals, the performance of the show Loaded was quite good. As for Group A's Shikian Qiyu, this work that Zhang Wanwan reproduced from a work of art that was jointly created by hundreds of masters in the previous life is indeed a bit too difficult for a group of contestants who have not yet debuted. Especially for Sidiyu, who is the C position. In the past few days, Group A has conducted several large rehearsals. During 2 of the rehearsals, Xiaozu did not perform on stage. Instead, she served as an offstage guide, assisting Sidiyu in the performance. For a performance like this, the effect is acceptable. But in the remaining few times, when Xiaozu was on the court, Sidiyu's performance was obviously problematic. After these days of practice, Sidiyu was indeed able to complete the performance independently. But once he cooperates with other players and integrates into the whole team, Sidiyu will start to feel at a loss again. Sidiyu also knew that there were problems with his performance and that it was holding back the entire show. So these few days, he has been training day and night, just hoping that he can do better and better. There are only 3 days left. Even if we practice like this, it's already too late. In the evening, Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng passed by the training room and saw Sidiyu and Xiaozu practicing. Zhang Wanwan looked at it and couldn't help but whisper to Shen Feng. Sidiyu tried very hard, but the time was too short. Shen Feng nodded gently, then leaned against the door of the training room and whispered. Sidiyu actually still has a big psychological problem. In the beginning, he was too self-deprecating after Xiaozu's help. He became too dependent on her. Although this child is a little naive, he is always thoughtful. This will also make him more psychologically burdened and need more support. A strong Xiaozu has become his support, especially during the overall performance. When Xiaozu no longer guides him and becomes a supporting role like the other contestants, Sidiyu will lose his support and his psychological pressure will increase again. Add to that his talent problem. It's hard to make up for such a big gap with hard work alone. Zhang Wanwan looked at Shen Feng. Is this the only way for this performance? Sidiyu's individual performance during rehearsal was indeed very bad. But that is only relative to the overall high quality of the program. If we don't pursue perfection in Shikian Qiyu, then Sidiyu's performance can barely pass. Although the final effect presented to the audience is much worse, it is still watchable. But Zhang Wanwan felt a little regretful. She really hopes to present such a good work as Shikian Qiyu in the most perfect way. In addition, she didn't want Sidiyu's first performance to be just barely passing. As the boss of the studio, Zhang Wanwan is very supportive of Sidiyu. Although he is a little silly, he is well behaved and obedient, trains hard, and has an amazing talent in singing. Moreover, Sidiyu is very popular now as long as the performance can go perfectly. Sidiyu will definitely be the brightest new star in recent years with his debut. But if this program can only be presented as a semi-finalized product in the end, the performance of Sidiyu, the center, will definitely be magnified infinitely to find flaws. Sidiyu lost an opportunity to soar to fame. It's not like there's no solution at all, Shen Feng said. Zhang Wanwan's eyes lit up. Do you have a solution? Why don't you tell me now? Shen Feng thought about it, and finally pulled Zhang Wanwan away from the door of the training room. As they walked, Shen Feng told them his solution. However, it was obvious that Zhang Wanwan's expression gradually changed from excitement to helplessness. 2 days before the official performance, Sichuan Sports Center. The stage here has been set up, and today the 2 groups A and B of youth group will rehearse on the stage. The contestants came to the scene on the program cruise shuttle bus, while mentors Shen Feng, Zhang Wanwan, Wen Huiyi and Liu Mingyu came on their own. So the contestants have to arrive earlier. When Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan arrived, they saw a man talking to a girl in the employee passage. The man was broad-shouldered and thick-bellied, and looked very burly. The girl has a slender figure and her thighs seem not as thick as the man's arm. The 2 people seemed to be discussing something, and then the man was seen reaching out to grab the girl's hand, while the girl tried to dodge with an unhappy look on her face. Zhang Wanwan was stunned when she saw the girl's face. Isn't this Xiaozu? Looking at the man again, he seemed to be wearing security guard clothes. Why Xiaozu were asked by the security guard. Zhang Wanwan hurriedly said to Shen Feng. Feng Zi. Shen Feng nodded, then walked towards Xiaozu and the man. However, Shen Feng could also see the physical difference between himself and his opponent. Although Shen Feng has practiced a lot of martial arts in the past 800 years, he is proficient in all 18 martial arts. But as he had been repeating the same day for 800 years, there was no way for him to improve his physical fitness through exercise. Even though he has been exercising regularly recently, his physical strength is only slightly better than that of ordinary people, and he can fight a little better than ordinary people. This security guard is so big, and his muscles are like Schwarzenegger's. Shen Feng doesn't think that his fighting power is higher than his. So when walking towards the security guard, Shen Feng picked up a vase next to the corridor. Just as Shen Feng walked up to the 2 of them and was about to protect Xiaozu, Xiaozu shook off the sturdy man's hand and said to him, "Dad, I'm not a child anymore, can you please stop treating me like a child?" The sturdy man had a slightly aggrieved expression on his face. "Zooer, Dad is afraid that you will be deceived, so why don't you call your boyfriend out and let Dad take a look?" Xiaozu turned her head away and ignored the man. When she turned around, she saw Shen Feng and the vase in Shen Feng's hand. Chen Cheng smiled calmly at Xiaozu, then picked up the vase and handed it to the burly man opposite Xiaozu. "You are Xiaozu's father, right? It's our first meeting, so I want to give you a little token of my appreciation." "Oh, you're welcome." Xiaozu's father took the vase. And then his expression suddenly changed. He said to Shen Feng, "Would you be Zooer's boyfriend?" "Dad, this is Shen Feng. Are you blind?" Xiaozu hit her father and said with a frown. "Oh, oops, I didn't see it clearly and almost misunderstood. Sorry, please don't be offended, our whole family are your fans." Xiaozu's father said this and looked around. Finally, he handed the vase in his hand back to Shen Feng. "This is my first time meeting my idol, and I don't have anything to give him, so I'll give you the flowers." Shen Feng silently put the vase back to where it belonged. Then he called Zhang Wanwan over, and the two of them asked her what had happened. Xiaozu's father greeted Zhang Wanwan enthusiastically again, and then said, "You too, I know you have taken good care of my Zooer these days." "Thank you. By the way, let me introduce myself first. My name is Xiao Zilong, and I'm the boss of Changsha and Security Company. This is my business card." Zhang Wanwan forced herself not to complain about the name. "I am in charge of the security for this performance. Xiaozu is my daughter. I knew she was also performing here, so I found her and met with her." Xiao Zilong scratched his head as if he was very annoyed. "To be honest, Zooer told me the day that she found a boyfriend at the training base, so I thought of asking her to take me to see him as a father. I have to see what my future son-in-law looks like, right? But Zooer just doesn't agree. I've clearly said that I don't have high requirements for a son-in-law. Our family is not short of money or houses. I only have one very simple requirement for a son-in-law. But Zooer said she would not let me meet my future son-in-law." Zhang Wanwan was surprised. This Xiao Zilong from Changsha and seems to be easy to talk to. Why doesn't Xiaozu want to introduce Situ to Xiao Zilong? Zhang Wanwan looked at Xiaozu. As a result, Xiaozu was seen lowering her head and looking at her toes, looking like she didn't want to talk. Zhang Wanwan could only ask Xiao Zilong, "So what exactly is your request?" "Well, as you can see, I am a rough man with little education. I have achieved my current career entirely through my own strength and some connections in society. I have suffered a lot from my lack of education over the years, so I thought that when my daughter looks for a man, she must find someone with good brains." Xiao Zilong sighed. "Is this request outrageous? I think this is a very normal request. Why are you so stubborn and don't agree, Zooer?" "Chen Feng, Zhang Wanwan, this request is indeed not outrageous. I can only say the one who is outrageous is Siduyu." Chapter 305 Supporting My Daughter. Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan understood Xiaozu's feelings very well. In fact, both of them, including Xiaozu, understood that Siduyu was actually a very good child. However, in order to achieve the prerequisite of having a good brain, as Xiao Zilong said, there is still a small gap. Seeing Xiaozu looking for help, Zhang Wanwan decided to help. She stepped forward and said to Xiaozu's father, "Xiao Zilong, Mr. Xiao, have you ever thought that the fact that Xiaozu didn't let her boyfriend see you wasn't actually her boyfriend's fault? I know Xiaozu's boyfriend, he is a very good guy. Very good at singing, and very handsome most importantly. He is very obedient and loves your daughter very much. Have you ever considered that it's your problem that Xiaozu didn't introduce him to you?" Xiao Zilong was stunned. Then he scratched his head and said, "My problem? What's wrong with me?" Xiaozu is also a smart person. After Zhang Wanwan said this, Xiaozu immediately understood what Zhang Wanwan meant. Then he immediately said, "Yes, I don't let my boyfriend see you because I'm afraid you will scare my boyfriend. I'm not that scary." Xiao Zilong, with his muscular body and a face that could rival Shang Fe, said with a frown. Xiaozu crossed her arms and looked at Xiao Zilong. "And let me ask you, if I bring my boyfriend to see you, what will your reaction be?" "I must find a way to support my daughter and let him know that he must treat my daughter." Xiao Zilong, well, Xiao Zilong said this and started counting on his fingers. "First, we have to arrange a meeting at our company. We have to have all the 100 or so people in the company dress up, put on suits, ties, and sunglasses, and line up to greet us. As soon as you arrive and get out of the car, have them all shout, 'Hello, Miss.' Let your boyfriend know how many people are backing you up, so they won't bully you in the future." After arriving at the company, I sat in the office waiting for him with my back to him. When he came, I had to ask him a few questions to test his brain. If he answered well, I could turn my chair around and look at him. I had to act like a father-in-law. And you have to chat with your boyfriend and have a meal. Yes, we'll have it at the Sichuan Hotel. Let the brothers take turns toasting you. You have to serve him well and not neglect him. People speak the truth when they are drunk. When he is drunk, I will ask him what he thinks of our family. If he thinks it is okay, then it is done. If he thinks it is not okay, we will throw him out. Please get out, please get out. After Xiao Zilong finished speaking, he stroked his unshaven chin again. No, we shouldn't meet him at the company. We should take him to a warehouse in the suburbs. Otherwise, once he sees that our family has a company and is so rich, he will have evil intentions. Zhang Wanwan and Shen Fang were speechless after hearing this. At first, they both felt sorry that Xiaozu didn't dare to take Sidiyu to meet her father. Now they began to feel lucky. Sidiyu, that fool, would be frightened to death or lose half his life after being tossed around like that. Not to mention Sidiyu, Zhang Wanwan felt that if a normal person was taken to the wilderness by a car and there were hundreds of men in suits standing next to him after getting off the car, he would be scared, right? Xiaozu also looked at her father with a complicated expression. After Xiao Zilong finished speaking, Xiaozu said, Xiao Zilong, are you going to help me look after my boyfriend? Or are you going to kidnap him? More than 100 people in suits and ties lined up to welcome you. And they even said hello, Miss, do you run a security company or are you in the underworld? You even asked him questions with your back to him. He can only turn around if he answers well. Are you playing the voice of China here? And you even took turns to toast him. Can you handle more than 100 people toasting you? Don't even think about asking him to tell the truth after the toasts. If he doesn't vomit up the overnight meal, it's considered a good digestion. Do you think I have the guts to let him see you like this? Don't you think this is your problem? Xiaozu finished speaking. Xiao Zilong began to ponder again with some confusion. After a moment, he said, why don't we let them wear suits? Can we all wear maid outfits? I heard that you young people like this. I won't call you miss anymore. I'll call you Snow Baby. Is this okay? I won't turn my back to him. I'll just sit in my seat and look at your photo. When he comes in, I'll talk to him about your childhood. That's very heartwarming, right? Hey, girl, don't leave. Xiao Zilong hasn't finished speaking this time. Then I saw Xiaozu turned around and left. Xiao Zilong called out twice, but Xiaozu didn't stop. But he did leave a message for Xiao Zilong. When you have figured out the best way to meet my boyfriend, send me a proposal with no less than 50,000 words and at least 5 alternative plans. It must be complete in details and come with a schematic diagram. When Xiao Zilong heard this, his face turned as pale as Shang Fi eyes. No, girl, you know dad hates writing proposals. Hey, how about 20,000 words? 25,000 is also fine. Xiaozu has already gone far away. Xiao Zilong was left alone sighing. Zhang Wanwan and Xin Feng looked at each other. Zhang Wanwan comforted Xiao Zilong and said, Mr. Xiao, Zuer's boyfriend is actually quite good, and they like each other. Your family is well off, and her boyfriend is also very famous. So they will not be bad in the future. They are both very happy. Isn't that great? Xiao Zilong hung his head like a lost big bear. In fact, I know that Zuer has high standards, and the boyfriend she chooses will definitely not be bad. At least he must be smarter and more considerate than her father. I said that I wanted to screen him, but in fact I just wanted to meet him. But Zuer had not allowed me to meet her boyfriend before. I thought there was something wrong with her boyfriend. Now it seems that the problem lies with me. Teachers, please go to the stage and watch. I will slowly think about how to meet Zuer's boyfriend in the most appropriate way. Ugh. Xiao Zilong looked like he didn't want to be disturbed. So Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan left first. When they walked along the staff passage and reached the entrance of the venue, Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan saw Xiaozu standing there waiting for them. Seeing the two people coming, Xiaozu first said thank you. And he said with a headache. Originally, I was thinking of teaching Sidiyu how to deal with my father, and then find a chance for them to meet. But now, based on my father's arrangement, that fool would be so scared that he couldn't even speak. My boyfriend is a little fool and my dad is an old fool. Difficult. Then what do you want to do? Zhang Wanwan asked. They still have to meet each other, don't we? When there's a chance, I'll take the initiative to ask Xiao Zilong to meet me. He won't have time to prepare all that mess. Xiaozu said. Give Sidiyu a few more words in advance, tell him to be careful when he speaks. And don't let them meet for too long, just deal with it first. When I have time in the future, I will take Sidiyu out for a walk and let this silly boy interact with others. In fact, he is just as straightforward and not very good at talking. And he is not really stupid. He will be fine if he meets more people. That's all we can do for now. Zhang Wanwan said. And then curiously asked Xiaozu, but how did uncle know that you have a boyfriend? Did you tell him on your own initiative? Don't mention it. I was also very angry at that time. While Xiaozu was speaking in annoyance, she told Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan about what happened to Shang Biehui that day. He scolded Shang Biehui again. Acho, his SS ouch. Ouch. In a rental house. Chang Bia Hua, with gauze wrapped on his arms and ointment on his face, sneezed several times in succession. As a result, the movement was too big and affected the wound on his body. Chang Bia Hua was shivering in pain. He was almost crying. Xiaozu's father is too cruel. This isn't security work. This is gang work. He reached out with trembling hands, took a piece of paper, and wiped the snot and saliva that were spraying out. Just as I was thinking about getting out of bed, I heard another knock on the door. Open the door, take out. Chang Bia Hua walked to the door cautiously. I looked through the cat's eye for a long time. I breathed a sigh of relief only after I confirmed that the person standing at the door was a delivery guy. He has been suffering from psychological trauma when ordering takeout these days. Fortunately, Xiaozu's father never came again after that day. After confirming that it was safe, Chang Bia Hua opened the door with great effort. But before he could take the takeaway from the delivery guy, several people rushed in from both sides of the door and pressed Chang Bia Hua to the ground. Chang Bia Hua's injured arm was pressed to the ground, and he cried out in pain. I already said I knew I was wrong. Why are you here again? Can you please forgive me? But the next second, a pair of silver handcuffs hung in front of him. Do you know whether you are wrong or not? Go to the police station and tell us slowly. Chang Bia Hua really cried. Chapter 306. I don't have time to be depressed, silly. Xiaozu and Shen Fengjiang returned to the main stage evening. After simply putting on makeup, she began rehearsing with other contestants. The order of the performance design is that Group A and Group B take turns to perform non-original programs first. Finally, the four chief mentors came on stage and divided the students into groups to perform a small vote-gathering performance to decide which group would perform the final original program first. Although he said he was canvassing for votes, in fact, Director Tian had already designed the process. Because the music quality of Shi Qian Qiyu is still higher than that of Shang Han. In order to prevent the audience from forming preconceived prejudices against Shang Han after listening to Shi Qian Qiyu first, which would affect the performance of Shang Han, Director Tian decided to perform Shang Han from Group B first. So the so-called canvassing for votes is just a fake vote. Many variety shows use this fake voting routine to create program effects, which is already commonplace in the industry. In the first few rounds of rehearsals for non-original programs, both Groups A and B performed very well. There are two non-original programs in Group A, and the C position of the first one is Zhang Tianming. Although Zhang Tianming is usually cheerful, when he really tries hard, he works even harder than other contestants. When he first came to this show, Zhang Tianming was just a layman who had been to nightclubs and could sing and dance. He could not compare with many semi-professional or even professional contestants. But after these days of training, Zhang Tianming has become one of the top players in Group A. Totally worthy of this C position. The C position of the second program was held by Xiaozu and another female contestant Pei Yin. There is no need to say much about Xiaozu's strength for popularity, especially in terms of singing, except for a few chief instructors in CityU. Probably no one in the entire show dares to say that they sing better than Xiaozu. Pei Yin is the girl who previously did a live broadcast with Zhang Tianming, Chang Bia Hua, and CityU, and her skills are also very good. CityU doesn't have many roles in these two shows, but the overall effect looks very good. Group B's performance was also great. After all, the ones left at the end of the talent show must be the elites. Finally, Group B performed the original song Loaded. And the stage effect was even better than expected. Although the contestants had rehearsed with makeup on before, they had never coordinated with the sound and light effects of such a large stage. Now, with all of them put together, the steampunk atmosphere that has both a sense of technology and age is instantly maximized. The dramatic effect of the whole song is very impactful. And coupled with the contestants' performances, it can definitely be called an explosive audiovisual feast. At the next Shi Qian Qiyu, it's a bit hard to put into words. The problem still lies with CityU. I don't know if CityU was stage fright. Having never performed on such a big stage, his performance was even more messy than in previous rehearsals. If you close your eyes and just listen to CityU's singing, then this song Shi Qian Qiyu is definitely a high-scoring piece of music. But if you open your eyes and watch CityU's performance together, this Shi Qian Qiyu can only be regarded as a bad performance. Director Tian frowned as he watched. He bought himself 10 more days. But the final effect is still unsatisfactory. Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan also looked unhappy. In fact, even if CityU could achieve the barely passable results seen during rehearsal, Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan would be able to accept it. After all, a 6-point performance and a 10-point singing skill can be combined to get a high score of 8 points. But now, this performance doesn't even get to points. Xiaozu, you guide CityU from the backstage and perform again. Shen Feng thought for a while and said. Xiaozu nodded. She also saw how bad Sitiyu's performance was just now. Such a performance definitely could not be presented on the final performance stage. There is a large area in front of the stage where there are no audiences. This is partly because of the venue, and partly to ensure the audience's viewing experience. After all, a performance is not like listening to crosstalk. The closer you sit, the better the viewing experience is not necessarily true. Xiaozu stood in that open space and guided Sitiyu. This time, Sitiyu was still a little nervous, but the effect presented is already much better. After the performance, the contestants encouraged each other. Only Sitiyu was sitting alone in the corner. He kept his head down and said nothing. Suddenly, a thermos cup appeared in front of Sitiyu. Sitiyu was stunned. He recognized that this was Xiaozu's thermos cup. When she looked up, she saw Xiaozu standing in front of him. Looking at her. You keep asking me to drink water all day long. Now that you've sung such a difficult song twice in a row, why don't you drink some water? Sister Zhu, Sitiyu's eyes reddened. Finally, he whispered, I'm sorry. He knew that the show should have been perfect. This opportunity is also particularly important to him. It was he who dragged down the show. It was he who didn't seize the opportunity. Xiaozu kicked Sitiyu lightly. Then he sat next to Sitiyu and patted Sitiyu on the back with his hand. Will it be useful to say sorry to me? Will you be able to perform well after saying sorry? No, I can't. No, what can you say? Xiaozu sneered. This is not a formal performance. Rehearsals are used to find problems. Are you so disappointed? Look at you now. How is it different from when I first met you? Don't tell me you want to back out again. Speaking of, Xiaozu suddenly hugged Situyu's neck. He said beside Sitiyu, don't forget, we agreed that you would say those words to me after the performance. If you back out now, you'll never have the chance to say that to me again in your life. And I won't agree to it, understand? Sitiyu pursed his lips and looked at Xiaozu. Xiaozu smiled, took a couple of sips from the thermos cup, and then passed it to Sitiyu. Don't have that expression. Drink some water and take a rest since you know there's something wrong with your performance. Then continue practicing. I've already talked to Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan. After the second round of rehearsals is over and the contestants are going back to the base, you and I won't be going back. I'll practice more with you. Sitiyu took the thermos cup and after drinking it, he realized that this seemed to be the cup that Xiaozu had just used. He looked at Xiaozu again. Only then did he realize that Xiaozu had stood up from beside him. She was looking at him with her hand outstretched. Sitiyu was stunned. He thought Xiaozu wanted a thermos cup. So he screwed the cup shut and handed it to Xiaozu. But Xiaozu didn't take the cup. Instead, he grabbed Situyu's wrist. There's no time for you to be depressed, silly. Xiaozu said this and exerted force on her hands. Sitiyu has been pulled up from the ground. The shining lights on the stage came on and shone on Xiaozu. Sitiyu, who was pulled up, looked at the bright girl in front of him. It was like seeing a light I had never seen before. There is still one day left before the official performance. Yesterday, Xiaozu and Sitiyu stayed in the stadium and trained for a day. Sitiyu's performance today was obviously much better. Although it hasn't reached the passing line, it's not so bad either. And this kid Sitiyu's talent in vocal music is really incredible. His singing was already pretty good, and it seemed that he changed his singing technique a bit to match the sound pickup of the on-site sound equipment. The singing skills, which were already at 10 points, reached the level of 12 points. A shocking feeling brought by such an effect can no longer be described as amazing. Even many contestants who had heard this song countless times couldn't help but shed tears on the stage. Director Tian also took off his glasses and cried for a long time. Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan knew. Director Tian cried. Partly because he was shocked and moved. On the other hand, I still feel regretful. If Situyu's performance could be better, and he can definitely create a stage that will go down in history. What a pity, what a pity. After today's rehearsal, Sitiyu wanted to stay and practice, but he was forcibly taken away by Shen Feng and Liu Mingyu. The official performance will be tomorrow, so what you need to do now is to rest well. You have practiced enough in the past few days. Too much is as bad as too little. If you damage your voice or body, the effect tomorrow will be even worse. As a music industry mogul who has held countless concerts, Liu Mingyu warned Sitiyu very seriously. Liu Mingyu is also half master of Sitiyu, so Sitiyu still listens to him. Sitiyu finally returned to the training base to rest. That night, Sitiyu tossed and turned in bed, unable to fall asleep. Maybe the noise was too loud and it disturbed Xiaozu, who was lying on the other bed. Xiaozu sat up from the bed, turned on the bedside lamp and looked at Sitiyu. Seeing this, Sitiyu said embarrassed lie, I'm sorry. Sister Zhu, I can't sleep. After hearing this, Xiaozu turned off the bedside lamp again. Sitiyu thought that Xiaozu was going to sleep again. So he closed his eyes, trying to force himself to be quiet and not disturb Xiaozu again. But at this moment, Sidiyu felt that the bed suddenly became crowded. Sidiyu opened his eyes in surprise, only to find that Xiaozu had squeezed next to him. Zhu, Sister Zhu. Sidiyu's expression became flustered. He was about to say something when Xiaozu stretched out a finger and pressed it on Sidiyu's mouth. When I first went on stage, I was always so nervous that I couldn't sleep. At that time, I would always sleep with my parents. When we were together, I would feel much more comfortable. Go to sleep, silly, you've performed very well today. Sidiyu blushed and finally nodded slightly, closed his eyes silently. At first he thought he would be so scared that he couldn't sleep. But what he himself didn't expect was, next to Xiaozu, he fell asleep easily. After Sidiyu fell asleep, Xiaozu lay beside him and gently took out her cell phone. After thinking for a long time, she opened WeChat. Sent a message out. Chapter 307 Sister 11, you look so bad. Starting from the next morning, various topics about the performance of youth group on WeIDO are very popular. Youth group itself is very popular. Some fans are looking forward to the performance. Some fans were worried in the super chat whether their supporters would be nervous or make mistakes. Some are trying to attract passers-by, hoping that more people can see the performances of the contestants they support. Not just fans. Many famous actors, stars, and singers are also looking forward to the performance of youth group. Among them, some of them are simply because they have a good relationship with Yu Mingyu, Wen Hua, Shen Feng, Zhang Wanwan, and director Tian. Some of them were really attracted by the clip of Shiqian Qiyu released before. And they really wanted to see the complete version of this music that amazed these professionals. 5:40 p.m. Sichuan Sports Center. Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan stood in the staff area, looking at the audience stands where quite a few people were already sitting, and couldn't help but feel a little emotional. Neither of us has ever put on such a large-scale performance. But our students are going to go on stage. I feel a little embarrassed when I think about it. Zhang Wanwan muttered. Of course, she had been on a stage this big, or even bigger than this, in her previous life. But since her rebirth, she seems to have not performed seriously. Shen Feng hugged Zhang Wanwan and asked in a low voice, do you want to organize a show that is even more grand than this? But what can we perform? We don't have any original songs, and we're not experts in dancing. Are we going to do crosstalk together? Well, or else let's just perform what we're good at. Zhang Wanwan patted Shen Feng on the shoulder and said, you are very elegant when you cook. How about you hold a personal cooking show? Well, I'm good at cooking. What are you good at? Eat. Zhang Wanwan said it with confidence. So I am a personal cooking demonstration. And you are a personal eating demonstration? The people were chatting. Sister Lin appeared out of nowhere. The man standing next to them coughed and said, the contestants are all very nervous, but you two mentors seem to be very relaxed. What else? Do you want me to be nervous too? Zhang Wanwan snorted. These brats have poor psychological endurance. They are nervous in such a small occasion. I am not afraid to walk the red carpet and receive the Best Actress award at the Oscars. Sister Lin reached out and poked Zhang Wanwan on the head. You're dreaming, but you don't have the qualifications to win the Best Actress award. Okay, I'm here just to tell you that when the performance opens later, after you show up at the opening, remember to come backstage and post to WeIDO posts to promote it. Zhang Wanwan was stunned. Aren't these jobs originally done by you, Sister Lin? Why do we have to do it alone this time? Sister Lin calmly took out 2 performance tickets from her pocket and waved them in front of Zhang Wanwan. Unfortunately, your agent has applied for leave today. In 20 minutes, I will not be backstage, but will be sitting in the audience. Sister Lin smiled and pointed to the seat number on the ticket. Look, it's VIP. Zhang Wanwan looked at Sister Lin angrily. And shouldn't you ask for leave in advance? As the boss of the studio, I won't allow you to take leave. Sister Lin heard it. I took out my phone and sent a message. After a moment, Zhang Wanwan's cell phone rang. Zhang Wanwan took out her cell phone and saw that it was a message from Qin King. Qin King, Wanwan, let me borrow Alan for a day. I'll return it to you tomorrow. Be good. Qin King, 20,000 yuan has been transferred to you. Zhang Wanwan silently put away her phone. Then he walked in front of Sister Lin. First, I sorted out Sister Lin's clothes. He combed her hair again. Finally, she considerately took out some perfume and sprayed it on Sister Lin. He said seriously, go ahead and keep MRQ in company. Sister Lin, you know, your tone right now is like that of a scumbag who asks his girlfriend to accompany a wealthy boss in exchange for wealth and glory. Zhang Wanwan chuckled. But she soon remembered something and asked. No, that's not right. If you go to accompany President Qin, won't Yu be there? Why don't we ask her to help us post on WeIBO? Liu Yi is, after all, an assistant. Now that the agent has quit, it's time for the assistant to take over. Sister Lin shrugged. Ask her yourself. Liu Ya happened to come over at this moment. Zhang Wanwan asked, Yuya, can you help me post on Weibo later? Take a beautiful photo for me. Liu Ya said a little embarrassed lie. Sister Wanwan, I may not be able to help you. As she spoke, Liu Ya also took out a few tickets for the performance. Silly Carrot bought tickets for me and my parents, saying that it was so that we could see his performance from the best angle. Zhang Wanwan took out her cell phone again and sent a message to Zhang Tianming. Zhang Wanwan, to rent the Crescent Moon, you have to pay some rental fee. Right? Zhang Tianming, 20,000 yuan has been transferred to you. Zhang Wanwan nodded with satisfaction. Diddied Liu Ya up again, patted Liu Ya and said, go, keep my uncle company. Liu Ya said with a complicated expression. Sister Wanwan, you look so bad now. The scumbag Zhang Wanwan waved her hand, indicating that Sister Lin and Liu Ya could leave. After the two of them left, Director Tian found Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan again. When Zhang Wanwan saw Director Tian, she subconsciously asked again, Director Tian, are you going to accompany some rich guy? Director Tian, do you think the rich man would be happy with me accompanying him like this? Don't keep talking nonsense, get ready it's almost time for the show to start. Director Tian wanted to leave after he finished speaking and went to prepare himself. But before leaving, he remembered something and frowned as he asked Shen Sheng and Zhang Wanwan. How is City Yu doing now, is he okay? This time Zhang Wanwan didn't say anything. Shen Feng said, City Yu should be able to do it. What do you mean by should? Some say he can. Ooh? Chen Sheng shook his head, I can't say. No, the show is almost over. Why are you still being so mysterious to me? Is that fun? Director Tian said helplessly. Oh, you can't trust others. But you can trust Feng Zi. Come on, let's get ready. Zhang Wanwan pushed Director Tian from the side. Director Tian looked at Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng with distrust. He always felt that these two people were trying to do something they shouldn't be doing behind his back. But he had no evidence. Director Tian took a deep breath and said seriously, I don't know what you want to do, but I have to tell you that the performance of Shikian Qiyu must not go wrong. You are not allowed to mess around. Not only do I value this performance, but even the higher-ups have sent people to listen. It is said that the country wants to make a masterpiece to publicize our history and culture. It is of great significance. They were worried about how to deal with the music of this masterpiece. After hearing the clip of Shikian Qiyu, they took the initiative to contact me. So, if the performance of Shikian Qiyu is good enough, it may have the hope of becoming the soundtrack of that masterpiece. Understand? After hearing this, Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng looked at each other. They know what Director Tian means by masterpiece. After all, this song Shikian Qiyu was modified by Zhang Wanwan from the original song Qian Qiyu of that masterpiece. But I didn't expect that this song would go around in circles and actually return to that masterpiece. Destiny is sometimes quite interesting. Chapter 308 I Heard Your Voice. Sichuan Sports Center. 6 o'clock in the afternoon. As the bright lights of the main stage lit up, breaking through the darkness of the winter night, the performance of Youth Group officially began. Amidst the thunderous cheers of the audience and the endless comments from the audience in the live broadcast room, the four chief mentors and Director Tian took the main stage. The opening of the performance was announced. The contestants in Group A were the first to go on stage and performed their first non-original program. The C position of this show is Zhang Tianming. Seeing Zhang Tianming leading the way onto the stage, the audience, especially Zhang Tianming's fans, began to cheer for him. The live broadcast room was also filled with comments cheering for Zhang Tianming. Of course, there were also people cheering for other contestants. After the contestants from Group A came on stage, they first spent more than 10 seconds waiting for the audience to quiet down. When the audience's voices gradually died down, the music began to play slowly. This is a jazz rock song, a mixture of jazz and rock styles. Some people say that jazz rock is the noisiest jazz, while others say that jazz rock is the most elegant and lyrical rock. The first performance by Group A perfectly demonstrated these two characteristics. At first, a slightly melodious guitar sound was heard. Several contestants from Group A danced leisurely and sang the main song in a casual tone. As the chorus approaches, the violent insertion of drums, bass and electric guitar suddenly changes the style of the entire song. Zhang Tianming, who was in the center, also separated from the crowd and stood in the center of the stage. He began his singing. Although he is not a professional, after more than a month of hard training, Zhang Tianming is no longer an ordinary person. Amid the explosive music, Zhang Tianming's voice was not suppressed by the instrument at all. And Zhang Tianming wasn't just singing. While singing, his body was dancing to the music. The difficulty of combining singing and dancing is much more difficult than simply singing. But Zhang Tianming mastered it very well. The passionate roar of the chorus instantly ignited the atmosphere of the audience. The audience shouted Jiang Tianming's name, and the barrage was filled with the three big words Jiang Tianming. In the VIP seat of the venue, Liu Ye held up a camera and originally wanted to take a picture of Jiang Tianming. But when Jiang Tianming started his performance, Liu Ye seemed to forget to raise the professional camera she had borrowed from Sister Lin. Jiang Tianming's parents were sitting next to Liu Ye, applauding and cheering for their son's excellent performance. Hearing so many people cheering for Jiang Tianming, Liu Ye's eyes were somehow filled with tears. Silly carrot. Look. Even though someone has hurt you and deceived you before, but there are thousands and millions more people who are willing to cheer for you and applaud you. You shouldn't be the one hiding behind your phone and using your screen name to conceal yourself. You should be the most shining C-position Jiang Tianming in the world. Liu Ye suddenly put down the camera, then put her hands together and placed them to her mouth like a trumpet. Then he yelled at the top of his lungs towards the stage. Jiang Tianming, I love you. But this shout was ultimately drowned out by the even more enthusiastic noises at the scene. So many people were shouting Jiang Tianming's name that Liu Ye's shout seemed insignificant. But as the chorus gradually ends, the interlude begins. After finishing his singing, Jiang Tianming pointed his finger to the sky. It slowly fell down again, pointing to the stands filled with spectators. Your voice. Jiang Tianming spoke with a slight breath. I heard it. There was another round of shouting at the scene. The audience felt that Jiang Tianming's action and lines were planned. And they all felt that Jiang Tianming was saying this to everyone. But Liu Ye knew. She is a playboy, but in fact she is very selfish and stingy. He couldn't hold so much cheering in his heart. His finger was pointed at only her. She looked at Jiang Tianming on the stage. Jiang Tianming also avoided the gazes of countless spectators and looked at her. Even if the crowds are overwhelming, I will also push through the crowd and find you with even greater momentum. You healed me from all my wounds. How could I let you be alone? During the interlude, the spotlight on the stage was focused on Jiang Tianming alone. Jiang Tianming also put down his fingers and started dancing again with the accompaniment of a slightly magical tune. When this dance was performed, many of Jiang Tianming's old fans exclaimed in surprise. Once. This was not long after the show started. Jiang Tianming had drawn a special task. The task at that time required Jiang Tianming to learn Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal. Jiang Tianming chose to give up the mission because it was too difficult. But now, on this stage where everyone is paying attention, Jiang Tianming moved briskly, performing the perfect dance moves of a master criminal, especially when Jiang Tianming used the stage mechanism to reproduce MJ's signature 45-degree forward lean. The cheers from the audience reached a climax again. This paragraph was something Jiang Tianming wanted to add himself. Backstage, Shen Feng watched Jiang Tianming's performance and suddenly smiled. Don't mention it, this kid actually has some ideas. She's quite determined too. Jiang Wanwan followed up by saying, if he didn't practice this part, his practice time would be reduced a lot. But he insisted on working overtime to master this part. Shen Feng took a few photos of Jiang Tianming from the backstage angle and sent them to his sister. Then he said, that's why he was able to catch up with you, ya. Group A's first performance was a perfect success. As can be seen from the prolonged applause from the audience after the contestants left the stage, and the rising popularity of the topic on Weibo. After Group A's performance, Group B did not immediately perform next. Director Tian had previously contacted many celebrities to help out with the performance. So after the first show of Group A ended, a celebrity performed a small show. However, after the star left the stage, he found Director Tian and Shen Feng and said helplessly, Jiang Tianming and his team performed so well that I couldn't hold them back. Director Tian chuckled and said, how about it, the people who came out of my show are pretty good. Right? Not bad, the young are really promising. The star sighed. Following the order of one group performing followed by a supporting performance, Group B and Group A then interspersed stars and took turns performing the next few non-original songs. Next, it was the mentor canvassing for votes session arranged by Director Tian, the group of Shen Feng and Liu Mingyu, and the group of Wen Hua and Jiang Wanwan. Each performed a show. The surprises brought by this show are no less than the performances of the contestants. After all, Shen Feng and Jiang Wanwan are now popular new generation idols, and their strength is worthy of recognition. Liu Mingyu and Wen Hua are veteran stars who represent the glory of domestic entertainment over the past few decades. With their cross-combination, how could the final performance be bad? After the performance, Director Tian pretended to bring out a voting machine and asked the audience to vote for their favorite group to decide whether Group A or Group B would perform first. The popularity of these two groups is roughly the same. Coupled with Director Tian's behind-the-scenes manipulation. In the end, the group of Jiang Wanwan and Wen Hua took the lead with a slight advantage. Group B also got the opportunity to perform first. The contestants in Group B, who had already put on their makeup backstage, were in a good mood. They took to the stage with loaded which they had practiced for more than half a month. And the other side. However, Xiaozu found Shen Feng in Zhang Wanwan. Have you really thought it through? Shen Sheng looked at Xiaozu and asked with a rare serious expression. Xiaozu nodded without hesitation. I've thought about it. Chapter 309 One person missing. The stage performance of Loaded was better than expected. As an original song, Loaded can bring in a freshness and anticipation to the audience, and stimulate the emotions of the audience. In addition, there are lyrics and music by Yu Mingyu and Shen Sheng, and professional choreography by Wen Hua, combined with the unique steampunk style of the stage and the perfect performance of the contestants. This performance can be regarded as the most outstanding and textbook-level idol group performance in recent years. During the break after the performance of Loaded, audiences both at the scene and in front of the light broadcast room discussed the performance on Weibo. And more people are beginning to look forward to the performance of Shiki on QIU, which will be brought by Group A. After all, the demo of Shiki on QIU is much more amazing than Loaded. Even Loaded is so eye-catching, so what level of work must 1,000 years of plays be? In the dressing room of Group A contestants, the contestants had already put on their makeup and changed their clothes. Some contestants were checking their phones, and after seeing the expectations of their fans on Weibo, they all became a little nervous. It's Overloaded has raised their expectations to high. If the final performance is bad, will we be criticized? One contestant said. He can't help it. Group B's performance was indeed great. To be honest, Group B definitely performed exceptionally well this time. It was much better than their rehearsal performance. It would be hard for them to replicate such a perfect performance a second time. So now the pressure is on us. Well, now that I think about it, it would be better for us to go on stage first so we don't have to be so nervous. Hearing the contestants' discussion, Zhang Tianming raised his eyebrows and said, "Why are you all so scared before the battle? Can't you have a little more confidence in yourself?" One contestant helplessly spread his hands towards Zhang Tianming. Other Tianming, it's not that we don't have confidence. It's mainly because of the results of the previous rehearsal. You know it. As he spoke, the contestant glanced at Situ, who was sitting in the corner. Although he didn't say it explicitly, all the contestants present understood what he meant. As the center, Situ's performance in the previous rehearsals was not really good. Compared with this perfect version of Loaded, the gap is even more obvious. Zhang Tianming didn't know what to say, so he could only glare at the contestant and signal him to shut up. And he walked to Situ in the corner, lowered his head and whispered to Situ, "Don't be scared, just do it according to the effect during the rehearsal. Believe in yourself, you can do it." His Itu's lips trembled slightly. He looked up at Zhang Tianming, wanting to say something. In the end, he just said the word, "I," and nothing else. Situ himself didn't know what he wanted to say. His mind is a mess now. After watching the performance of Loaded and witnessing the extremely tense and perfect interpretation by the C position of Group B, Situ felt like a huge rock was pressing on his heart. He understood that the gap between him and the C position was really huge. He also knew that Shiki on QIU, which was originally of extremely high quality, might be dragged down by him alone. After lowering his head and remaining silent for a while, Situ suddenly asked, "Brother Tianming, have you seen Sister Zhu?" Xiao Zhu, the person he has always relied on. But she is not in the dressing room now. This made Situ feel even more helpless. Zhang Tianming shook his head. She went out when Group B was performing just now. Maybe something happened. Situ lowered his head again. The halftime break passed little by little, and soon, it was the turn of the players in Group A to play. Zhang Tianming pulled Situ up, patted him on the shoulder, and encouraged him, "Come on. You can do it." Situ forced a smile and nodded. He stood up and walked to the entrance. Shen Feng, Zhang Wanwan, Liu Mingyu, Wen Hua, and Director Tian were all waiting there. Take turns to cheer on the contestants. By the time Situ, who was at the end of the team, walked up to them, most of the contestants in front of them had already gone on stage. Don't think too much, just do your best. Liu Mingyu, Situ's half-master, gave Situ a hug. He is an older middle-aged man, and is not very good at saying those popular motivational mottos nowadays. I can only give Situ the most simple care and encouragement. Situ nodded, and after Liu Mingyu let him go, he bowed to Liu Mingyu and the other instructors. I will try my best." Then he looked behind him. Behind me was a long corridor, and because it was just the passage to the stage, the lighting was not very bright. Situ took a look and saw that there was no one at the back of the corridor. He then asked Shen Sheng and Zhang Wanwan, "Boss, where is Sister Zhu?" "Sister Zhu?" Shen Feng smiled and said, "Xiaozu has already gone on stage just now. She went there earlier than all of you. Don't worry. You'll see her later." Shen Feng's words seemed to give Situ a reassurance. This made him, who was originally nervous, suddenly feel much more relaxed. It seems that the name Xiaozu has magical power. After taking a deep breath, Sityu looked straight ahead and walked towards the stage. The dazzling lights on the stage made Sityu feel a little dizzy. The moment he came up, he heard thunderous cheers and shouts from the audience. Sityu was under so much pressure that he felt a little breathless. He walked step by step to the center of the stage and joined the team of Group A contestants. Then he subconsciously looked to the left. The third person on his left was Xiaozu's position, which Sityu remembered very clearly. But when Sityu took a look, his heart skipped a beat. Because standing there is another contestant. At that moment, Sityu felt very panicked. Where is Sister Zhu? Why isn't she here? He panicked, not just because his support was gone. Moreover, Xiaozu had said more than once how important this stage was. The arrangement of Shikian Qyu is very good. Every contestant on the stage, even if they are not the center, will have enough opportunities to perform. So as long as the performance is completed well in the end, anyone can become popular. Originally I just wanted to help you, but I didn't expect that I would get such an opportunity. Maybe after the performance, my popularity will be higher than yours. It would be great if the teacher could see my performance this time. He would definitely be pleased to see me perform on such a perfect stage. Silly, you're still worried that I won't accept this opportunity. I should have told you that I won't miss any chance to be on stage again. Especially since Shikian Qyu is so good only a fool would not accept it. But now, why is Sister Zhu gone? Where did she go? Sityu subconsciously wanted to find Shen Feng and ask Shen Feng to bring Xiaozu back. But the prelude of Shikian Qyu has already sounded. When the contestants around him were taking steps to the rhythm, Sityu could only blend in stiffly. He knows. There is no retreat now. Chapter 310 Into the Arms. Is there one person missing? Yeah, where is my snowman? Didn't Su'er still be the center in the second non-original show? Why didn't she appear in this show? Did something go wrong? Many of the audience at the scene were immersed in the high-quality arrangement on Shikian Qyu. Driven by the atmosphere, everyone's attention is focused. However, the audience watching the live broadcast in front of their computers or mobile phones were not so focused, especially when the camera was turned to everyone present. The sharp-eyed audience discovered that there were only 9 people on the field. Xiaozu is missing. But these audiences are still a minority after all. Their barrage of comments was finally drowned in the even more turbulent wave of barrage of comments. On stage, the contestants, dressed in costumes with ancient and opera elements, performed the first half of the main song in turn according to the predetermined order. But the insertion of the opening gong and drum beats of Peking opera in the background accompaniment, Shikian Qyu, also entered the first half of the chorus. According to the design, the chorus is an extremely difficult opera-style singing. And this section is also the real home court of Sityu. The C position. Sityu should have walked towards the center of the stage step by step to the rhythm of the gongs and drums. But now Sityu, whose mind was in a mess, just felt so weak under his feet. His steps became disordered when he stepped onto the stage. And he even stumbled in the end. He was almost a beat faster than the gong and drum beats, and stood in the middle of the stage in a somewhat awkward manner. At this moment, many of the audience members fell silent. This stagger is it the arrangement of the program itself? Or did Sityu make a mistake? The audience didn't know. But they felt that if this was arranged long ago, then Sityu's performance was too good. If this was a mistake, that would be too bad. This one missed shot and one stumble seemed to shatter all the superb performances of all the previous contestants. Sityu also knew how serious his mistake was. It was precisely because he knew this that he felt even more nervous. At this moment, he seemed to have forgotten the movements he had practiced hard every day. How should he raise his hand? What should he do next? Sityu was confused and couldn't help shaking all over. I clearly promised to perform well, and I clearly carry the expectations of so many people. He doesn't want this to happen. He also wants to work hard and perform well. But why can't he do it? But just when Sityu should have raised her sleeves and danced to the music, she just stood there in a daze. Under the stage. In the large open space between the auditorium and the stage. But at some point, a figure wearing a teddy bear costume appeared. Because the lights on the stage are very bright, the area under the stage is actually very dark. Except for some spectators who were relatively close. Many people did not notice the sudden appearance of this figure. But Sityu saw it. Not only did he see it, he also saw the little bear with a big head raise its 2 arms. His body bent downward, and then rose up leisurely. At this moment, Sityu's eyes widened. Because this action is what he should do next. And the feeling this little bear gave him. Sityu thought of so many things at this moment. He couldn't even help but have his eyes turn red. But he resisted the urge to cry and suppress his wild thoughts. He raised his sleeves, skipped the dance that he had missed due to his brief daze, and followed the little bear's movements to enter the next stage. At the same time, his beautiful opera voice, which had been repeatedly improved and polished by himself, resounded throughout the gradually quieting stadium as the dance moves began. When the high-pitched melody reached the ears of every audience member, also audience members who had gradually fallen silent before seemed to have their emotions ignited again. On the stage, Sityu, dressed as a female role, seemed like a lark trapped on the stage, trying to break free from the shackles of this corner. His dancing shows his ups and downs on the stage of the chaotic Republic of China. He should have been the most proud and uninhibited madman exiled to heaven. But he was tied up in the cage called the human world. His singing voice brought out the character he played to the fullest, and his cries of indignation against the injustice of the world on the stage shook people's hearts with every sound. Some of the audience sitting in the front rows were even more shocked to find out. Every movement of Sityu seemed to be surprisingly similar to the big-headed little bear in front of the stage. It's not just the audience that sits in the front row. There are also security personnel responsible for maintaining order. The security guard also noticed the figure in the bear costume. He was frowning, thinking about going up and chasing the man away. But a hand held him. That hand was so powerful that the security guards couldn't even move. The security guard turned around and his expression changed immediately when he saw the person behind him. "Brother." Xiao Zilong pressed the security guard's shoulder and said, "Don't worry about that bear, just listen to the music and watch the performance." But, the security guard wanted to say something else. But after seeing Xiao Zilong's slightly vicissitudes of life eyes, he was unable to say anything. He rarely saw his elder brother with such an expression. Xiao Zilong stood next to the security guard with an unlit cigarette in his mouth. He stared at the little bear dancing in the shadow of the stage and thought of Xiaozu, who had found him a few minutes ago. "Dad, can you do me one more favor?" Xiao Zilong agreed without thinking, as he would never refuse his daughter's request. But he didn't expect that his daughter would give up the opportunity to perform on stage. Before the performance, the whole family talked to Xiaozu. Xiaozu also told them that this performance was very important. Now, the daughter who values this stage so much, the daughter who cried and said when she was a teenager that she would never miss any opportunity to perform on stage again. But once again, he gave up the opportunity to stand in the spotlight. It's for the boy dancing and singing on the stage. Xiao Zilong's eyes moved upwards and looked at Sityu on the stage. At this time, Sityu was singing the last sentence of the chorus. When the ending sound like a phoenix cry in the blue sky crushed all the instruments in the accompaniment and shocked the entire sports center, the audience at the scene also gave Sityu thunderous applause. No one thought about whether Sityu made a mistake at the beginning, because Sityu's near-perfect performance just now has already demonstrated his strength to the audience. After the chorus, the interlude begins. Sityu also slowly stepped back, and another contestant came forward and danced to the interlude. When the spotlight is no longer on Sityu, Sityu turned his back and raised his head quietly. And off the stage, the big-headed little bear's body also began to tremble slightly. The doll took it. Xiaozu looked at Sityu, who had walked into the dark corner of the stage. Tears welling up in the corners of her eyes, but the corners of her mouth unconsciously curled up. "Silly, can't you perform very well? Aren't you no worse than anyone else? Or even better than anyone else? What are you nervous about? Are you worried that I'm not here? But I haven't waited for you to say that to me again. Why would I leave early?" The interlude ends, and the verse ends. Zhang Wanwan's modified pipa solo sounded murderous and shocking at this time. Sityu stood under the spotlight again, in the center of the stage. The amazing and difficult opera tune sounded again, and Xiaozu and the audience started dancing again. The slightly bulky doll costume somewhat restricted her performance, but she still tried her best to perform every movement as standard as possible. It was as if she was also standing in the spotlight, in the center of the stage, standing next to Sityu. The solemn sound of the pipa gradually faded away, and Sityu on the stage also finished singing the slightly lonely and desolate ending. The lights on the stage slowly dimmed. It was like a big drama, and the curtain had come down. Xiaozu let out a long sigh. She once said that she would never miss another show again. This time, she broke her promise. But she doesn't regret it. She turned around and wanted to leave. Now the applause and cheers in the audience belonged to Sityu and other contestants. It has nothing to do with her. Just when Xiaozu was about to leave, she suddenly heard the cheers from the audience and the stands turn into exclamations. Xiaozu turned her head in surprise. Sityu, who was supposed to leave the stage from the side, did not leave with the other contestants. He ran straight over. The steps were staggering and hurried. He jumped directly down from the stage, which was more than 1 meter high, and his clean costume was covered with dust. But he did not stop, and even ran faster and faster, until Xiaozu felt. He crashed into his arms. Chapter 311. You are so beautiful. I like you. The audience below, which was not illuminated by the spotlight, was originally dark. Except for some of the audience in the front row. Many people at the scene didn't notice the big-headed little bear in the dark at first. When Sityu rushed down from the stage in a gorgeous costume, everyone at the scene looked in the direction he was heading. The light was still not bright, but they also saw Sityu and the man in the teddy bear costume hugging each other tightly. Who is that? What's wrong with Yubao? I've never seen him so excited before. Is he some relative of Yubao's? Why is he dressed like that? Could it be a girlfriend? The audience in the stands were guessing hard. In fact, they are lucky. At least we can know what happened at the scene. The audiences who were waiting in front of the live broadcast room were the ones who were truly confused. Because from their perspective, after a perfect stage performance, Sityu ran all the way and disappeared from the camera. Or did Sityu go, or what happened to him? The audience in front of the live broadcast room had no idea. What happened? Why didn't Yubao end up like the others? From the look of his movements, I wonder if he's going to jump off the stage? Damn, it feels like there's something big going on. Why didn't I get a ticket? Some audience members are smarter, and would either go on Weibo to look for any gossip, or go to various fan groups to ask the big guys who bought tickets for the event about the situation. Soon, a photo was circulated on Weibo and various fan groups. This is a photo taken by a spectator sitting in the front row. In the photo, Sityu can be seen hugging a person wearing a teddy bear costume. The viewer also posted a video she recorded during the performance. In the video, you can vaguely see that the person wearing the teddy bear doll is doing the same dance moves as Sityu on the stage. Who is this person? What exactly happened at the scene? These unsolved mysteries made the audience in front of the live broadcast room scratch their heads anxiously. They are not the only ones who are anxious. The audience at the scene was even more anxious. Because not long after they noticed Sityu and the big-headed bear hugging each other, a man who looked like a security guard came over and took them away. Some of the audience left their seats in a hurry, wanting to catch up with the security guard and Sityu to ask for clarification. But there were more security personnel escorting Sityu, making it impossible for the audience to get close to Sityu. They could only watch as Sityu and the big-headed bear disappeared into the employee passage. In the staff passage, Xiaozu took off her heavy hood. Although it is winter now, this furry outfit, coupled with the high-intensity dance just now, made her body covered in sweat. Strands of hair clung to her forehead and the sides of her face. Instead of smoothing the hair aside, she stretched out her furry paws and rubbed them on Sityu's face. Silly, why are you crying? Xiaozu herself had red eyes and spoke in a low voice. Sityu has been crying since he bumped into her arms. Xiaozu had never seen him cry like this before, not even when Sityu was depressed because of his poor practice. Sityu couldn't control his sobbing. He actually had a lot to say, but because he was crying the whole time, he couldn't utter a complete sentence. The more he couldn't say it, the more anxious Sityu became in the end. For some reason, he started to hiccup due to anxiety. This made Sityu even more confused about what to do, and he cried even harder. Xiaozu didn't know what to do for a moment. She wiped the tears and sweat from her face, then pulled Sityu to sit on the bench in the aisle, patting Sityu's back gently with his thick bare paw. Neither of them spoke now, and Sityu's sobs and hiccups echoed in the corridor. Aside, Xiao Zilong, who escorted the two to the employee passage, actually had a lot of questions he wanted to ask Xiaozu and Sityu. But seeing this scene now, Xiao Zilong also shut his mouth and silently walked to the other end of the employee passage, guarding the entrance. He leaned against the door frame and took out the cigarette that he had not lit while watching the show and put it in his mouth. But this time, he took out a lighter and lit the cigarette. Sityu cried for a long time before he finally stopped. But the hiccups didn't stop. Xiaozu remembered that her father once said that scaring people can cure their hiccups. So Xiaozu suddenly raised her furry paws towards Sityu, with a ferocious look on her face, and was about to roar. As a result, Sityu was also looking at her at this moment. Sityu's red eyes from crying made his eyes look big. Those pure eyes looked even clearer and more innocent in the waterlight. Looking at Sityu's expression, Xiaozu, who originally wanted to scare Sityu, was suddenly filled with guilt. It was as if a little angel floated above her head and said to her, "How could you have the heart to scare him?" Xiaozu's roar was stuck in her throat. She raised her bare paw and finally gently patted Sityu on the head. Then Sityu spoke. "Belch." Xiaozu. Sityu's own face was also red at this moment. He held back his next hiccup with great effort, and then said to Xiaozu in a very small voice, "Sister Zhu, I'm sorry." Xiaozu patted his head again. Sityu's head sank and he couldn't help but burp again. Xiaozu said with a serious expression, "Silly, why are you saying sorry to me? It was all because of me that you didn't get to play. You obviously valued this opportunity so much." "I value you more than opportunities," Xiaozu suddenly said slowly. Sityu's words came to an abrupt end. Xiaozu smiled and said, "Don't forget, I didn't choose to come to the training base to help you just because I could go on stage. I should have been eliminated and didn't belong on this stage. I'm very lucky to have been able to perform in the center position. So, if you blame yourself for this again and say sorry to me, I will be angry." Sityu pursed his lips. Seeing him like this, Xiaozu knew that he must still be blaming himself. The only way for Sityu to get over this knot in his heart is to wait for him to get over it himself. She stood up and said, "Okay, let's go back to Xinfeng and the others first. You've caused such a big commotion, I'm afraid you'll be in a lot of trouble." As she spoke, Xiaozu stretched out her bare paw and was about to pull Sityu up. Sityu also grabbed Xiaozu. But he did not stand up under Xiaozu's force. He just grabbed Xiaozu's arm, and after a moment, he whispered, "Sister Zhu, last time you said that after the performance, if I was still willing you would say that to you again. Now, the performance should be over." He said this and then stood up. Before Xiaozu could react, he pulled Xiaozu into his arms. Xiaozu snuggled into Sityu's arms. Only then did she realize with surprise that Sityu's embrace was so broad and warm. Faintly, she seemed to hear Sityu's heartbeat. Faintly, she seemed to hear Sityu's whisper in her ear. "Sister Zhu, you are so beautiful. I like you." Chapter 312, The girlfriend of the person next to me. "You're pretty good at finding trouble, aren't you?" Sichuan Sports Center. In an office, Sister Lin, whose vacation was interrupted by an unexpected incident, sat in the boss's chair, glaring angrily at Sityu and Xiaozu who had just rushed over. King stood behind Sister Lin and massaged her shoulders. Shen Fang, Zhang Wanwan, Zhang Tianming, and Liu Yao were all sitting aside. "It's just like holding a three-court trial of Sityu." Sister Lin rubbed her forehead and then stretched out her hand. He first pointed at Zhang Wanwan. He pointed at Zhang Tianming again. He pointed at Sityu again. Then he said, 1, 2, 3. Did you three make an appointment? Why are you all going to deal with this kind of emergency? Is this the corporate culture of our studio? One posted a marriage certificate on Weibo. One said he had a girlfriend during a live broadcast. And another played a love hug in front of tens of thousands of viewers. No one makes me feel at ease. Sister Lin wanted to smash the table. But when she thought that this was a table in someone else's sports center, and she would have to pay for it if it was broken, Sister Lin held back. King behind him suddenly said, "If you want to smash it, go ahead, I'll pay for it if it breaks." Sister Lin raised her hand again. But King said, "I can compensate you if the table is broken, but I can't replace you if your hand is hurt." Sister Lin put her hand down again. She sighed, looked at Sityu and said, "Teacher Liu Mingyu and Teacher Wenhua are performing on the stage right now. We have to come up with a solution before they finish their performance. Sityu, what do you want to do?" His Itu lowered his head and thought for a long time. He looked at Xiaozu again. Finally, he whispered, "I want to tell the truth to my fans just like Tianming. You are worthy of being my best friend. A man should be responsible." Zhang Tianming clapped his hands in satisfaction. The result was a big eye roll from Sister Lin. Then Sister Lin said to Sityu, "You can make an official announcement, but I have to tell you the price of the official announcement first. Although most of your fans now are moms, your performance this time was amazing. Within 1 minute after the performance of Shikian Qyu, your Weibo fans increased by more than 50,000. These new fans are not the mom fans who have watched you grow up step by step. Their composition is much more complicated if you make an official announcement now. Conservatively speaking, the traffic effect of your Shikian Qyu will be 1/3 less. Secondly, an audience member filmed Xiaozu demonstrating and guiding you from the audience. If you just admit it, netizens will know that you don't have the ability to perform well in Shikian Qyu, and you relied on help from outside the stage. This will also have a great impact on your own reputation, and it will become a handle for those who have ulterior motives to attack you. Finally, from now on, you have to be responsible for Xiaozu. She has given so much for you, and the netizens have seen it. If one day you break up with her or let her down, this matter will be dug up. And then you will be a complete scumbag." After saying, Sister Lin looked up at Sityu again and asked again, "Now, do you still want to make an official announcement?" Sityu scratched his head. Said, "Yes." In fact, he didn't quite understand the consequences that Sister Lin mentioned. He didn't care much about the consequences. He only understood that as long as it was officially announced, he could be with Sister Zhu openly. "That's enough." Sister Lin nodded. She stood up and walked to Sityu's side. Sityu shrank his head a little in fear. He knew that Sister Lin was a very powerful person, and even his boss Zhang Wanwan was afraid of her. He also knew that he had indeed caused trouble this time and would most likely be scolded. But just when he thought he was going to be scolded, Sister Lin's gentle voice suddenly came. "Congratulations to you all. Even the duet of Liu Mingyu and Wen Hui on stage could hardly calm the surging waves in the audience's hearts. Now the whole thing has started to ferment on Weibo. Because the stage of Shiqian Qiyu is so perfect, the popularity of Shiqian Qiyu on Weibo is also rising. This also caused the subsequent incident of Sidiyu rushing off the stage to hug the big-headed bear to heat up. And it ranked second on the hot search list, second only to the first ranked, the perfect performance of Shiqian Qiyu. In the audience, a middle-aged man who looked to be at least 40 or 50 years old was sitting in the VIP seat. The young man sitting next to him was browsing Weibo with a tablet. After a moment, he whispered, "It seems that there is a lot of controversy right now. If the production team doesn't respond, it will probably continue for a long time. This song, do we still need to use it?" The middle-aged man glanced at the young man next to him. Then he said, "Yes, why not? It's too controversial. What if it affects our plans? If the program team responds, won't there be no controversy?" asked the middle-aged man. "But what if they don't give it to you?" "I won't refuse." The middle-aged man leaned back in his chair, looking at Liu Mingyu and Wen Hua, who were preparing to leave after the performance. "Didn't you see how that young man named Sidiyu rushed off the stage and hugged the man below the stage? He will definitely give a response, because that person is very important to him." The middle-aged man just finished speaking. Liu Mingyu and Wen Hua left the stage. While Shen Feng, Zhang Wanwan, Director Tian, Sidiyu, and the mysterious man, in a teddy bear costume, had already walked onto the stage. The young man was stunned for a moment, then smiled bitterly and said, "Mr. Zhang, you are really a master at foresight. That's not a brilliant plan. It's just the ability to judge people." The middle-aged man said calmly, "I have been a director for my whole life and have selected tens of thousands of actors. If I still can't see through a child, then I have lived in vain, right? If the lights in the auditorium were brighter, maybe someone would have recognized it." A middle-aged man sitting in the VIP seat is none other than Shang An, the most famous and influential director in the country. On stage, but the appearance of Sidiyu and the big-headed little bear, the audience suddenly became quiet, because they know that the truth they have been waiting for is likely to be made public. The audience in front of the live broadcast room also stared at the screen. They all wanted to know who this little bear was that made Sidiyu jump off the stage and hug him tightly. Some netizens who like to stir up trouble are still posting their opinions on Weibo. "I guess the little bear must have been replaced by someone else. Originally it was supposed to be Sidiyu's girlfriend. And now it might be replaced by a man. And then the audience is told that this is Sidiyu's teacher or something like that. Hey, that's the routine. Don't disbelieve me. How else can you explain why they waited so long before going on stage? They must have done something fishy." These netizens expressed their opinions without hesitation. While watching the live broadcast, he happily waited for his predictions to come true and for other netizens to praise him as a prophet. Then, they saw Sidiyu grabbing the little bear's paw. He said to the camera, "Hello everyone, I am Sidiyu. The one next to me is my girlfriend." The little bear next to him also took off his mask. The person inside smiled and said to the camera, "Hello everyone, I'm Xiaozu. It's the girlfriend of the guy next to you." Chapter 313. You are really my brother. Many people are destined to have trouble sleeping tonight. Some people listen to the live performance of Shiqian Qiyu repeatedly, and then keep recommending it to people around them. Some people are browsing the gossip about Sidiyu and Xiaozu on various social platforms and can't stop. Some people just became girlfriend fans because of Sidiyu's amazing performance. But before they had even been fans for half an hour, they were defeated by Xiaozu. How come all the outstanding men have girlfriends? This world is too malicious towards girlfriend fans, leaving no room for survival. Why do all the stars I like end up in pairs? At first I was a fan of Zhang Wanwan, then Shen Feng came out, and I was a fan of Jiang Tianming, and Jiang Tianming said he had a girlfriend. And now I just fell in love with Sidiyu, and he has also officially announced it. Why is that? Fuck, female Bodhisattva, how about you try to be my fan? I have been single for 30 years. If you are single for 30 years, the Bodhisattva will only take you to become a monk. But this couple is kind of sweet. Xiaozu gave up the chance to go on stage for Sidiyu's performance. And Sidiyu jumped off the stage desperately for Xiaozu. Is this love? I'm jealous again. And Sidiyu even dared to come out and make an official announcement, saying that his good performance was all thanks to Xiaozu. If it was someone who was not responsible, he would not come out and admit this, right? Just now, Sidiyu and Xiaozu officially announced it on stage. Not only was it officially announced, but Sidiyu also told the audience openly that his original performance was actually very bad. The only time you can imitate Xiaozu's movements is when you are better. In order to allow him to present the best stage effect, Xiaozu chose to give up the opportunity to go on stage and go to the backstage to demonstrate for him. In front of tens of thousands of audiences at the scene and hundreds of thousands of viewers in front of the live broadcast room. He admitted that he had no ability and relied entirely on external help. This is extremely rare for an actor who has just won praise on the internet. Because if he is not careful, this will become a reason and handle for someone to attack him. But obviously, Sidiyu was not afraid. After Sidiyu finished saying this, a large number of the audience responded with applause and blessings. However, some of Sidiyu's girlfriend fans or Xiaozu's boyfriend fans did not want to applaud. For example, the one next to Xiao Zilong. Xiao Zilong, who was standing by the audience, looked at a little girl next to him who was pouting and frowning, looking unhappy, and asked, "Why aren't you clapping? I'm a girlfriend fan of Sidiyu now that he's officially announced it. It means I'm heartbroken, why should I applaud?" The little girl snorted. "I really don't know why Xiaozu was with you, but what's so good about her?" Xiao Zilong's face darkened. He lowered his head. He looked at the little girl with a grim expression. In the little girl's eyes, it was as if she saw a big bear looking at her with cannibalistic eyes. The little girl was so frightened that she trembled. What do you want to do? Do you think Xiaozu is a bad person?" Xiao Zilong said sinister lie. No. The little girl wanted to say no. But looking at that big black face, the little girl swallowed her saliva. And finally changed her tone and whispered, "Okay, very good." Only then did Xiao Zilong retract his frightening gaze. Then he said, "Why don't you applaud them?" The little girl clapped stiffly. Xiao Zilong left with satisfaction. Not long after, a little girl's brother who had gone to the toilet came back. The little girl hurriedly grabbed her brother's arm and said, "Brother, just now someone bullied me." When the brother heard that his sister was being bullied, he immediately became furious. After finding out who was bullying him, the brother walked towards Xiao Zilong, who was sitting not far away with an angry look on his face. Then he pointed at Xiao Zilong and said angrily, "You are the one who bullied my sister." Xiao Zilong glanced at him, then stood up. With a height of nearly 1.9 meters and a body full of terrifying muscles, the brother's face turned several shades paler at the time. I don't know if it was because of Xiao Zilong's skin color. Xiao Zilong said to the older brother, "I was the one who bullied you. What's wrong?" Forehead. My brother swallowed. He stammered. She just said something bad about you again. I came to tell you something. Why don't you go and deal with her again? The little girl who pricked up her ears to eavesdrop on the voices here. You are truly my dear brother. After the official announcement, the program team asked all the contestants and mentors to come on stage and sing the theme song of youth group. Today's performance has officially ended. When the performance ended, the audience applauded for a long time, and many audience members were reluctant to leave. There is no doubt that although there were some minor incidents, today's performance was generally very successful. Several non-original tracks were restored perfectly, and the 2 original tracks were also of extremely high quality. The punk style of Loaded brought rebellious restlessness and rock frenzy to the entire stage. Not to mention, Shikian Qiu, the ultimate arrangement and lyrics. The gorgeous choreography, Sidiyu's overwhelming singing skills combined with the superb performance assisted by Xiaozu, and the perfect performances of other contestants, made the entire show stunning and perfect. Even those marketing accounts and experts in the music field who specialize in finding faults find it difficult to find any problems with this program. The video clip of Shikian Qiu received nearly 1 million views in just half an hour. Although some people have watched it 5, 6 or even more times, it still proves its popularity. And in the background, the famous director Shang Yan has already found Director Tian. Director Tian was still a little embarrassed in front of Shang Yan. They are both directors, but his variety show director is nothing compared to this internationally renowned director. He respectfully served tea and water to Shang Yan, and also took care of the young man behind Shang Yan. "You're welcome." The young man took the tea from Director Tian and asked, "The composer of this song is Mr. Liu Mingyu, right? We want to talk to him." "Well, they will be here soon." "Who are you?" Director Tian didn't know this young man, but he knew that there were definitely no ordinary people who could follow Shang Yan. If we say that the most influential actor in the current domestic film industry is the veteran movie star Xu Yilin, and the most influential screenwriter is the late Song Xian, then the most influential director is undoubtedly Shang Yan. Even the opening ceremony of the only Olympic Games held in China was directed by Shang Yan. A friend's child has been studying with me recently. Shang Yan looks serious, but his words are profound and gentle. A unique characteristic of people of that era. He introduced to Director Tian. His name is Xiaomu, although not many people know him now. His future achievements will definitely not be low. I said so. Shang Yan had just finished speaking. Liu Mingyu, Wen Hua, Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan walked into the room. When Zhang Wanwan saw the young man behind Shang Yan, she said in surprise, Xiaomu? Director Tian. Director Tian, Didn't you say that few people recognize him yet? Chang'an. Chang'an looked at the young man behind him. Are you friends with Xiao Zhang? Xiaomu seemed confused as well, then shook his head. He looked at Zhang Wanwan and asked politely, Teacher Zhang Wanwan, do you know me? I guess we know each other. In fact, Zhang Wanwan regretted it a little after blurting out Xiaomu's name just now. She did know Xiaomu, but that was a lifetime ago, when Zhang Wanwan was shooting a promotional video for Mingyu Jewelry. The director King found was Ning Guang, who was known as Crazy Kwang in Zhang Wanwan's previous life. And in her previous life, Ning Guang's husband was the genius director who had won numerous international awards together with Ning Guang. He is the gentle and refined young man standing behind Chang'an. Xiaomu, Chapter 314, Still Can't Take You Down? In fact, Zhang Wanwan really didn't know that Xiaomu was actually brought up by Chang'an, because in her previous life, Zhang Wanwan became famous several years later. And by that time, Xiaomu had already become famous in the international film scene for having shot several high-quality films. When Zhang Wanwan officially came into contact with Xiaomu and Ning Guang, these two were already the two most powerful directors of the new generation. So Zhang Wanwan didn't know much about how Xiaomu became successful. Zhang Wanwan rolled her eyes and finally pulled Ning Guang out to take the blame. I worked with director Ning Guang on a commercial before. Do you know her? I don't know him. Xiaomu shook his head. Zhang Wanwan. Anyway, she introduced you to me and said that you are a very talented young man who will become a great man in the future. Anyway, Xiaomu will be Ning Guang's husband in the future. Zhang Wanwan felt that there was nothing wrong with her helping Ning Guang praise Xiaomu in advance. Zhang Wanwan said this, and Xiaomu did not ask any more questions. However, I became more curious about the director named Ning Guang. Afterwards, Chang'an and Liu Mingyu talked about the issues related to Shiqian Qiyu together. He said frankly that his superiors were going to shoot a very important drama and wanted to purchase the music copyright of Shiqian Qiyu for use. Liu Mingyu felt that this song was composed by Zhang Wanwan, and how to use it depended on Zhang Wanwan's intention. But Zhang Wanwan said that she would not express her opinion and everything would be decided by Liu Mingyu. Liu Mingyu thought about it and finally agreed to sell the copyright and adaptation rights, and only asked for a price that was not too high. This surprised both Chang'an and Xiaomu. After watching the performance of Shiqian Qiyu, they deeply understood how valuable this music is. I had thought the negotiations would be difficult, but I didn't expect them to be concluded so easily. The main reason why Liu Mingyu was so happy was because Zhang Wanwan acted so casually. Liu Mingyu himself is not short of money to him. The meaning of music itself is far greater than its value. But in his heart, Zhang Wanwan is still the biggest contributor to Shiqian Qiyu. If Zhang Wanwan wanted to make money from Shiqian Qiyu, Liu Mingyu would have no objection. Zhang Wanwan, who has always shown herself to be very money-loving, did not express any opinion on the sale of copyright this time, which was beyond Liu Mingyu's expectations. However, when Liu Mingyu and Chang'an had agreed on the price and were about to finalize it, Zhang Wanwan spoke again. Director Shang, this price for 1,000 years of play should be considered very cheap, right? Chang'an glanced at Zhang Wanwan when he could tell there was something else behind her words. So he asked directly, Xiao Zhang, do you have any other conditions? Zhang Wanwan chuckled. I just want you to do me a small favor. It won't be too much trouble for you. We are planning to make a movie later, and would like to invite you to be our director. After Zhang Wanwan finished speaking, Chang'an's eyelids drooped slightly. Xiaomu also frowned and said, Teacher Zhang Wanwan, is this what you call a small favor? Asking Mr. Shang to direct a movie is no small matter, even if he is not officially listed as the director. Do you know how high Mr. Shang's requirements are for selecting movies? Sung Xian script, Zhang Wanwan suddenly said. No one's script can be so sloppy. Wait, who? Xiaomu was halfway through his speech when his eyes suddenly widened, and Chang'an's drooping eyelids lifted up again. He looked at Zhang Wanwan and asked, Are you talking about the movie that Wang Shun Xun is planning to shoot? Yes. Zhang Wanwan was not surprised at all that Chang'an knew about this movie. Wang Shun Xun and Chang'an are from about the same generation, and both are big names in this circle. They must know each other. These days, Wang Shun Xun has been running around and recruiting people to form a team for this movie, and Chang'an must have heard about it. Chang'an leaned back in his chair and thought about it. Finally he nodded slowly. I can help. Zhang Wanwan showed joy on her face. But I also have a request. Chang'an pulled Xiaomu, who was holding out his hand, to the front. I want him to be the chief director. Xiaomu pushed his glasses and said with a wry smile, Mr. Shang, I'm a rookie and I don't have any works yet. How could they agree to my request? I agree. Zhang Wanwan made the decision immediately. Xiaomu. But I can only recommend him to Principal Wang. The final selection will still be made by Principal Wang. Zhang Yan nodded and said, okay. After the cooperation was agreed upon, Lei Ming, the CEO of Minglai Entertainment, personally hosted a banquet in the evening and booked a hall in a big hotel as a celebration party for the successful completion of Youth Group. At the cocktail party, many contestants and staff members gathered around Situ and Xiaozu. This made Situ's silly face turn red. By the time the cocktail party was over, it was almost 12 o'clock. Lei Ming booked all the empty rooms in the hotel and let everyone stay there for one night. He then sent a bus to take the players back to the training base the next day. Although the recording of the program, Youth Group, has been completed, it does not mean that the contestants will disband. The successful conclusion of the performance actually means that the contestants from Youth Group are now eligible to debut as a group. Next, the two groups of contestants A and B will have to form two groups and debut under the arrangement of director Tian and Minglai Entertainment, and then go on tour. However, there was one person who, after returning to the base, expressed his intention to quit the group and not make any debuts. Jiang Tianming. Director Tian looked at Jiang Tianming, who raised his hand to withdraw, with a serious face. You are one of the most popular players in Group A. Your withdrawal will have a huge impact on the entire group. Don't forget that you signed a contract before participating in the show. If you want to withdraw now, you have to pay the penalty. How much? Jiang Tianming asked casually. Director Tian. Damn, I almost forgot he's a rich second generation. After Jiang Tianming paid the penalty for breach of contract, he left in a leisurely manner with Zhang Wanwan, Shen Feng, Li Yuya and others. As for Situ, both he and Xiaozu chose to stay in the group. As the leading company in the domestic entertainment industry today, Minglai Entertainment has resources at its disposal that are absolutely incomparable to the small studios of Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng. Letting Situ and Xiaozu stay in the group to get some resources will be more beneficial to Situ's future. Of course, Situ's contract is still signed with Wan Fenglin. Even Zhang Wanwan wanted to sign Xiaozu as well. However, Xiaozu said that Wan Fenglin's treatment was too bad. There was already a fool in her family who was cheated. She had to find a way to make more money to support her family to prevent Situ from starving to death. So Xiaozu finally signed a contract with Minglai Entertainment. This has little impact on Wan Fenglin. Wan Fenglin is not making any money anyway. And whether Xiaozu comes or not will not change the current situation. After leaving the training base, Li Yuya and Jiang Qianming went to Jiang Tianming's home. Sister Lin and Qin King went to Shangjing City for vacation. This made Zhang Wanwan sigh deeply. Sister Lin used to be a workaholic, but now she asks for leave every now and then. Once this person got involved in love, he really became different. Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan naturally returned to Zhonghe City. They also need to rest for a few days. In a few days, they will go to find Wang Shunxuan to shoot a new movie. When Zhang Wanwan told Wang Shunxuan that Shang Yan was coming to be his mentor, Wang Shunxuan almost died of joy. He didn't care that Shang Yan asked to insert a director after all. Even if the director Shang Yan inserted was a waste, wouldn't it still be possible to exploit Shang Yan? Wang Shunxuan told Zhang Wanwan and Shen Cheng that the crew had already made most of the preparations, and as long as the scenes and equipment were in place, they could start filming immediately. Sitting on the plane back to Zhonghe City, Zhang Wanwan rubbed her belly and leaned on Shen Feng's shoulder. It's almost a month. People say that pregnancy starts to show after 3 months. But I don't know if I'll look particularly fat if I'm pregnant, Zhang Wanwan muttered. Although I've lived to lives, this is my first time to be a mother when I think about it carefully. I'm quite nervous. Shen Feng tilted his head and rubbed his hair against hers, and whispered, I've lived for more than 800 years, and this is the first time I'm going to be a father. I'm also very nervous. In those 800 years? Didn't you read any parenting books? Zhang Wanwan asked curiously. Yes. Do you think the things in the book are useful? Should I take a look at it? Shen Cheng looked at Zhang Wanwan, and after a moment he smiled and said, I think it should be quite useful. Look, haven't I made you plump and white? Zhang Wanwan glared. Who are you calling fat? Then he reacted, no, who is your child? How shameless are you to play ethics jokes at your age? Shen Cheng spread his hands innocently. I am telling the truth. I really raised you according to what is taught in the parenting book. The egg custard I made for you this morning is the children's version. I saw you were enjoying it. You damn Fengzi, you actually made me a baby meal. Zhang Wanwan was furious. Shen Feng smiled and said, will you still eat it after I make it? Eat. Zhang Wanwan said with a blushing face. Shen Cheng pinched Zhang Wanwan's nose and said, little foodie, can't I defeat you? Zhang Wanwan glared at Shen Feng with resentment. Then he said, sinister lie, bully your younger brother. Be careful of retribution. Shen Feng didn't take it seriously. But at night, Shen Feng's retribution came. When they returned to the villa in the evening, Chen Feng prepared dinner and asked Zhang Wanwan to come downstairs to eat. Zhang Wanwan changed into a maid outfit that she didn't know when she bought it. Still not very serious. And she came close to Shen Feng intimately. And with her movie-winning acting skills, she played the role of a gentle, weak and adorable little maid. The eunuch heard the sound of the clamp, which made her legs weak, and said in a greasy voice, "Master, I am sorry to trouble you to cook for me. Master, you must be tired, let me massage your shoulders. Master, don't wear such thick clothes at home, let me take them off for you." As she spoke, Zhang Wanwan deliberately rubbed her body against Shen Sheng while unbuttoning Shen Feng's shirt. Then he reached his hand into Shen Feng's clothes and touched him randomly. Shen Feng took a deep breath. He was about to carry Zhang Wanwan up with one hand. But this time Zhang Wanwan said, "Master, I am still pregnant. Please control yourself, hold on, otherwise I will get angry. Be careful, or someone will tell mom will be very angry. Right? Shen Feng. Shen Feng. Shen Feng." Shen Sheng looked at Zhang Wanwan for a long time. Pinched Zhang Wanwan's little face. Finally he ran to the bathroom silently. Zhang Wanwan smiled proudly. "Little pervert, can't I get you?" Chapter 315 Shen Wanwan. After Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng rested at home for a day, they planned to return to Qingyu County to visit Tang Ping and Shen Xiaojiuo. Unexpectedly, the next day, before Zhang Wanwan and Shen Feng had time to leave the house, a car stopped in front of their house. The person driving the car was Shen Xiaojiuo. Not only was Shen Feng's mother Tang Ping sitting in the car, but also the couple Zhang Ziachi and Su Yan. Shen Feng was stunned. "Why are the four of you in one car?" Shen Xiaojiuo smiled and said, "Yesterday Yu Ya called us and asked us if we had watched the late broadcast before, and also asked us to meet her boyfriend at that time. Yuya said that you guys were back, and your mother and I happened to be free. So we drove over to take a look." Tang Ping nodded. "When I arrived in Zhangchai City this morning, I thought about calling my in-laws to ask if they were free. If they were, we would come to see you together. As it turned out, they wanted to come too, so I asked your dad to drive them over together." Liu Yu really treated Shen Xiaojiuo and Tang Ping as elders like her parents. Not only did she call them frequently, she even used her salary to buy gifts for them in private. Since Shen Xiaojiuo, Zhang Ziaiqi and the others are here, Shen Feng and Zhang Wanwan naturally have less trouble. Shen Sheng went out to buy groceries and planned to prepare a big meal to entertain the four of them at noon. Su Yan and Tang Ping followed Zhang Wanwan to the bedroom upstairs. By the three women, 2 adults and 1 child, began to whisper. Shen Xiaojiuo and Zhang Ziachi leaned on the sofa in the living room, looking at each other. After a while, Shen Xiaojiuo was the first to say with a smile, "Old Zhang, how is the company's business recently?" "Not bad, not bad, not bad," Zhang Ziachi also responded with a smile. "How about your supermarket, how's business?" "It's okay. It's okay." After saying, the two of them returned to the state of you looking at me and I looking at you. A while later, Shen Xiaojiuo took out a cigarette and handed one to Zhang Ziachi. "Have a cigarette." "Oh, no." Shen Xiaojiuo fiddled with the cigarette and lighter for a long time, but in the end he failed to light it. Seeing this, Zhang Ziachi looked at the teapot on the table again. Asked, "Would you like some water?" Okay, Shen Xiaojiuo nodded. Zhang Ziaqi's face lit up with joy and he picked up the teapot. "And I found out it was empty." Zhang Ziachi. Shen Xiaojiuo. Both of them fell silent again. In fact, Shen Xiaojiuo and Zhang Ziachi were good friends before. Even on Zhang Ziaqi's birthday last time, when the two families had a dinner together, a drunk Shen Xiaojiuo and a drunk Zhang Ziachi were arm in arm and chatting happily. However, once the stimulation of alcohol is gone, the atmosphere between the two people will become a little awkward. After all, Zhang Ziachi once had some opinions about Shen Feng, and they were so strong that the relationship between the two families was rather strained during that period. "What are we talking about?" Shen Xiaojiuo muttered to himself. "What should I say?" Zhang Ziachi pondered in his mind. "Why not talk about his daughter? He would be happy if I praised his daughter. Right?" Shen Xiaojiuo muttered to himself again. "How about praising his son to make up for my previous prejudice?" Zhang Ziachi pondered in his mind again. The two looked at each other again. Then Shen Xiaojiuo smiled and said, "Old Zhang, your Wanwan is really good. Not only is she acting at such a young age, but her acting skills are also so good. Amazing." Zhang Ziachi exclaimed, waving his hands and said, "No, Wanwan is just a tiger girlet. It's better for you Feng Zi, who is mature and steady, not like those impetuous young people of this age. Feng Zi is too honest. Wanwan has a good personality. If Wanwan hadn't taken the initiative, given Feng Zi's gentle personality, it's hard to say when the two of them would have been together. No, it's a good thing that Feng Zi is keeping an eye on Wanwan. Otherwise this girl would have suffered a lot because of her personality." No, if young people don't have some drive, can they still be called young people? No, society is in need of steady young people like these. Impulsiveness is the devil. If it weren't for Wan, would Feng Zi be able to debut? If it weren't for Feng Zi, Wan wouldn't be so popular now, right? As the two of them talked to each other, they gradually began to feel something was not right in their eyes. Chen Xiaojiuo gritted his teeth and said, "Good evening." Zhang Ziyi frowned and said, "Hello Feng Zi. Wan is so pretty and cute. Feng Zi is so handsome and cool. Wan has been a smart girl since she was young. Feng Zi has been sensible since he was young." Chen Xiaojiuo rolled up his sleeves and said, "Old John, I'm Feng Zi's father, how could I not know what's wrong with Feng Zi? He has problems all over his body." Zhang Ziyi took off his glasses and said, Wan is still my daughter. Don't know what kind of person she is? This girl doesn't have any good points at all. I'd be happy to exchange 10 Feng Zi for 1. I have no objection to exchanging a car of 1 for 1 Feng Zi from your family. The stairs on the second floor. Zhang Wan, who was planning to go downstairs to bring some fruit to Tang Ping and Su Yan, couldn't help but shrink her head when she heard the two old men arguing like elementary school students. And he took out his cell phone and carefully sent a message to Shen Feng. Zhang Wan, Feng Zi, I feel like my dad seems to have some dissatisfaction with me. Shen Feng, father-in-law praised you for gaining weight again? Zhang Wan, my dad just said that he would trade me for a car. And now he's saying that giving birth to me was his biggest mistake. Shen Feng, what did you do to him? Did you tell my mother-in-law about his hidden money? Zhang Wan, I don't know what happened. As soon as I went downstairs, I heard my dad and your dad arguing, and it was getting more and more intense. Zhang Wan, I'm afraid if we continue talking like this, I'll be adopted into your family and renamed Shen Wan. Shen Feng, that won't work, then we'll become brother and sister. Zhang Wan, you don't have to worry about that, because your dad is saying that he has wanted to kick you out of the house for a long time. As soon as I get to your house, I will throw you out immediately. Shen Feng, who was purchasing food in the mall, had no idea where Shen Xiaojiuo's resentment came from. It seems like he hasn't offended old Shen recently, right? After thinking about it, Shen Feng silently threw out Shen Xiaojiuo's favorite crabs, jellyfish, bacon, and the bottle of her Guotou in the shopping cart. By the way, I brought in a bottle of Zhang Ziyi's favorite red wine. He also bought a loach, which Shen Xiaojiuo hated to eat the most. Only then did he nodded with satisfaction. This is also a reasonable reason for his father to scold him. There aren't many sons as caring as me. Shen Feng murmured and pushed the shopping cart somewhere else. After Zhang Wan reported the news to Shen Feng, she took the fruit quietly while Shen Xiaojiuo and Zhang Ziyi were arguing with each other. And he returned to the upstairs bedroom. As a result, I entered the bedroom. She saw Su Yan and Tang Ping helping her clean the room. Su Yan was still holding the not-so-formal maid outfit that Zhang Wan had worn last night and had not put away. After looking her up and down, he looked at Zhang Wan somewhat unnaturally. Wan, it's better to buy clothes that fit you better in the future. Wearing this kind of clothes it's so easy to catch a cold. Well, as long as young people like it, let's not worry about it. Tang Ping said. Although Su Yan and Tang Ping had spoken very tactfully, Zhang Wan blushed. Mainly because she remembered the scene when she was wearing this clothes to tease Shen Feng. She suddenly cleared her throat and whispered, That's actually Feng Zi. She originally wanted to put the blame on Feng Zi and falsely accuse Feng Zi of buying it for her. As a result, Tang Ping's eyes widened after hearing half of the sentence. Is this Feng Zi's? He is still wearing this? This brat is getting more and more indecent. Isn't he afraid of hurting Wan's eyes? This time, Su Yan said from the side, well, as long as young people like it, we shouldn't worry about it. Zhang Wan gently covered her face and sighed. She can take the blame for Feng Zi even when she is not around. This is probably what is called an invisible guardian. But it makes sense. She actually wanted to see Feng Zi in a maid outfit. Chapter 316. Look at this child, how sensible. When Shen Sheng returned home after buying groceries, then I heard Shen Xiaojiuo and Zhang Ziyi were still arguing in the living room. But the content is no longer about him and Zhang Wan. I don't know what's going on in the minds of these two old men. Now they are competing to see who is better at fighting, Xing Daorong or Pan Feng. Shen Feng didn't know how they got from talking about Shen Feng to Pan Feng, and from Zhang Wan to Xing Daorong. The connection between these names seems to be only the number of characters. Shen Feng did not dare to disturb the two people's enjoyment. He just poured water into the empty teapot on their table to prevent their throats from getting dry. Then he wanted to go to the kitchen, pack up the ingredients he bought and prepare to cook. At this moment, Zhang Wan, Tang Ping and Su Yan also came down from upstairs. Shen Feng could tell at a glance that something was wrong with Zhang Wanwan's expression. This girl must have done something wrong. Sure enough, Ang Ping walked straight towards Shen Feng. And he pointed at Shen Feng and said viciously, "You little brat, why are you, a grown man, wearing that kind of clothes? Don't you think it's an eyesore?" Shen Cheng looked at Zhang Wanwan in confusion. And I saw Zhang Wanwan secretly making a maid loves you gesture. Only then did Shen Cheng realize what blame he had for himself. Fortunately, Shen Feng has lived for 800 years. His body may not be invulnerable to swords and guns, but his skin is definitely as thick as a city wall. She said casually, "Just wear it at home, not outside. You have to wear it when you go out. Is it appropriate for a grown man like you to wear that kind of clothes?" "I also think it's not appropriate," Shen Feng said. Tang Ping felt a little relieved when she saw that Shen Feng seemed to admit his mistake with a good attitude. Then Shen Feng said, "It's a bit small, by a larger size next time." Tang Ping? While Tang Ping was looking for a broom all over the house, Shen Feng slipped into the kitchen to cook. Zhang Wanwan also slipped in, then stood on tiptoe and kissed Shen Feng. And she said pitifully in a low voice, I didn't actually want you to take the blame, Mom misunderstood." Shen Feng smiled and said, "It's just a small matter. Mom nagging me is better than nagging you." Zhang Wanwan also laughed, looking very happy. Then he stood by Shen Feng and cleaned up the kitchen with him. "And Feng Zi, I have to work with you. I can't be too idle." "Why?" "My mom kept asking me if I was pregnant, but I was afraid that if I told them I was, they would stop me from filming, so I just told them no. But I think they might have become suspicious, and they even asked me directly if I didn't tell them because I was afraid it would affect my work. I was almost discovered." Zhang Wanwan said seriously, "If you don't let me do anything and act like a big lady, they will definitely be suspicious and think that you are protecting me so much because I am lying to them about my pregnancy. So I have to do some work and lie to them that I'm really not pregnant." This is a little plan made by Zhang Wanwan. But Shen Feng said, "That won't work. You're really not pregnant. So I don't want you to do these things." Zhang Wanwan's eyes were firm. "I can do it. Night, brother." Shen Cheng looked at Zhang Wanwan tenderly. "Let go of yourself and let go of the kitchen. It's not easy for you all." Zhang Wanwan left the kitchen silently. "I just thought about sweeping the floor with a broom." It turned out that the broom was held in Tang Ping's hand. Maybe he originally intended to use it to hit Shen Feng, but now he started sweeping the floor. Zhang Wanwan wanted to wipe the table again, but somehow Shen Xiaojiyuo and Zhang Ziyi ended up chatting from the sofa in the living room to the dining table. The two of them opened the red wine that Shen Feng had just bought. With the peanuts bought by Shen Feng, take a sip of wine. Eat some peanuts. He was still muttering, "Jiabao, you will definitely beat Granny Liu. Seconds, Granny Liu is still better." Zhang Wanwan sat on the sofa with nothing to do, looking at Su Yan and Tang Ping walking by from time to time. He felt extremely nervous. "Mom, you won't think it's abnormal that I don't do anything, right? You don't suspect that I'm pregnant, do you? It's over, it's over, it's over, I've seen it now, fortunately. I didn't ask me." Zhang Wanwan felt like sitting on pins and needles. But what she didn't expect was, she was nervous at first. Eventually I relaxed. Finally, I spent a long time browsing my phone comfortably, until Shen Feng prepared a table full of dishes. Su Yan and Tang Ping did not suspect her at all. This made Zhang Wanwan feel relieved, but also quite confused. She found Shen Feng, who was about to serve the dishes, and whispered, "Strange, why didn't Mom suspect me? Don't they think it's suspicious that I'm just a big vase and do nothing?" Chen Cheng put down the dish and pinched Zhang Wanwan's face. "Don't worry, it's not suspicious at all." "Why?" "Because when you weren't pregnant, you didn't do anything at home." Zhang Wanwan recalled it carefully. "It seems like. Is it true? It turns out that being a lazy dog has such benefits." Zhang Wanwan muttered. The food was served and the family started to have lunch. Perhaps due to the influence of alcohol, Zhang Ziyi and Shen Xiaojiyuo finally stopped arguing. The topics of conversation became more normal and natural, and the atmosphere was quite good. When Shen Xiaojiyuo saw that there was no dish he liked on the table, especially the plate of pitch-black lowish in the middle of the dining table, which seemed to be staring at him, expressed strong protest. "Feng Zi, don't you know that your father hates eating lowish the most?" "Yes." Chen Feng nodded. "Why should I buy it?" Shen Xiaojiyuo. He looked at Zhang Ziyi again. "See, I told you it's better to go with Wanwan." After dinner, Shen Xiaojiyuo and Zhang Ziyi, who were both drunk, went to the guest room to sleep. Su Yan and Tang Ping helped Shen Feng clean up the kitchen. Zhang Wanwan was curled up on the sofa, browsing her phone. But she always felt unwell. "I've been having trouble with my appetite since today." She could have finished the whole plate of sweet and sour pork ribs by herself. but this time she had 2 pieces left. And after eating, she still felt uncomfortable in her appetite. Suddenly, Zhang Wanwan felt nauseous. Then he hurried to the toilet and vomited with a wah sound. This voice changed the expressions of Su Yan, Tang Ping and Shen Feng. Especially Shen Feng, he quickly put down the plate in his hand and ran into the bathroom. Seeing that Zhang Wanwan was still retching, he patted Zhang Wanwan's back with one hand and massaged the occupants on his hand with the other hand to relieve the symptoms of nausea. Su Yan and Tang Ping also came over at this time. Tang Ping also took a glass of water and handed it to Shen Feng. Shen Sheng waited for Zhang Wanwan to finish vomiting and asked her to rinse her mouth. "What's going on? Why did you vomit, Wanwan?" Su Yan frowned and said. Zhang Wanwan was afraid that they would guess that she was pregnant. So she quickly said, maybe I just don't have a good appetite. And my stomach feels a little uncomfortable. But in her heart she actually felt that she was bound to be exposed. The morning sickness is so obvious considering Su Yan and Tang Ping's desire to have a grandchild. How could they not be suspicious? She even felt that Su Yan was about to take her for a checkup. In fact, Zhang Wanwan's guess was not wrong. Su Yan said hurriedly, "You're vomiting so much, you should go to the hospital to see if there's something wrong with your appetite. Yeah, you people are busy working all day and don't eat well. Your appetites are all bad. Wanwan, are you still feeling uncomfortable? Why don't you lie down for a while, and when you feel more comfortable, Feng Zi will take you to the hospital. Hey, let me get a hot towel and apply it to your stomach. That should make you feel better. Well, Feng Zi, help her to rest first. And we will clean up the toilet. I think I have some motion sickness medicine in my bag. Will it work?" What Zhang Wanwan didn't expect was that the 2 old men were not thinking about their grandson at this time. Instead, they were all worried about her health, and the pity and heartache in their eyes were almost overflowing. Zhang Wanwan sniffed. After a moment, he whispered, "Mom, don't worry so much, I'm fine. You've omitted so much. And you still say you're fine?" Su Yan glared at him. "You don't take your body seriously at all." "I'm really fine." Zhang Wanwan lowered her head. "I'm not sick, I'm just pregnant." Su Yan, Tang Ping. The 2 looked at each other. Finally, Tang Ping frowned and said, "Look at this child. How sensible he is in order not to make us worry. He even told such a lie." Zhang Wanwan. Chapter 317. Are we that kind of people? In order to make the elders less worried, Zhang Wanwan finally honestly confessed that she was pregnant. He also took out the test results from his last visit to the hospital to prove that he was not lying. Only then did Tang Ping and Su Yan believe Zhang Wanwan's words. And the expressions of the 2 people became very complicated. Be happy. That was indeed very happy. One of them is looking forward to holding her grandchildren. And the other is looking forward to holding her grandchildren. Now Wanwan is finally pregnant, how can they not be happy? But be angry. That was indeed really angry. Zhang Wanwan actually wanted to hide such a big thing from them. If it weren't for the morning sickness today, Zhang Wanwan would probably have continued to hide it. "Wanwan, tell me what you think. Can you hide such a big thing from us?" Su Yan said to Zhang Wanwan. "Yeah, this isn't a cold or fever. It's pregnancy. You should have told us about this right away." Tang Ping also said. Seeing that she was about to be caught and scolded by these 2 men, Zhang Wanwan simply decided to slip away. She suddenly covered her stomach and said pitifully, "Mom, I still don't feel well. I want to go back to my room and lie down first. Or you can scold me later." This girl's acting skills are definitely amazing. With such a pitiful look on her face, it's hard to believe that she is really pregnant. Even if she wasn't pregnant, Tang Ping and Su Yan would be heartbroken. The 2 men stopped lecturing immediately instead. They looked concerned and helped Zhang Wanwan upstairs and let her lie down. Shen Feng also wanted to enter the room. But after Su Yan and Tang Ping settled Zhang Wanwan, they stopped Shen Feng outside. Then the 2 of them stared at Shen Feng with almost the same eyes and said, "Let's not talk about Wanwan, we have to talk about you. That's right, Wanwan is making trouble, so you should follow suit. Let's go, I'll go downstairs and have a good talk with you. Don't stand here and disturb Wanwan's rest." Su Yan and Tang Ping took Shen Feng away like a criminal. Shen Feng raised his hand and said, "Mom, I don't feel well either. I'll lie down for a while." Tang Ping rolled her eyes at Shen Feng. "You'll feel better after I give you a beating. Get downstairs quickly." Before leaving, Shen Feng saw Zhang Wanwan in the room waving at him with a sympathetic look. Downstairs, Shen Feng sat in the living room and poured a glass of water for Tang Ping and Su Yan. Tang Ping frowned and poked Shen Feng's arm. "Feng Zi, what are you and Wanwan doing? Why didn't you tell us that you were pregnant?" "Yes, we have been looking forward to you having a child for a long time. You know it, so why did you hide it from us?" Su Yan also looked at Shen Feng and said. Shen Sheng smiled bitterly and said, "Actually, it's because you guys are too concerned about whether Wanwan is pregnant or not. Which makes Wanwan feel stressed. She was afraid that if you knew she was pregnant, you would not let her continue to work to protect her. But Wanwan felt that there was nothing wrong with her body now and she was fully capable of the next job. That's why she wanted to keep it a secret for a while. And then tell you the truth after she finishes all the work. Su Yan sighed. This girl, she's acting like we're so ignorant. We've all been pregnant before, and we did a lot of work when we were pregnant. We don't know any more than she does. That's right. You young people think too narrowly of us older generations. Are we that kind of people? Tang Ping also said. Tang Ping then asked. Now that you've finished filming that variety show, you don't have any work next, right? There's another movie. A very important one. Chen Feng said. How long will it take? About 2 months. Tang Ping and Su Yan looked at each other. Then Su Yan asked, will filming be very busy? Will it be dangerous? Are there any fighting scenes? Will Wanwan get hurt? Yes, and it's cold now. Don't let Wanwan catch a cold. 2 months is too long. What if something unexpected happens? Tang Ping followed. Finally, the two of them said in unison. Why don't you stop filming now? Wait until the baby is born. Chen Feng